God, all my Amazon subscribe and save things are being canceled. I'm done. That's it.
Where did it go?
6 comfortably.
Yeah, 7 tops probably.
Oh, and Steven can just lay it across his
There's no way he's gonna do that.
No, he won't.
behind us.
Very word loom.
Yeah.
Good sound.
Enjoyable life.
It was good. We went to
How's the couch comfy? What do you guys think?
Great.
We ate a lot. Pretty cool.
So what's the worst?
I'm ready to take a picture.
We got here Thursday night, Halloween.
And the stream's up now, right?
Stream's on.
Okay.
And, then we went
Stream's
to-
on, just so you guys know. It's on.
The boobies cameras aren't on, are they?
No, these cameras are not.
I'm a side sitter.
Side sit.
Exactly.
Smart.
I mean, I prefer to be on that side that's taken. So now, kind of.
We can switch with you, Danny.
Danny, you can sit right here, buddy.
Thank you guys for having us.
I think it's gonna be the Dean, what's that spring gonna be?
For channels. For chat.
Right? I think that was.
Okay, you got it now. Alright, take out, get in there.
I don't know how we're gonna take this picture.
Very lightly.
You can't be there.
We gotta get in close.
Can we sit in the middle?
Sit in the middle. Sit in the middle.
Come
We're
here.
gonna take the picture? Or is it gonna have to be from like over there?
That's all right.
I'll see, I'll figure it out. Oh, we're doing with that piece of shit?
Yeah.
You gonna sit in the Polaroid? He can sit here.
Yeah, you gotta sit.
Okay, if you, it'd probably be, okay, if you come over here, Kyla, then that should be good. Sit up, Ahrelevant.
Tell me what to do.
Okay. Israel on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Israel! I should have said Thomas.
Okay, that's good, we're done.
That's it?
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, we got an ad chair for Steve, and then we're good to go on this side.
Yeah.
Okay, seating arrangement. I don't really care for the most part.
We're gonna.
I want Pisco and Jessiah on the opposite sides of each other.
You do?
Like on the opposite sides of the table. We don't need to be facing each other. I
Okay,
just want
got
like
it.
one of you over
Yeah, I'm gonna be
here.
right there. Is that
Because
cool?
you guys tend to be like social gravitational
Yeah.
types. Yeah.
Oh.
You're both very charismatic.
How do you turn this thing on?
It's very high tech, man.
I'll do the knowledge, don't mind. Dan, do you want your seat? Oh, he's in the back. He might kick you out, really.
Do not
What is
Is this
that?
his seat?
Mine. Feels like this is his seat or this is his seat.
I left it to you
One of
yesterday.
them
Platinum
is his seat.
cosmetic.
Oh, shit.
Platinum
Yeah.
roll?
I know.
Did we
but
buy that
that's-
at
I got you.
we didn't.
I like your talons, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm ready to be evicted
So
by the
For,
landlord.
Aquamarine
He's
by
too nice to-
Ray.
yeah.
They are themed.
No.
Steven, you're-
now?
Isn't that a TikTok person?
She used
It
to
is,
be,
yeah.
and now she is redefining pulp. That work?
She is.
She's redefining pop.
Yeah.
She's redefining it.
Are you partial to the sounds of Journey?
Yeah.
No.
I wouldn't say they're my main
No.
squeeze.
Are we gonna fight over fucking everything? Is
I
that
like
what we're
Journey.
destined to do?
I like
you said
Journey.
no.
I just don't think that's Joanna's
Oh,
vibe.
sorry. You know I shouldn't get
Who's
defensive.
vanilla?
She doesn't like. I don't think you'll
Like
like
your
her.
That was- that
Are we
That's fine,
streaming?
that's fine. Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now?
Yeah, no worries.
Oh.
What have I said? I just
I just went off on
Do you remember,
Pisco for
Ahrelevant,
Journey.
remember earlier when you were over there and I was like, we're streaming?
I do.
Yeah, so,
I actually do remember that.
yeah, we're fine. I have plenty more.
I just don't remember what I
Should we
said.
like, I don't know.
Why not?
Are these mics well positioned?
Because
I project though.
Shit camera that'll catch
Yes, you
me,
do.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
If you sit there, though, is your head.
It's a trip to see you, man.
It's a trip to see you, buddy. I feel like we should be like in a grid formation or whatever. Like I should be sitting on a
Yeah.
stool behind you.
I should
just
be
like above your head. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I need to.
Where's
You're
your
gonna
hair?
show your laptop?
Okay, we'll have Nick sit where you're gonna sit.
Oh
You
no,
guys
I don't
just-
need to, I don't need to be in there.
No, no, no.
Well, maybe
You
we'll
just
have
sit
private, right?
Sit
Yeah.
where Steven's gonna sit.
Oh,
Can you
gotcha.
shuffle this
Yeah,
way
we
a
can
little bit?
shuffle.
Yeah.
We're just gonna fit another chair in.
Okay.
We can get nice and tidy.
Is that enough?
I think so. Steve, you will need a mic though, because we've got a mic here. We're gonna need a few extra mics, I think. Two.
We'll share, we can share.
Awesome.
Two.
Just gotta hold this glass so it doesn't knock
Thank you,
over.
dude.
Colorful.
Try to introduce more color.
in my life in general. You know, it's so
Listen,
easy to go
depending
black
on how
and
the map goes, if you're wearing a shirt like that tomorrow, the color's just gonna slowly like fade away. It's just gonna like gray out. Yeah.
How you feeling about your precious North Carolina?
Okay, try to like be as close, like you guys don't all fucking hate each other. Uncomfortably close. Might be a little uncomfortable, but
That's fine. We all love each other.
why are you moving away?
Dan, I'm glad we get along.
That hurts so much.
Okay. Rules
care-
of the mics. You guys know the
So we're
rule?
gonna share it.
Yep.
Like this. Alright. That's about how far you need to be from the mic.
Yeah, you're
And it
There?
should be aimed at your
Okay.
mouth.
good. All right.
So if you guys are sharing, it'll be.
Hello.
Steve, do you want them to bounce it back and forth, or do you want it to sit?
Kind of to be bounced, probably bounced back and forth.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Do you, what's this, you want this? Who has the?
All right.
Really, just so you know if you're gonna pull it, it's gonna be on there.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Always.
Good distance. Okay.
Is the special guest Jessica Tarlov?
She followed me. She followed me back.
Is it
We got
announced?
it.
He already announced it.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Amaranth.
Is
Is it really?
No, I'm fucking with you, and it's not Amaranth.
Oh.
My neighbor.
Who's your neighbor?
It's Amaranth, you dumb motherfucker.
Oh shit!
Really?
Man,
I thought you
lawyers are the worst.
Plot twist: his neighbor is Amaranth.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
you actually.
He didn't lie.
Yeah.
He didn't lie to you at all. Huh, got you.
I'm a fan.
We're fans.
She's a badass business person. First of all.
Rude business.
Yeah. What a boss.
Since
Very
she walks in
funny
here,
though
all of
when
our net
she's
worth
like
combined
live
is,
streaming
a
and
fraction
also
of-
in like
Yeah.
A for
She made
Andre's
yesterday.
stream
She's
trading
bad. It's
Pokemon
awesome. Good for her.
I remember her
do
saying
it.
something like smart about taxes, but
She's
that's all I
a-
remember.
I used
Yeah.
to watch her read
Yeah,
the
me too.
unban
Just in
requests.
taxes. That's all.
I really love
That's
it.
all I know.
All right. Phones off the table.
Okay. Jeez.
You can check them
Jeez,
out.
You called me out straight away.
I was looking at his phone as I said it.
Okay.
I was hiding mine.
I was thinking about yours,
The
but
problem is Kyla has
She
a bad
missed it,
habit
she
of
missed it.
stealing my phone and then like dropping it off somewhere. She's done that a couple of times, so
That's
that's
true.
why.
I just
Yeah.
really want to be as famous as he is.
Stop it.
You're
I
super
gotta
famous
steal it.
now.
Not even.
Pretty quick turnaround to get to Miami and then go to DC.
I know. I'm gonna be like. I've been trying to like quit energy drinks for like the past like 6 weeks.
Are you
and I'm
addicted?
gonna- Oh fuck yeah!
You're not
Like,
a coffee guy?
600 milligrams of caffeine a day and hate is what keeps me going.
What about coffee?
Yeah.
You don't drink coffee?
I hate coffee.
You hate
I hate coffee. That's what I'm saying. It's hate. Yeah.
I have never had an energy drink, and we have one in the fridge right
We have
now.
a Red Bull.
Bought for me.
Have you ever had a vodka Red Bull?
I have never, no,
Oh.
because I'm scared of them, and I'm scared of the drink in my fridge right now.
Why? What'll happen?
I don't know. Will I
you afraid of?
explode? I don't.
But you have it in the
So?
refrigerator?
We have a Monster and a Red Bull, and I don't know which one.
We have one,
Sugar-free?
and it's like iced tea
Oh, one of them
flavored.
is-
So I'm excited because I like
That's
iced
gonna be
tea.
gross.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Sorry.
It's sugar-free.
That's gonna be worse.
Sugar-free, yeah.
No, like
Some
a
people
sugar-
like
You
sugar-free
should
Red
get
Bull.
sugar-free Red Bull. It's very good.
I'm scared of it.
It won't-
No, it's gonna be
Apparently, it
great.
gives me wings.
It's gonna be great. You're gonna feel like empowered in a way you never have
Okay,
before.
I need that.
Yeah, you're gonna like neck lift Pisco. Like as soon as you
I'm
crush
like,
one, it's
I
like,
will not have a Red Bull, but if anyone wants to give me some illegal Adderall,
How many of you guys? Come
she
on,
was
come
just
on.
kidding.
Be honest.
Anyone watching?
it was a
Yeah.
joke. It
Yeah.
was a joke. I would never.
In my lab.
What's a day in your life? You wake up at 7 a.m., you read the paper.
So I wait.
Perfect. You're ready to go.
Yeah.
I stand
Ready to
outside in my
fridges.
robe and I wait for the paper boy to throw me my fucking iPhone with my Twitter activated. So no, what happens is I wake up at 7:30. On a good day, I'll go to the gym. On most days, I don't. And then I'll pull out my phone and I'm just constantly scrolling, bookmarking like stories to go.
Do you do all
research.
body? And like, do you do any splits? What's your routine
Body?
look like? Like when you go to the gym, do you do push pull legs? Or
So
what
it's
are you
usually legs, back by.
And why haven't you sent Pisco pictures yet?
So
Do you
that's
have
the thing. So he's playing coy right now. So wait a minute. So the thing is, Pisco is playing coy. He gets a lot of pictures from me. He's just like teeing it up right now. So Joe, when you're not when you're not here, Joe, when you're not here, that's what gets him by. Okay.
I bet.
Yeah.
Gross.
Whoa.
Well, you have a
excuse
beautiful
me.
body.
Are
Yeah.
you being homophobic?
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
No, never happened.
my Me Too moment. Yeah.
Sorry, Nick.
But no, so like then I'll just be on Twitter for like the first like 3 hours because it really is.
Twitter's where you get your news.
It's really good still, like as much of a shithole as it is.
Both. You're the same.
You just threw me off like the most
I
offensive
mean,
thing.
in a way, Elon is curating what you're
Shush.
seeing.
We hate this man.
Why do you gotta like? Yeah. Why do you have to say it like that?
He has
Like,
some power over you. Even in opposition,
I don't like
you
that.
are
I don't like that
fighting
at
on
all.
his terms in a way.
Yeah. Are you trying to like screw my
get
career?
one. You should get your news from Threads.
I'd be the third person on Threads.
I'm on Threads.
I mean,
I don't really
even
post
it, as shitty as it is, it's still a good like news curating tool in my opinion, especially like if you have the right
Twitter.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mediaite's good. Aaron Rupar, ACYN, like they're just like constantly like breaking
These are people
Brown
that
nose.
MAGA hates.
Of course.
Aaron Rupar was accused by some people of lying about Liz Cheney. The statement that Trump made about Liz Cheney.
You want to remind people what the statement was?
He said something to the effect of
Something to the effect of.
Something to the
Is
effect
doing a lot of heavy lifting right now. Yeah.
speaking
Speaking
of
of
push
push
shot
pull.
dead in
Yeah.
military conflicts.
Yeah, so he wasn't advocating for violence against Liz Cheney. What he was saying was he would like to see her in a situation where bullets would be
He said,
Fired at
yeah,
her.
I get it.
in a non-violent way.
No, he was saying this bitch talks the talk, but can she
Walk the walk.
Bone spurs of all people, like making like casting those aspersions. Yeah.
I'm kidding.
It was a fair statement.
What was
In
it?
it-
Oh,
Wait.
Mr. Wick TV over here.
Listen, I don't
Wick
think.
TV.
I can't even. Excuse me, Mr. Merrick Garland. Okay.
Wick TV.
Excuse me.
No, you know what? All love to Wick TV. He has good panels and he gives good pushback.
What the hell? What the hell did Wick? Wait, what happened?
Okay, you're missing. So Wick and I got it on Twitter. It's not important to what's
They were
going
having a
on.
spat.
Oh,
little
lover's
spat.
quarrel. Yeah. Listen.
Do I love Wick?
Wait, didn't they just shoot that?
Shoot who?
Squirrel?
Well, that sucks.
Come on.
Yeah. Enough from the peanut gallery. Oh.
Hey!
Hey.
IRI is so happy right now. He's so happy that squirrel's dead.
So Kyla left this glass here. How long is it going to take for her to knock it the fuck over? I'm
I already
curious.
did that yesterday.
No, I don't want. I don't want any of that. This is
that
now.
my cup?
I don't know. Nick, whose is this?
It
This-
adds depth.
yeah.
Just sniff it.
Who could say?
Oh, don't do that. Oh.
Oh wow.
So,
So what? What are we thinking?
how are we feeling
Are you
about?
gonna be that close or?
Me?
Me?
Like, are you guys all seated? Because I see we got like 3.5 people over here, and then we've got like 4 + 1 over there.
Are you gonna be in the show?
I'm
Yeah, we're
swapping
swapping.
with him.
Okay.
But I'm just saying that like there's like
Yeah.
3 here.
I
and there's like
scooched
4
down
over
this
there.
way. We can scooch down
This is
this
fine.
I
way.
think we're
Do you
good.
want us to?
I
Okay.
think you're
Be
good.
careful, I'll redeem you. Hang on, now I'm
What does that mean?
I'm blinking twice.
He's out of control, man.
And,
Don't mention Blinken.
Is that right?
Oh.
Can you make the scene right there look?
Steven, that's the good news, man. Come hell or high water, whatever the outcome of the election is, on January 20th, 2025, Merrick Garland will no longer be the Attorney General
You
of the
guys are
United
haters.
States.
You guys are
I'm
haters.
with
Yeah,
Pisco.
yo.
That's
Yes.
my crowd hater.
Why?
go.
Why do
Why?
you guys hate him so much?
Why you hate him?
Because
Merrick Garland hates democracy.
What?
Why? He
How dare
raided
you.
Mar-a-Lago.
Who
Nobody's
said,
ever
wait, who
done
gave me
it.
this fucking talking about? He's got a judge's temperament.
That,
I did, yeah.
you heard that and you're running with it.
No, it's
What a
true.
Great saying.
It's true. He's supposed to be the nation's chief prosecutor. He's supposed to be a Rottweiler, and
It's
instead
the-
he's behaving
he
like a
is- He
judge.
prosecuted the largest case in
Like
the
a
FBI's
puppy dog.
history.
I think that's
Takes
amazing,
time.
and he should have done that 18
They're
months
going.
before he
They're
did.
going after
Yeah.
monopolies. They're going after drug dealers.
I
they're
love
going
that he
after traffickers.
Monopoly's a board game. I want him to go after Trump, and he should have gone after
That
Trump a long time
that
ago.
goes to show. All you care about is AG is who's going to go after Trump the hardest.
Right. Trump derangement syndrome over here.
Right. Yo, I'm sorry.
All you care about are attorney generals of the federal U.S. government that'll go after people that commit felonies.
I know. I'm a
But they
fucking
are.
loser, aren't I?
But they
Yeah,
are.
yeah,
But they are.
yeah.
He smartly took out the muscle first.
I just periodically I'm going to check in with you and see if you have any doubts about
About
the
what?
decision that you've made. Okay, when you hear things
we
like
don't
this.
agree on anything. Do not put that in a box.
When you hear him defend Merrick Garland, you have to hate Merrick Garland.
Oh my God.
Come on. How do you feel about Merrick
Poor
Garland?
man was robbed of his Supreme Court seat. How can you be so harsh on him?
I think he
He
would have
cried.
been. I think he would have been a fine judge.
Cried at his nomination. Remember when Obama introduced him?
He cried.
He got all teary-eyed. Yeah.
Oh.
And you want to say that?
No, but that's funny though.
This is the
'cause then he
grounds
didn't
that
get his
Steven
hearing.
says that and Jessiah say that he's not good enough because A, he appointed a special counsel to go after the sitting president,
Yes.
which is so appropriate.
Raided his home as well.
No, he's referring to
about
President Biden.
Oh, Biden.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
We'll give him credit for that too.
Yeah, but they're mad that they appointed a special counsel to go after his boss.
So-
I don't know if that seems
so-
like
so here's-
appropriate.
No,
Here's-
I think
appropriate.
that was a good point because we know that the Democrats would probably try to obstruct the investigation the same way that the Republicans.
No one's
Do you
saying
remember-
that.
Steven.
No.
Do you remember when Donald Trump was really principled? What was the name of the special counsel?
Why do we have to stoop to his level?
Didn't he-
Why do we have to
didn't
stoop to his
he-
level?
Durham.
Oh yeah, to investigate Russia collusion. Oh no, it was still the Mueller guy.
Yeah.
That he tried to kill. How many different ways? How many different
Multiple.
people
Yeah,
did he fire?
he's
Did he
bad.
put him in
Multiple.
office? Did he- oh.
Yeah.
You guys want to be Blue MAGA.
Pisco's on
This is
Twitter
Blue
on
MAGA.
his birthday. Pisco's like, oh no, didn't he fire Comey because of the Hillary email? That's what he said, right? That's what
No,
Pisco
no,
said.
no, no.
Unreal.
It is not blue MAGA
It is
to
blue MAGA.
insist that the attorney general be expedient, for the attorney general to be vigorous. There was no justification for Garland to play footsie with Trump for a year in turning over those national defense information
Hold on,
documents.
democracy is the #1 issue on people's minds right now,
Sure.
and if these trials had not been delayed to this point, that may not be at top of mind. Trump was already put away.
Okay, with respect, are you suggesting that Garland was playing like 4D chess and like dropping the?
Just might have saved our democracy.
You're not even doing you're thinking politically.
Yes.
You're thinking in terms of what's good for the Democrats, and that's already.
I know. I'm thinking what's good for democracy. They share some of the same letters, but different.
Yeah, but you're like.
We're not a democracy.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we got to have Republicans special counsels, because we're a republic.
I think that if you're trying to consider, if you're being honest, if a sitting president is being investigated for a crime, there should be a special counsel.
Here's the problem. A couple of things. Again, I don't even know if you read that fucking article that I linked to you so many times, that Washington Post article from June 2023. Dozens of DOJ officials were interviewed, and Eric Holder. Do you respect Eric Holder?
I do and I don't.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, I don't know.
Wow.
Why?
It's a good hedge.
Why centrist Pisco?
After Obama, when
Exactly. Exactly. He appointed too few special counsels to investigate his boss. I need at least a dozen before I like him. What's your beef with Holder?
I don't have beef.
Yo, 100%. Yes. Yes.
I don't have beef with Holder.
Okay.
I don't think that he is someone that you should necessarily put up as, like, I don't know, the bastion of.
Do you think that he is at least a credible source?
He's
of
credible.
Okay.
He's a credible guy.
So Eric Holder has even publicly come out and said, I have no idea why Garland took his time with the Trump investigation.
If Garland had not been blindsided by an obscene ruling by the Supreme Court of the United States, the trial would have happened already.
True.
Wait, what?
The DC
No.
trial.
Even if the Trump immunity decision had gone a different way, that trial would not have been over.
would have. It absolutely
would have
It
started.
wasn't even the same. It wasn't even that case.
Just the delay alone. Wait a minute. I thought legal experts at the time said that regardless of what the outcome, the fact that the verdict came.
No, but it was a foregone conclusion they were going to rule in a bad way when they
He's also
granted
showing
or
that his posture's
pseudo-granted the
worse.
stay.
Bad posture.
That was the signal that, oh shit, this is not going to be necessarily good. So if the
So you
Supreme
have
Court
to
had done the right
stretch
thing
to get
and
to
ruled
the-
9-0 affirming the DC Circuit, the trial would have happened this year.
Garland.
Blame the
This is
Supreme
a
Court.
fucking
They were
hazard
on
zone.
time to have a trial right before the election. If what you care about is politics, the trial was going to happen right before the election.
You have a long torso.
Why even risk the time frame? Why not be a vigorous
You look like
prosecutor?
Sid from
Why not
Ice
bring the
Age.
case?
You shouldn't be thinking about politics if you're a DOJ person. That's an improper.
Garland was thinking about politics.
No, he wasn't.
That's the article that he's working on for Substack.
Which article?
The one where you talk about how Kamala should nominate Judge Eileen Cannon.
Exactly. This is what I'm talking about. Every time it's going to be like
you're crazy. You're all crazy.
No.
What I want is a independent attorney general, and one who's not going to take fear or favor from one party.
Yeah,
And there's
that's
not.
Garland did fear. Garland's entire MO was driven, at least in part, by fear. The fear of being seen as political. That's the problem. And you know what he has to show for it? Nothing. If you look at polls about what Republicans think about the DOJ, they've not moved. They still think.
You ever
that
watch The Wire?
Yes.
You know this little character by the name of Omar?
Oh my God.
What's
Omar
Omar's
God.
catchphrase? Or not catchphrase? One of the things he said that he's very known for.
I'm gay.
He is a gay character. It's not.
Oh, hey, look
it's
at that
not
guy.
anything bad.
Why would you say that?
Well, because the way you
Why
said
would
it,
it be bad?
it made it seem like it was a gay joke.
No, that's just what he. It's not a gay joke. He said,
Get
what
back
the
your-
gay is known
get back
for.
your Garland
He
thing.
said when you come at the
Jesus Christ.
Hey, yo, lesson here, Bay.
You talk about performance
Become
without
the king, you
purpose.
best
Better not
miss.
miss. Yeah.
What's that?
And it took time. What are we doing here?
Ignore me.
Just set up.
Okay,
cool.
Relax. I'm sorry.
When you come at the king,
Best, no.
He's
you
not the
can't
king.
miss. It took time to build this case. You had it did. You had look at what the January 6th committee. That took months and
We're
months
not
and
talking about
months.
the January 6th case. We're talking
And
about the.
actually, wait a minute.
Not up. Go
And-
hide the documents.
Actually, wait a minute.
Oh,
Wait a
you're
minute.
talking about that case. Okay.
Wait a minute. Actually, wait a minute. That's actually really good. I'm glad you mentioned the House Select Committee. Do you know that they were pissed at Garland that so much of the legwork had to be done by the House January 6th Select Committee because Garland wasn't doing his job?
Yet, when the DOJ says we're not going to listen
Wait,
to
is Dan
subpoena
there?
from Congress, you're okay with it.
Wait,
You're
when what?
When Congress is saying. This is the House Oversight Committee
Yeah.
and others saying we want details about your investigation. Merrick Garland tells them to go fuck themselves, and you don't have a problem with that.
Wait, which one?
The House of Representatives
Yeah.
has subpoenaed Merrick Garland,
It's still-
and Garland and
the
others
House
have claimed executive privilege.
That's their right to claim executive
Because
privilege.
There is a need. There's a need to distinguish the investigation.
Garland didn't do anything wrong.
I understand that, but what you're sounding like, what you wanted was Garland to cooperate with the Democratic House and to not cooperate with the Republican House. That's what it sounds like to me.
You ever see 300?
I've heard of it. Yes.
I just want you, where you're sitting right now. I'm just gonna have a
There's a
Leonidas
whole-
moment, just like boom.
Deal with the content of what I'm saying.
The content of what you're saying is that Merrick Garland was ordered by President Biden to observe executive privilege. President Biden claimed executive privilege,
was a
which is his
proper
right to
usage.
do. Yes, it is.
But you get mad when he says we're not going to comment on the congressional investigation in the Jan 6 committee. You're mad about that.
No, No,
What did you say was mad about that?
no. My
That's
issue.
what it sounded like.
My issue with Garland is that in the House January 6th Select Committee, they also criticized Garland because they felt they had to do the legwork.
Congress people criticize and they get mad and they
No,
get butthurt.
most of the case, prosecuting the case, I mean figuratively prosecuting it, was done by the House January 6th Select Committee because they felt Garland was dragging his feet. These are also, by the way, many of them career prosecutors
They
as well.
serve their own purposes. The congressional investigation served a purpose of informing the public about the ins and outs of what's going on.
I understand it's a separate branch. They have their separate purposes. I'm telling you, though, there have been articles written about this, interviews conducted where Democrats on the House January 6th Select Committee were pissed that Garland was taking his time going after Trump. And these aren't like, fuck it, it's not laymen. It's not like, I'm not an attorney, but it's not just people like me. It's actually like career prosecutors and attorneys.
Think about what the case against Donald Trump is now premised on. It is premised on a bunch of people who have flipped, lower level individuals, up to his vice president. These kinds of things take their it takes their deliberate speed. It takes time to build these cases.
They went from a bottom-up approach, and all I'm telling you is that there are dozens of career DOJ officials. Again, go read that Washington Post expose from June 2023. That they disagree with Garland's approach. You make it sound like this was the only way to go about it. It was not.
Wait.
Eric Holder says the same thing, and he was also Attorney General.
But they put away the leaders of the Proud Boys, militias, for decades. These are the muscle.
Seditious conspiracy.
Yeah, these are the muscle that would conduct another January 6th. So Trump can run his mouth, but who's going to go pull it off now? So that's what I think Merrick Garland was
Here's
up
a
to.
hot, here's a hot take. Here's a
Those
hot
fucking
take.
highly irreplaceable Proud Boys.
Yeah,
No,
thank you.
you'd be
Thank you.
surprised.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
sorry. Hot
They're
take.
never gonna get any more
hot
fucking
take. Hot take.
disgruntled
Hot
white
take.
guys with guns.
Those were
take.
important cases.
Hot take, I would uncuff, what's his name, Enrique Tarrio myself if the alternative was getting Trump. I'd let him walk. Fuck you. Yeah, no,
No,
100%.
I think he set an example with these guys, and a lot of people are going to think twice now about doing it.
You're right. The example he sent was so robust that the leader of
It's
this
the
insurrection
biggest
is a coin flip away from
this is the
White
most-
House again.
The largest DOJ investigation in the history of the country. Think about
Ever.
it. 1,000+
So
indictments.
let's say that we dragged our feet on the Trump investigation. If Trump gets elected, what's going to happen to Enrique Tarrio? Pisco?
He's going to be pardoned, but this is your bad thinking. Your framing is the Department of Justice should be moving according to politics. That's
They
what
do
you're.
move according to politics.
But that's it. Shouldn't do that,
They
right?
do.
It
They have
did.
to.
He did. Garland
They have
did.
to,
Well,
right?
we disagree. We think
Yeah,
that the Department of Justice should be run independently without
Yep.
thinking about political.
So wait a minute, Pisco. Let me
influence.
ask you something. I understand. Okay, I need to
wait.
quickly bring a prosecution because it's politically beneficial. That's politically thinking, right? That's being politically motivated.
Okay, yeah.
Right. Here's the alternative. I'm going to take my time with this because I don't want it to be seen as political.
There's no evidence of that.
Well, wait a minute.
That's assumptions
So
by
wait a minute.
People who quit.
Read the fucking expose, but here's the other thing. That's also political thinking. If I know that I have a case to bring against somebody, but if I do it in an expedient way, it would be seen as political. That's also by definition politically
You
thinking.
don't have evidence that that's what was going on in his mind.
Thank you.
Wait, you don't have evidence that he was thinking, I'm going to deliberately take it slow because it's political. What's the evidence?
What would you accept as evidence?
The evidence would be someone saying, I talked to Garland, he was worried. This is the Rob Noor strategy, really.
Let me ask you, what is his why behind this? You're just saying he's a pussy. Why did Merrick Garland not do what you wanted him to do?
Because he was afraid of
You know what?
the
Here's what
DOJ.
Jessiah want. This is
Yeah.
what we want, and then we would shut the fuck
You want
up.
Trump
Water.
dead.
If one time,
Water.
one
Getting
time,
everybody.
there was a Republican person
they want
who
Red
did something bad for Republicans,
Sorry.
and he was like, I was genuinely conflicted, and I just needed to figure out. Instead of it's always like,
Put on the
Comey,
mic.
what?
Put on the
I
mic.
can't. Instead of it's always like, Comey is like, I'm a Republican, I don't know what I need to do to save democracy. Oh, I'm gonna fuck the Democrats over. Or, I'm Merrick Garland, I don't know what I need to do to save democracy. Oh, I'm gonna fuck over the... Then if it just one time...
Yeah,
if
when Comey did it,
just one time,
when Comey did it, he was thinking politically, and he fucked up, and he fucked over the country. Shouldn't have been thinking politically.
he has to.
When
He's thinking politically either way.
When Loretta Lynch doesn't think about the political ramifications of that meeting on the tarmac, there are a lot of dangers in doing things that make people not trustworthy of the DOJ. And I understand they're going to say that what they're going to say no matter what, but I have a belief that the DOJ should be independent, and I don't agree that we should just get the biggest, I don't know, hound dog.
Wait, hold on. You keep using that word. What does any of this have to do with the independence of the DOJ?
If you're doing things, you're mad that they didn't pursue Donald Trump faster.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you,
on a reasonable timetable.
Yeah. Nobody's saying indict him the next day.
The implication is that what happened this time around was unreasonable.
Yes.
What's your evidence that it was an unreasonable
time
timeframe?
1 year? How long do I have to respond to the FBI? If they make a request of me, do I get a whole fucking year?
But this is a case against the ex-president of the United States.
Oh, so it is political.
No, you gotta go slowly.
Yes, precisely.
No,
thank you. Yes.
This is consequential. This is consequential. It'll affect the future of our country. You gotta take your time, cross your T's, dot your I's.
In all seriousness, joking aside, what has him taking his time brought us?
I'm not. You're thinking. What has it brought us?
Yeah.
You're thinking in terms of the
Us,
Democratic
Americans,
Party.
justice.
Yeah. So
I'll say it again.
in moving deliberately, I think has given a substantial amount of evidence that you may not would have had if you had an indictment a year before.
It's given us a substantial amount of evidence for cases that will never see the light of day if he wins this election.
But you're thinking
people know that going into this election, and democracy is the #1 issue on people's minds right now.
Let me ask you this. Final question on this. You can have the last word. If you saw evidence that Garland could have, that people made the case like, listen, you could pursue this at a faster pace, and Garland said, no, I wouldn't want the DOJ to be seen as political, would you concede that that in and of itself is a political consideration?
No.
Oh, fuck you.
Question.
No. Think about
Next topic. Next
Wait,
topic.
can I ask you guys a question?
No.
I actually have no dog in the race. I don't care because I don't know enough about this. But I'm just curious if going slowly would like make sure that the evidence was more protected and like that, like the quality of the investigation. If they didn't even get into Mar-a-Lago until a year later, isn't that like antithetical to everything you just said there, or am I misunderstanding this?
I think it's a good thing to bring up because I think we're missing the mark.
Sure.
Which investigation we're talking about?
I agree if you're confused, Kyla, because he keeps messing them up too. So.
I wasn't.
The immunity ruling, and we're talking about Mar-a-Lago.
Okay, so are we talking about Mar-a-Lago?
Yeah.
If we're talking about Mar-a-Lago, that case is a lot harder for you.
Oh.
You mean because it was thrown out? Because it was thrown out?
Harder for
Question: why did there need to be a special counsel?
For Donald Trump?
Biden.
For Biden?
Yeah.
He's a sitting president.
So?
It's his boss.
But he was exonerated too.
Hang on a second. So it's his boss. We don't want to have the appearance of impropriety with the attorney general being at the head of an investigation of the sitting president. Not a good idea. It happened with Nixon. Happened with Trump.
So that means that because of then political consideration, we have a whole bunch of access to. What do you mean no?
It's not a. It's a consideration.
Okay, here's the question:
of
if
bias.
it would have been a traditional investigation where the FBI would have investigated and not recommended charges, would we have gotten a whole fucking report burning Biden at the end?
No, not necessarily. But
Okay.
but think about.
No, the answer is
but
no,
guess
we
what?
would know.
You haven't read the Her report. So first of all, shut the fuck up. He doesn't know a thing about it. And actually, there's a lot of strong evidence against Joe Biden that he knowingly mishandled classified information. It's actually very
The fact that
close.
you're even saying that, you shouldn't know that though.
What do you mean? I shouldn't
You shouldn't
know
know that. That should have been an investigation that the FBI
Okay.
did and then dropped. That's it. You should have no idea.
So you disagree with the Nixon investigation? You disagree with the Bill Clinton investigation? You disagree with the Trump Mueller investigation?
First of all,
No
investigating
answer.
somebody for charges that could like amount to impeachment or something, I think is a bit different. Number one.
Okay.
Okay.
So the level of severity is what you're looking at here.
I think that's meaningful.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if it was discovered that Biden jerked off to porn in a state he wasn't supposed to or some bullshit, and they were like, we need a special counsel. Like when you say special counsel, it's like some serious shit.
Yeah.
Right? Not like we found a document. I called the fucking chief at the fucking FBI. I was like, hey, can you come grab this shit?
Yeah, so a couple of things. I can't remember the Bill Clinton, like what you're talking about, like the declination report when they declined to bring charges, but the Mueller
under a
report.
different framework.
I was about to say, but Mueller brought charges, so it makes sense that in a comprehensive report where he's talking about bringing charges against a number of Trump campaign officials, that he would also
But
mention.
why was he brought on? Why was Mueller brought on to be a special counsel? Do you remember what was
Was it Sessions who appointed him?
No.
Oh wait, okay, real quick. Talk like we're really doing a thing. I'm just gonna make sure you kind of have the mic turning. I'm just gonna listen for like 1 minute and then we'll be good to go.
Cool.
I think we need
Deputy
check
Attorney
mics.
General
Maybe
Rod
you might-
Rosenstein.
Because
we
it was
might need two
after
mics.
Sessions recused himself, right?
Sessions had recused
Yeah.
himself.
Because if I
Yeah.
use different mics and they're this close, it's gonna be really fucked up.
Okay,
Unfortunately. Yeah.
okay.
So we have to
Let's
pass.
have her
Sorry.
repeat.
After that, Comey was fired.
Okay, I'm gonna yell at you now. If you're talking, you have to pull the mic to your mouth.
Okay, so literally do this.
At least,
Yeah, and don't
at
knock your
least
beer
swivel it
over.
And try to be mindful of the space. So if you're gonna
Yeah.
talk, part of the cue that you're gonna talk so people don't interrupt you is you're pulling the mic to your mouth. Okay.
Got it. So Trump wasn't under investigation until that moment. Why was he under investigation when he fired Comey? Because he was under investigation for obstruction of justice, for trying to interfere. Nowadays, this would be totally, absolutely immune. I mean, imagine being charged for firing someone to obstruct an investigation.
Yeah, but wasn't Mueller's remit much larger than that?
It was larger,
Yeah.
but the triggering incident to get Mueller involved was an investigation of the sitting president, that is Donald Trump. Until then, Trump was not under investigation because there was no strong evidence tying him to a conspiracy with the Russian government and the release
What's your
of the
point? He was the subject of investigation.
We're okay with the Mueller investigation, aren't we? When
Wait. The FISA warrants and everything?
No.
Based off of-
That's Crossfire Hurricane under the FBI. I'm talking about the appointment of Mueller after Comey was fired. Don't you support that?
Hold on. The appointment of Mueller after Donald Trump
Fired James Comey.
So they appointed a special counsel to be somewhat independent from the DOJ when Donald Trump was fucking with the DOJ.
Correct.
What did Biden do that was the equivalent of firing Comey?
Yeah, so I'm not saying that there's an equivalence in terms of the level of conduct.
Listen. All the differences
He gets the
aside,
win
it's
when
such
he
a
walks out.
saying.
Yeah. He just walks
It's the
out.
best tactic.
It's
You just
an
gotta walk
amazing
off.
You do it well. No, but I think that the mere investigation for a felony of a sitting president requires there to be an appearance of impropriety, and we want to know. The American people deserve to know what the outcome is. Imagine if you're the American people, there is a felony investigation into the sitting president. You have no window. The reason why they have that report is
What do you mean
they
what the
wanna
outcome is? We knew what the outcome is because he declined to bring charges. He didn't have to file, 300
They want to know about
report.
the process. The whole
Yes.
reason you have a rationale is to know about the process.
Right, because they will produce the report. Otherwise, the FBI won't reveal anything about the investigation unless they bring charges. So we found out thoroughly what was investigated and
Why they didn't bring a charge. And you can have confidence. That's the whole logic of it. It's flawed. That's the logic.
Do we ever have a right to see an investigation process?
No, I'm not. No,
I will.
He's AJW you! He's AJW, you're right there! Oh my god!
I will absolutely answer. So it's different. It's different when there are certain considerations, including that you are the sitting president. The reason we have these special counsels is in the aftermath of Watergate, when everyone is concerned, and other things that happen with intelligence agencies where they're like tapping Martin Luther King, civil rights leaders. They're doing coups in other countries. There was a big concern about secret investigations, things like that. The reason why we have some of these statutes, these frameworks, is so the American people have confidence that the people holding the levers of power are going to be held to account. That's why they want transparency in their investigations when it deals with someone who has oversight over the agencies that are doing the investigations.
This is a self-defeating argument, though.
Why is that?
Because you're saying, so this whole argument is that we clearly can't trust the DOJ to investigate the president.
That's
right?
not what. No.
That's why we need a special counsel.
That's
right?
not what we're saying. We're saying we want the American people to have the confidence to know that the
and you know
investigation was done.
what investigation over the past 10 years do the American people have the most confidence in? Would you say it's, what is it called? What do they call it? Russiagate? Good thing we had an independent counsel for that. So much confidence for the Russian investigation.
Hang on. But that turned out a lot of issues with the investigation, as you're aware of. You're aware that there were issues in the Russian investigation.
There was
There
far
was
more credibility
withholding
than
of-
there was issues.
But also the problem isn't with the special counsel, it's with the actions afterwards. The special counsel can just recommend, and if the attorney general is not on board, then what can he do?
And I just want to say there were issues in the Russian investigation, including but not limited to the FISA renewal applications, where there were literal crimes. There was a crime that was charged that we wouldn't know about if we didn't have special counsels or inspector generals in charge of these reports and coming to these conclusions.
All I'm going to say is we're so far afield from the fact that I don't think Merrick Garland's pace is justified.
Okay,
That's why I dislike
based
the guy.
on what? Because Trump
Based
wasn't
on a
tried
guy,
before the
based on a
election.
guy named Eric Holder, former Attorney General, dozens of DOJ officials who disagree with Garland. If you want to say, if you want to say that Garland's decision is sound, that's fine. You're entitled to that opinion. I'm just
I
saying.
think it's within the realm of reasonable
I'm saying Garland made political decisions. When your thought process is my pace is going to be determined on how political my
You don't
pace
have
will be
proof
perceived,
of that. You don't have proof of that.
I would just encourage you very strongly to read
You
that
just have
WAPO.
feels. Okay, I'll read the WAPO.
Yeah.
I thought I already did.
I don't think you did.
But
I think
I
it's like your her report. Yeah, I think it's like your her report. And
It's like it's Colorado Supreme Court decision.
yeah, exactly. And I also think I'm going to pull the Steven on you. What's it going to take? Like a signed confession? Is that going to take? He's going to have to admit to
No,
it.
how about some communication where the reasonable assumption would be he's operating because he doesn't want to be lambasted. It's different than when you're like, hey,
Let's be very clear. I just want to be very clear to make sure I'm being absolutely charitable to the Attorney General. I don't think it's because he was worried that he personally would be lambasted. He felt that the DOJ had been politicized under Trump, and it had
had been.
I understand, and that it had this reputation of being a political instrument, and so he wanted to proceed with extraordinary caution, so as to not feed that perception. I think that inherently, even if you agree with that, it sounds great on paper, that is political.
Absolutely right. Beautifully.
But he had to dig the DOJ out of a hole, and so he had to overcompensate. Maybe, perhaps he did too much. But
may I ask, just in all seriousness, are we out of the hole with the DOJ? Because if you look at the polls, Republicans aren't buying it. They think that Garland is corrupt, that the DOJ...
He can't control. He can't control their reaction. He can't control their reaction to doing the right thing.
Mr. Attorney General, if you're watching, they were always going to think that no matter what you did, you should have just slapped the cuffs on him 3 weeks in.
He's not thinking on that level. And here's the proof is in the pudding. If the trial had happened before the election, you wouldn't be saying shit.
Yeah, and what if he was found? What if he was acquitted? And you would say, oh, maybe they should have taken some more time and done some more research, more evidence.
Wait, what's the
all you care about is the result, and if the trial would have happened, you would have been like, "Wow, Merrick Garland, I'm so glad that
right.
you took his time."
I'm such an asshole for wanting to see some sort of conclusion.
What you want. That's why
some
you're
sort of
frustrated.
conclusion.
Hey, I wanted to see it. I wanted to see it too, but I didn't want to see the DOJ go through some kind of crazy procedure or to do something outside the realm of reasonableness. And listen, I don't have evidence that they've done that, and so I'm going to assume good faith on the behalf of the Attorney General, who I think has done
when was
an
the last
exceptional
time?
job
When
in
was,
general.
when was the last time the DOJ brought charges against a former president?
They've never done that.
So would it have been within the realm of possibility? Sorry, would it have been within the realm of possibility for the DOJ not to bring charges against Donald Trump, since that's their standard operating procedure?
Bro,
would it? Would it?
I think that you're not properly.
Would it?
You're not properly.
It would.
You're
so
not properly. You're not properly like understanding the level
Guys, I'm gonna
of.
leave the bathroom before we swap over to Bridges.
I think we're good.
You got an hour and a half to 2 hours in your.
Yeah, we should get everybody else involved somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I have the last word on this?
Yes, you can have the last word on it.
Oh my God. Well,
So
go to the
there-
bathroom. If you go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom.
There are a ton of, as we just saw in the Supreme Court, nuanced legal issues on all these fronts, including the classified documents case, which saved Biden's ass, I must say. The notion that a former president or vice president needs to willfully withhold national defense information means the standard is much higher than someone who's not the president or the vice president who has, while they're in office, great deal of authority to keep classified documents wherever the fuck they want. Same with the immunity decision
hold
with
on,
respect
what
to
did
the.
you just say?
So, for the specific statutes at issue in the classified documents case, both for Biden and for Trump, you need to show willfulness.
That's true for every.
No. Difference between intentional knowing and willful. Under the statute, willful means not only that you knew what you were doing, this is different than the normal rule, you knew it was illegal. What saved Biden in the end is he had a plausible case based on some Reagan precedent that I actually thought it was legal to have my own written versions of classified documents in my notebooks. It was very thin because if you listen to the recording, he says, I have all the classified stuff downstairs. It is a narrow statute. The reason why we can charge Trump with willfully withholding classified information is because we know he did it with it being illegal, because we did the many attempts to try to get the back and forth. With us going after multiple times, us being the DOJ in this case,
I don't even know if that. I don't think
documents,
that's the main
it is
thing
the
at
case.
issue in the Mar-a-Lago case.
It is the case.
It's
So-
not. The big charges are related to obstruction. There are cases related to the retention of documents. That is the national defense information. I don't think they charged him with the ordinary classification statutes.
With the and also with the documents.
They can't because when he took the documents, he was the president of the United States, correct?
Yeah.
When you're the president of the United States, none of the classification rules apply to you.
It's
Oh
but
my
it has nothing
God.
to do.
Who got him? Who's been talking to him? It's Rob.
It's
No,
nothing-
it's not Rob.
He wasn't
I'm telling
charged.
you something true.
He was.
I read the Her report.
He was charged for.
I understand
willful,
the analysis.
He was charged for willful retention of national
understand.
defense
I
information.
know
It
what
doesn't. He
Well,
could.
but the only reason I bring this is because the national defense information, that's a different one because the president doesn't actually have the authority to declassify that. That declassification has to come from Congress, I believe. Or there's another process.
Unsure, actually. But I
am sure. That's the difference between that charge and the ordinary classified outside
we
of
do
a skip
not have
charge.
on-point precedent about scope of national defense information, where and to the extent to which who can.
My
has ultimate authority.
understanding is that even if the documents had been declassified properly, he still did not have the right to have them, and that's why he was.
When he
charged.
was president, he did. When he was the president
Thank
of the United
God time moved on,
Yes.
and then he wasn't president when he had them.
But if Donald Trump thought that it was legal to do it,
Sorry.
listen to me.
It's the Chappelle skit where the guy's
No.
like, I didn't know I couldn't do that.
This is-
Sorry, with Chip.
I'm gonna learn you a thing or two.
You're right. Go ahead.
So, in this statute,
I want you to be like Merrick Garland and take your time.
the willful retention, of national defense information requires you to have a heightened mens rea. It requires you to know what you're doing is illegal.
A heightened mens rea, like being the top authority at the administration or at the part of government that's responsible for classifying material?
So Donald Trump could have reasonably said at the time, if they had tried to charge him when they found the documents in Mar-a-Lago, he could have said, I thought it was legal for me to have those. That would have been a valid defense.
Yeah, but he didn't. Instead, he's on recording saying, I was
Yes.
supposed to declassify
Yes.
these, but I didn't.
Yeah, that's because
Hey,
the investigation continued. They had obstruction evidence, and that evidence goes towards willfulness.
If they, so let's be clear. The only reason Stephen and I want, and I'm sure you do, want Trump charged of the classified of the documents case was because he kept the documents. If they'd gone to Mar-a-Lago and said, "Give us the goddamn documents back," and he was like, "Hey, sorry, I thought I could," we wouldn't want him charged.
Now you're talking about policy. I don't want to hear about policy. I don't want to hear about your own ethical system, whatever that is. What I want to hear about is why you knew that they had evidence of mishandling of classified information at the time they found the documents. The truth is they didn't. Until they could show that Trump knew what he was doing was illegal, they couldn't charge even the classified document stuff because that requires willfulness, a heightened standard. So the obstruction evidence, you're correct. It's important evidence because it goes both to the underlying obstruction charge and the willfulness charge. And there are thorny legal issues here about, can you charge him with this if he took them out of where they were supposed to be when he was president? Those are complicated legal issues. They exist here and in the January 6th case that don't present themselves in the main run of cases. And so I'm fine with the DOJ taking their time, being apolitical.
What's wrong with the left
based
camera, guys?
Merrick Garland for doing all the things he needed to do to get these cases on the road.
Yeah. There you go.
Wait, somebody's saying something about the left camera. Is something weird? Or what's going on? Is somebody being blocked?
I don't know. We don't have the preview up. So
Good, true.
we wouldn't know.
It's hard for
would
us
we?
to know.
That's crazy, huh?
Can't see Dan. I think Dan will lean forward when we start talking. Everything, as long as Pisco and Joanne are visible, I think everybody should be. And then me and Dan are visible at the edges.
Are we visible?
Just sit there and
Only
get
the right side visible. From Destiny to Pisco. Nothing. No one else is visible.
Well, hold on. They have to talk. Say something.
Hey,
Hello, hello,
that
hello,
working?
hello.
is that working?
On this side
Can you see us over here?
Hey, 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 hey,
Well,
hey,
Dan
hey.
will pull forward. You can pull forward a
Hello,
little more, right?
hello, hello, hello. It doesn't switch over to this side.
No, it is.
It does.
Oh, okay.
Do you have the stream pause?
No, maybe. Maybe a little bit.
I think you just have to pull in towards Jessiah, act like you don't hate him.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. I don't mind. It's okay. I'm just here trying to save the Jewish people, but I can
But do it on
make
camera.
I can make some time for you guys.
Yeah.
No problem.
We really got into it, huh?
It's good.
Pussies. I wouldn't fucking not let
Fucking
that shit
yeah.
fly.
piece of shit. That's what he is.
Listen, we love democracy. I believe that.
Here, I hope Kamala's AG pick can
Yeah.
bring you two together. Okay.
Doug Jones or Glenn Kirshner.
You want Doug Jones?
I think Doug Jones would have been better than Merrick
Does he
Garland.
have a prosecutor's temperament?
I hope so. God, I hope so. I don't think he's been
You
a
think
judge.
I'm gonna pick like Roy Moore? I'm like, that must be your opinion of me that I'm gonna like pick some out there person.
My opinion about you, Pisco, is just constantly reshuffling. It's just like it's constantly like I still don't know where you are in the Supreme Court. I think.
What do
that-
you mean? I criticize the Supreme Court quite a bit.
Do you think we should expand the court?
Of course, that's been my opinion since the Merrick Garland steal.
Where are you on Alito? And should he have recused himself?
No, I don't think he should have.
It's immediately going to.
Sorry.
Even when
Yeah, I think the Chief Justice is wrong.
that the Chief Justice was wrong to take that opinion away from Alito?
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, I can't do this. I can't do this at all. I can't.
Listen, you want to apply everything that someone's wife does to the person themselves. I don't want to do that.
Chief Justice Roberts seemed to do that when he took that
Yes, and
opinion
I
away,
disagreed a lot with the chief in recent weeks and months.
but not on that Trump
Just-
immunity decision. Pisco thinks that
No, I hate
Roberts
that
nailed
decision.
that one.
I hate that
Yeah.
decision.
Just because your wife flies some flags at both of your homes doesn't mean you believe any of it.
I don't know. I disagree with you on this.
I disagree with you on this.
Hey, fist bump right here.
I think that if your wife has any respect for you and the sanctity of your job, where you're meant to be certain, like, apolitical standard, then she should have her political opinions, but not fly them from a flag outside of her house.
So wait, so she loses her rights?
It's crazy if you like have any level of respect for your partner who is a political
But we're
figure.
not judging whether we have any level of respect. I agree with both of you on that. There's no disagreement on that.
The
with
idea
us.
that they wouldn't be aligned in this at all is wild.
We
Well,
don't
actually, I'm just
disagree.
curious because we don't have to. Hold on, I don't remember when they talked about the issue with the flags flying or whatever. Did they say that? Did they say that they'd written those statutes or those ethical guidelines? Was it to prevent all impropriety, or was it the appearance
of
Oh, was it
impropriety.
appearance?
Yeah, it was. It was.
Oh, crazy. Okay. Do you
And
think it
again-
might appear improper if?
Apparently, a reasonable mind like Chief Justice John Roberts, there's circumstantial evidence to suggest that he also felt the same way.
Why do you think? Why was it so great that he had to take the opinion, but not for Alito to recuse himself? Isn't that kind of weird?
That is
kind of a
is
double
weird.
standard.
Yeah, it
huh?
does.
It
Yeah.
is
Isn't that weird?
I think that it is weird, but I don't agree with the chief on the law, and I don't agree that it's reasonable to think that just because the flag was up for how many days? 3 days?
I can't even remember.
We've had this discussion before.
Yeah.
Crazy.
3 days. Have you seen Alito? You know how long it takes me to climb up that flagpole? You ever seen Mulan? It took her a whole week. All right.
Must be swift as a course. Yeah, exactly.
You have a good voice.
Thank you.
Are you classically trained?
No,
She is.
I believe it.
She has a name.
Cool.
What is it?
Yeah,
Pisco?
it's
What is it? Joanne.
on this,
It's not
on
Joanne.
this panel. It's woman too. Okay.
Woman too. Blonde one.
Why are we all here?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good question.
Other than to
Good
yell at
question,
you.
Kyla.
Yeah, it's all on me. Hi guys, welcome to a live version of Bridges, where we are joined by the DGG community streamers. Okay, what's gonna be helpful for people who don't know who you are? Just tell us your name, who you are, starting with the most important character on the show, Dan the Content Man.
Oh shit. Sorry.
Hey everyone, what's up? My name's
Don't
Dan.
look at that screen. Look over there.
Hey everyone, what's up? Boy, I wish I had a thing I could see what's going on here. My name's Dan Saltman. I am Israel's greatest soldier, and I'm just, longtime member of the stream, Destiny's sidekick that gets abused frequently, and that's about it, I guess. Not much else to it. Yeah, sound good?
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right, we got a lot of these to go through. There you go.
I'm Jessiah, aka Pondering Politics, and I'm here to yell at Pisco and to make the case for democratic supremacy and aggressive Supreme Court reform, which he opposes. Don't let him fool you.
I'm Joanna, also known as the SillySerious. I identify as a non-streaming streamer, and I occasionally come in to chat with Stephen about philosophy stuff and gender stuff and international relations stuff.
Lesbian bars.
And lesbian bus.
Yeah. I'm Pisco. I'm a lawyer. I'm a frequent guest. We talk about things like politics and the Department of Justice and cases that are going on.
I'm really important Twitch streamer and Ben Shapiro owner.
I am Alexander, Ahrelevant, online. Okay, I'm a desperate roommate. Needs desperately, yes, seeking roommates right now because mine abandoned me. All right, I have a drama-free house. I promise. All right, do you want to
Do both. Bring both mics together. Oh god.
I am LonerBox. I am Israel's second greatest defender. Well, that one. Okay.
Don't you dare.
I'm a streamer. I occasionally talk to Stephen about Middle East.
You didn't say who you were, so I don't need to say who I am, do I? We're co-hosts.
True.
And you're the hosts.
We're the hosts. Thank you.
Oh, wait, we're sharing.
All right. Okay.
No, make those two share. You two share.
Yeah.
Yeah, you.
Oh, I thought you were going to introduce yourself though, real quick.
No,
Oh,
I'm
never
not
mind.
introducing myself. They know
What if
who
they
I
don't
am.
know him? Okay.
If they're on Bridges, they probably know who I am.
Maybe.
In fairness.
Well, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, guys. I wanted to talk with you guys, obviously, about the community and why you're here for the election night and the upcoming election, and to milk you guys as hard as possible for some content. Okay, maybe start. I'm super curious to know how everyone actually got involved with the Destiny community. I know you were a Hassan mod. Tomato, tomato, tomato.
That wasn't the start.
Tomato, 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 tomato.
I was. Yes, I was.
Can you tell us that?
He still is.
Tell us.
No, we're there. We're there.
Oh,
Shut up. It was
dude.
never.
Yeah, what the hell? Yeah, so back when there was the schism hadn't happened, I became a Hassan mod because I was in his Discord debating like literally 6 hours a day, every day. I loved it. It was fantastic. And they were just like, hey, you're in here all the time? Became a mod. Fell out of becoming a mod because the mod chat got a bit spicy. Group chat got leaked. And so...
Many such cases.
What were the jokes?
The jokes were, colorful of specific communities. Look, I didn't say I didn't.
Which
no,
ones?
like
Which ones?
I forgot. I didn't make the jokes myself. Okay, I want to know. I have no logs.
Sure.
Okay, I was in the group chat, and so it was like radiation. Okay, I was like,
why did you want to go and be a part of Hassan's community?
I mean, Hassan, back then, Hassan was, sorry, my bad. Back then, Hassan was pretty chill. He was pretty, cool with, liberals and liberal ideas. Go ahead.
How were you removed as a mod? What was that process? Were you spoken to?
It was the group chat got leaked. Everybody was like, this is, okay, so there was, a little bit of homophobia and transphobia in there. Okay, there was the head mod was a gay dude and he had a gay dude who was a little bit spicy with some of his statements amongst other. I had no logs. Okay, I had no logs that were leaked. I was simply in the chat. But. Yeah, it got leaked. My bad. No, I'd clean logs. But yeah, that happened, and then they just removed everybody in the mod chat. So it's kind of also Frogan was cool at the time too. I don't know what happened. Frogan was the coolest mod at the time, and then everybody just I don't know. They became not cool anymore.
Is everyone who's a part of that community like an ex-mod kind of deal, or is it less?
You gotta get better at your mic.
You guys gotta.
I'm sorry, I'm not trained. All right, I'm not a streamer.
Classically trained.
So is everyone part of that community like an ex-mod? Are they all? Did you see them all grow up and become big streamers as well?
Not everybody in that community. Most of the people in that community either stopped. There was some controversy with the people who leaked the logs. They went on to scam people, which was kind of cathartic for me that they leaked the logs, making us all look bad, and then they turned out to be a bunch of scamming weirdos. So fuck those people. But no, I think the only person who was there at the time who continued streaming was Frogan and myself. I think nobody else was streaming. Everybody else was doing normal shit. So.
Do you think it was just them who changed, or did you change as well?
Maybe they're still.
I haven't. I've changed political positions, but other than that, I'm pretty similar. I've changed some political positions, but nothing too radical. They went pretty. I mean, we all know how Hassan has changed over the last couple of years, where he's just gone crazy. So.
Have you ever asked any of your fellow streamers and friends why they trickled into your community or anything? Have you ever had that conversation with people?
Yeah, I think so. I usually have a decent idea. Usually it's either a big event, games will play, some debate that'll happen. Generally, yeah.
Okay. I feel this year specifically, there's been a lot. You blown up. It's been this year specifically. You went from ruminate. The
Rum 1
the
N8.
forgettable.
Rum 1 N8 to pondering
Rum 1
politics.
N8, yeah.
N8, right? It was
Yeah.
an 8. And
So
a TE.
I couldn't get the actual spelling of ruminate because it was taken already, and a buddy of mine was like, "Dude, you're streaming. Throw a 1 and an 8 in there." And I'm like, "All right, cool." And then people would be like, "What's Rum 1 N8?" I'm like, "It's ruminate, man." And so eventually I rebranded, and yeah, it's been the past 12 months. Yeah.
Crazy.
It has been crazy.
I feel you got Occupy Democrats. You've been doing some crazy stuff.
I think I met Destiny on the Joshua for Congress panel. Remember how much fun we had roughing that guy out?
Oh my God, he was was he a 20-year-old running for Congress?
He was a socialist. He knew nothing, and we just beat him up.
That was a rough one.
I think you ended his career.
He might have quit after that.
Yeah.
To be fair, that guy was rolling around waiting for his career to be ended. So.
Yeah.
Damn.
And I feel you're an interesting case because you're the most socialist of the crew right now.
Wait a minute, are you suggesting that we're not interesting cases? Because you just said that
you guys are.
Yes, she is suggesting that. Get over it.
Yeah. Boring.
Ouch. They are very interesting.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. But one thing that I feel I'm always surprised by is I feel a lot of people are surprised that you've fallen more and more consistently into the Destiny political opinion camp. Do you know? Why?
Yeah, why'd you start copying all of your takes from me?
It's more
I'd really like to know that. Do you like watch him all the time before you stream, and then you go live, and then you just rehash it, or?
Wow. Oh, wow. Where's this coming from? This just got awkward.
I'm glad she didn't call us interesting now. That was brutal. Yeah.
No, I'm obviously joking.
Okay. I used to think Destiny was a bit of a cunt. So, but I used to.
And that was a lot.
It's nice when he says it.
But I enjoyed the debates, so I watched as I was kind of hovering around the breadtube crowd. I always preferred streaming to video essays, even though I started video essays just because I have no attention span. And then I kind of realized that when I used to identify as a socialist in like 2010, 2011, 12, barely anyone was into politics, and definitely not that kind of area. And socialist, like where I came from, usually just meant like social democrat, with a little bit of reformist or like explore new ways of structuring society. So I kind of thought the whole USSR tanky shit was done, but it wasn't. So I think a lot of it's been more like changes in association rather than like fundamental ideas. And over time from streaming, I just kind of realized that this community was the one I identified with the most.
As you got into the space, you kind of like first identified with more like the bread tube, and then as you got more like as you socialized with people, you realize like these aren't quite where.
Well, bread tube back in the day was people fighting against Nazis. So if you're attacking Nazis, it's quite easy to make yourself look good, right? And there was the likes of like ContraPoints and people like that. But then I guess as time developed and you start to scrutinize things a bit more, and I mean, I was like a musician for most of my 20s, so I didn't really dive deep into anything. So the more I started looking at stuff and the more I started like reading about particular topics more closely, I just started to realize that I didn't really go quite exactly where they were going. Ukraine was definitely the first red flag when I realized that socialism was a little bit fucking weird when it came to the rest of the world. And then after that, it was just like one other issue after another.
Socialism or the socialists that you interacted with?
There shouldn't be anything theoretically about socialism that makes you support Russia and Ukraine, but somehow it happened. So, yeah, probably both. Like there must be something inherent in the ideology, but also just the people as well.
So wait, this journey like really began when Russia invaded Ukraine. That's what you mean in 2022, was it?
Yeah. I think that was like the first big one. There were other like little things before that. I mean, I always used to. I think it was every now and then, like I'd make a video about Churchill, like talking about how he's so valorized in the UK and people like to bury a lot of his worst excesses. But I left a little concession in there saying that at the end of the day, he was the one who realized that Hitler was a piece of shit and that he shouldn't be trusted, and he shouldn't be appeased, and that's good. And actually, like at one point in Europe, he was the only one fighting against the Nazis because America took their fucking time. Anyway.
So you're still pro Churchill compared to Chamberlain then?
I threw that little concession in because I think like right wingers aren't wrong about everything.
Right.
But then people got really fucking angry, and I was like, I realized, it's just like small things like that at a time. I just realized that lefty sphere online is like just not what I want to be part of.
When you said Americans, or excuse me, that right wingers were not wrong about everything, had you met an American right winger at that time?
American right wingers are special, okay? I don't know if you saw the last poll from YouGov, but they asked like every other country in Europe who they would vote for in this election. I think the closest Trump came is he gets like 24% in Italy.
Wow. Can we somehow get your constituents to vote in our election?
Eastern Europe, like Hungary and
They love him.
I don't think the poll only had like 10 countries in it, but the best performing one for Trump was Italy, and he had 24% versus like Kamala getting 50.
I think it's really interesting as well when you see the leftists kind of, there's almost this mapping in their mind, and I'm a leftist, so I'm not, it's self-on, self-hate, but sometimes when it comes to international relations, leftists will go, oh, who's the socialist? Who's the more left-wing in this situation? And then take that side as if the left-wing, their ideology and their point of view just maps perfectly onto all other geopolitical situations without any knowledge of what's going on.
I think that's totally, I bet. that's totally true. I'm actually interested in your perspective from an Australian perspective on Churchill, because I understand there's a lot of resentment and hurt feelings about
Churchill really fucked us in World War I, and we're still mad about it. We're still really upset about it. Fuck Winston Churchill from Australia.
So for those of you who don't know, there was actually a little interesting part about who's the historian in quotation marks. His name's Daryl something. He's from the chat will know who I'm talking about. Martyr Maid guy, where he did this big thing like Churchill sucks or whatever. But there are some. When I went to Australia, there was like definitely a lot of hurt feelings about Gallipoli and World War I and his involvement in that. But interesting how like an international conflict made you kind of appreciate the differences that you were having with the socialist friends that you're hanging out with.
Yeah, because I think domestically, and you'll notice that left-wing creators do this a lot, is that they will sometimes realize that they're kind of homeless without the whatever left-leaning party is in their country. So that's why every now and then people like Kassan will become like Democrats to the untrained eye, you know? And then it's only after like a kind of niche issue appears that you start to notice what's going on. So
You
that
say it
makes
though,
sense.
but I am happy that like Vosh is pretty pro-Ukraine, and it seems like Hassan, although initially kind of wishy-washy on Crimea, seems to be pro-Ukraine, at least in some capacity, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing is like
The
because
same way that Merrick Garland is pro justice sentiment. Yeah.
I just say there's still common cause on some of these fronts, and I hope. I don't know. Has Hassan endorsed Kamala?
No.
no, I don't think so.
I
know it's
He had like a little phase, didn't he, where he was getting really hyped about Walz and
Tim
Biden
Walz.
dropping out, but that
Nothing
didn't.
happened. And he didn't.
Yeah, but then I think it was the DNC,
Just
right?
saying, then it happened.
What?
And then he just moved the goalpost. I don't track him very closely. Is that what he did?
Yeah, but you just like laughed and repeated what I said.
Well, no.
What
I-
from my.
Well, no, just because you made it sound like that's it. Fuck, yeah, they actually did it. Like Democrats called his bluff.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't. There must have been something else going on. I didn't follow the VP stuff very closely, but
Yeah.
I thought that Walz was considered somewhat of an unlikely pick, or were people not?
He was the furthest to the left. A lot of people
Yeah,
thought
and
it was
then
going to be
but-
Shapiro.
Yeah, yes, Shapiro. And then a lot of people were like, they would never fucking choose Walz. Like that would be if they choose Walz, like that would I'd be so happy. And then she chose Walz, and they're like,
Whatever.
so yeah, where's Bernie? Like I don't care. It was just like it's never enough. It's like all the people that are saying that like we wanted an open contest, a contested whatever bullshit. It wouldn't have mattered if Kamala would have won, or if any center left person would have. Nobody would have given a fuck.
I haven't given my story, right? So I came from, this is a shout out, Prime Chi, the Prime Chi community. You guys remember those
Yes.
big debates? So I was in, I think 2L. This was during COVID. And I remember watching another shout out, Lecture Fan. Do you guys know what Lecture Fan is? I was just randomly on a stream I was just like bored out of my mind in COVID lockdown. And he's a conservative lawyer guy. And I saw Lecture Fan's stream, and I started chatting to him, and he was like responding to a few things that I was saying. I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then I saw this guy, Prime Kai, and he's like, anyone can call in, which is, I mean, wild. You guys do these shows now, and we do the Twitter Spaces or whatever. But at that time, I thought it was pretty innovative, actually. And I started going on those panels a lot. And then from there, when I first met Steven, it was during the Kyle Rittenhouse arc.
Oh, really?
This is his first ban from Twitch when he said
I was never banned for Rittenhouse, just to be clear.
departnered
Yeah.
for saying dipshit protesters.
We think it's okay to
We
burn
think
down
it's okay to
buildings.
So you're going on,
Worded just like Biden.
come on. No, but it's that sort of exchange. I think that we talked on an initial panel with like A4 Andre. Do you remember that guy? And then we had our big like classical discussions about defensive property, and from there it kind of snowballed into other topics.
Is this the blade of grass
The
thing?
legendary
That's the
blade
blade.
of
Yeah.
This is the most defended theoretical blade of grass in the world. Okay,
Yes.
there are like fortresses built on either side of this
Then
blade of grass.
Another one of our first conversations was about the Supreme Court.
Were you guys
And
fighting?
I think it was because what Stephen will do, actually, I think it's really good of him to do that, is oftentimes he'll ask a lot of questions when he's trying to build a rapport.
It's correct, yeah.
And I really liked it. So he's asking me a bunch of questions about the Supreme Court at a time where you weren't in your law arc yet. You weren't like reading all these cases or doing all this stuff. And you asked me like, do you have confidence in the Supreme Court if Biden's elected, that if Trump, this is in like August of 2020, that the Supreme Court will stand up? And I said, yes, I believe in the integrity of Chief Justice John Roberts. I think that he is a good steward of the Supreme Court, and I think that he'll do what's in the best interest of the stability of the nation. That was me as a 3L at that point, or a 2L or a rising 3L. My opinion has since changed because of the immunity decision, but yeah, those are the initial topics that we talked about, and then it got a little weird. We started talking about like, I don't know, Ahrelevant. Was that you?
It was me.
Oh. Okay, but you were involved somehow in that.
Ayurveda?
Ayurveda with Dr. K.
Oh, Ayurveda.
Oh, and then the Dr. K stuff, and then
It was all like Dr. K adjacent stuff.
Yeah.
What? How did you get into the DGG verse?
Stephen insulted me in Prime Kai's chat.
She probably deserved it, to be fair.
Kai's as well.
So I was just chatting. He was on the panel. I was like, this guy, I didn't know who Stephen was. Sorry, not a celebrity
Yeah.
for me. And I was like, no, I think he's wrong. And then he came at me really hard. And I was like, fuck it, I'll go on the panel. And then we chatted afterwards. He was actually very reasonable. And then I came on to speak to him in person. And then every now and then I pop in to speak with him in person.
Like
When she says in person, she means on Discord.
Yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, I'm here
damn,
all
that's
the
a
time.
commitment.
Yeah.
I didn't know. You were telling me?
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, yeah, in Discord. That's as in person as I get.
And then I feel like.
Well, except for now when you're literally in person.
Am I?
And are you, because I feel like, did you step away from content creation? Because I feel like there was like a drought. Because when I first came into like the DGG verse, everyone's like, you have to talk to Joe, you have to talk to Joe. And it was like right at the same time that I think you stopped streaming. And I just like had watched a few of your older stuff and I was like, oh, she's amazing, I love her. But you were just like not around. And I feel like you're stepping back into content, if I'm understanding.
So it was the end of COVID and my dad died. Yeah, and at the same time, I sort of half dropped out of my PhD program. So I was just in a very vulnerable position, and it just didn't feel good to like sit on screen every day and have people like
Tearing you apart.
Yeah, and I just wanted to be able, because part of what I like about DGG is that people are willing to have different positions and like come at each other but still be nice. But
Which
I was just, like,
DGG are you a part of? What?
There are
not
people.
the chat, not the chat.
No, there are people in the chat too.
Yeah.
Though.
There are some, yeah.
Yeah, there are some that are really mean as well. But like, okay, when I say DGG, I mean Stephen, pretty much.
Oh, thank you. True.
Like, I can talk to you and disagree
am
with
nice.
you.
You are nice.
Yeah.
I am nice, thank you.
But I was just in a position where I wanted to actually be able to take a little bit of pushback without being a big baby about it. And so I'm starting to get there. And yeah.
But can I tell one of the projects that you're working on? So two projects that I want to call out. One is it's called The Context. It's Joanna's podcast. It's really super funny. It's like bite-sized news. So that's like a semi-consistent project that you've been doing a good job on it.
I was doing it weekly until
Yeah.
I came to America.
And the other is the most amazing play that I've ever seen in my life. And I'm not just saying that. Like, it is legit one of the best plays ever. I'm trying to bring it to America. It's really, really sick. But yeah, so you've been keeping busy.
I'm in the arts as my day job. So
Yeah.
I'm a playwright and an actor. And so I have a play that was in production last year.
Won a
and I'm
bunch of
going back
awards.
for another
I
play.
didn't know you were a playwright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
We need to fundraise it because it is and I saw it like 10 times. It's
You
amazing.
literally came every show.
Yeah, it's really, really good. But yeah, it's so you've been keeping busy, just not necessarily streaming.
streaming
Yeah,
world.
Yeah, no, I figured you were super, super busy. And what's your PhD?
My PhD was, I'm on break. I probably will drop out because ContraPoints did it, and so I feel like that's the cool thing to
the
do.
vibe, yeah.
It was on cognitive linguistics and political leadership. So I did my undergrad in international relations where I focused on Middle Eastern politics, and I studied Arabic, and then I did a research project, like an honors project on interruption patterns across genders, and then I moved into conceptual linguistics, like how you build concepts and how that changes how you assess political leadership. So is a woman politician judged the same way a man is based on because you, just to nerd out for a second, because you conceptualize people on ontological grounds first, so you're a woman or you're black or things that people can see. Yeah, you categorize that first, so then a job, like a praxeological category, is under that. So technically a woman politician has a completely different set of standards to a male politician because you're judged
we're
as a woman
seeing right
first.
now. We're literally seeing. I'm wondering how that would map onto like Marjorie Taylor Greene showing Hunter Biden's dick on.
It was redacted. Thank you.
It was redacted?
She put a
Was the
black
dick
bar
really
over
blacked
it.
out?
No, she put a black bar over it.
She did. Oh, I thought it was.
Can I just say, I was saying to you in that when we were talking about
Yeah.
Peruvian
Yeah.
politics,
Yeah.
it's very interesting. Also, I did a
Indeed.
conference paper on how women are used by right-wing movements to sort of soften their attacks.
Like the Italian.
The Italian leader right now, but also
And Tommy Lauren.
the woman in Peru,
Keiko Fujimori.
Franke
For the-
in
yeah.
Germany. Is it Franke?
Who's the Italian? Although she's
No,
kind of.
that's what Erudite just
Oh,
said.
got it.
And there was a
Listen to
woman.
women.
Sorry.
There was a woman in Japan, but it's.
I categorized you ontologically, and I didn't.
I didn't listen to you. But it's very interesting to look at like how I titled my paper for that conference "The Smiling Face of the Right" because it was like, oh, she's not a threat, she's not dangerous, with like the most insidious policy underneath it, but it would just be softened. By
That's
the
like what
pres-
Russia did with Lauren Southern. Sorry.
Whoa.
She should have just said.
Those are
"Oops."
allegations, and you know what? So what do you think about that, by the way? I mean, there's
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
additional kind of Tim Pool stuff in the news right now, Stephen.
What else came out?
Well, I don't know. He's just being weird. He's like
He debated Sam Cedar. He finally
he
caved.
debated Sam Cedar, and then he like fired his staff.
Does he have hair?
He has Yes, I've
Just
had.
because he's always wearing a hat. No, I haven't. That's what I was wondering.
He's also like, didn't he say he was in a relationship and that he's gonna
With a
have
child.
kids?
He's with child.
Wait, he's in a relationship with a child.
No, he wants to look. He wants to take a break to look for a relationship and have a family.
I'm just interested.
I thought he said he saw a picture of his forthcoming daughter.
Wait, are we talking about Tim Pool?
18 years.
Maybe I misunderstood.
That he has to fire because he's got a family to feed.
Yeah, but my understanding is that after that, he also then said something about like. He realizes that he doesn't have the family life that he would like to have, and he like wants to take some time because he's working so hard. He's never spending time like looking for like the right woman and stuff like that. I could be wrong, but that was my understanding.
I think he has a wife.
I thought he had a wife and a baby on the way.
Yeah.
I thought he got a baby on the way.
My
I saw a photo of the fetus.
Could you break bread with someone like how are your amicable relationships with people who you spar with? Like
Non-existent now.
Also, hi Abba, thanks for joining the stream. Nice to see you. And guys, if you're watching, make sure you subscribe.
Yeah.
Dan, I don't know if we can make you crack a smile this whole conversation, but 14 years.
Well, from when I first started watching Steve, I mean, was that 2007 late or 2008 when
I think 2007. I think I was still in high school, so probably past that.
Ustream.
No, I didn't Ustream. I think it was probably 2010, 2010.
No, it couldn't have been because OWN started in 2009.
I graduated high school in 2007.
2009 is when I started. In 2009, I started.
My very first paycheck was in December of 2010 from Justin TV, and I think I started streaming within that year.
Okay. Well, I guess I was right around that time then. I mean, I thought it was earlier. Well, I started Tiny Chat in 2009, and then I remember watching his stream, because I played StarCraft, and there wasn't many streams. My competitors were like Ustream.com, or sorry, Ustream, was it .tv? Ustream.tv and Livestream.com were the two ones, and then.
Did Tiny stream at all? Like, why were they competitors?
Tiny Chat was it was like a group video chat website, and we just raised venture funding, and part of the job was kind of like what Twitch is doing now, which is trying to go out and attract talent and get people to the show. And I was like, fuck it, I can use some of this money however the fuck I want. So I'll reach out to Steve and do it. But I don't think anything happened as far as doing it. Like, I don't know, it was a weird time. We actually didn't end up signing anyone at all. But yeah, I mean, I've known him since then, and I think I like kind of more so joined the community around like. As far as like not being in text chat, but being, on stream, like maybe 2014. Does that sound right?
Whenever I was playing Hearthstone, so.
Yeah.
What was the first thing that brought you on stream?
Man, I'm not sure.
Was it DayZ? Did you play DayZ with us?
No. The first time coming on stream was Rust stuff, I think, actually. Like, as far as like being on voice chat, that type of stuff. Like, I'd be a chatter. Like, yelling at you in chat. But as far as like being on voice, it was probably the Rust. So that was probably like voice stuff 2015 or 2016, whenever Rust launched, or whenever you first played it. So I don't know when that was, right around that time.
Was like the culture of Justin TV at the time a little bit like transitioning from a viewer chatter to just like a close
Justin TV was
more
just a
natural,
piracy site, 90% of it. It was like people don't remember, but like Justin TV before it came Twitch, like when you went to the homepage of that site, it was like Simpsons, Friends, South Park, and like that was the entire homepage. And then you would see Steve like on the bottom right corner of the type of thing. Like just nobody did gaming streams back then at all.
Wait, were you one of the first gaming streamers?
I was the first person to quit my job and stream full time. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
In the world.
Didn't you innovate?
Like, to be
or I
clear,
might have been the second one. I think Hassan Piker might have been the very
were
first
there
one.
people doing?
Wow, he did it on his own. Didn't you innovate IRL streaming with some like Skype call?
If by
in a
innovate, you
drive-thru or
mean
something?
I was able to like jank together some early on and then I got banned for it? Yeah.
Oh,
When did
Why?
YouTube start paying people?
I have no idea.
I wonder if there was people that made a career of gaming, not live, but like broadcasted stuff. Like you were the first person to do it live. I wonder if there was someone else that was making money being a gamer.
You'd have to think of like what some of the like earliest machinima contracts were written
Boom,
for.
Headshot, whoever the fuck that dude was.
FPS Doug, those guys didn't make a living.
You don't think so?
No, I know the guy.
Well,
Jeremy.
the College Humor type dudes. They weren't making.
Well, you're thinking that was the pure ownage. College Humor. I don't know if that channel made money back then.
They all.
made money.
I don't think.
made money, didn't they?
I don't
How?
think YouTube paid you. I don't think
Because
YouTube
they were,
paid
yeah,
you
the
for
and even if they would have paid you, like the
College
ads.
Humor paid them. I was a big Jake and Amir fan. Is it people know who Jake and Amir is?
Yes.
Love Jake and Amir. They got money. They got paid for sure.
You like got money.
Yeah, you're not
Back
rich.
then, like got money was like if you got like 36,000 a year, you were like fucking made it. That was like the dream.
Did they have any?
Yeah, I know they had
People
sponsors.
must
yeah.
have been making money because what about like Colleen Ballinger, like all of the early YouTubers in the Audis?
Oh, did she make the apology? Is
Yeah.
that-
I feel
okay, yeah.
young right now, not knowing any
Like,
of these names. I feel very
How old are
young.
you?
I'm 27. I should know these names. I was just too busy playing Dota. I'm gonna be honest. That's a-
Like what about all the makeup
Lion.
people as well, like Jeffree Star and stuff? They must have been making money to be no okay.
There just wasn't the ecosystem for it. Like you weren't.
Yeah.
I don't think you got paid much by ads. You had to join like a whole content CDN, like a content delivery
What
network.
were those things
and
called? The ones that fucked you the most.
The CDN. I think they were CDNs. Content. No, that's
No,
not
no,
correct.
no. M something.
MCM, multi-channel network, I
that's
think, or
it.
MCNs. Yeah.
They
Horrible,
molested you,
yeah.
basically.
Whoa.
I mean, they did. There's no other word for it. It's like they. Were
Those
like,
are the ones where it's like we own your intellectual property into perpetuity. They're all universes for $200 a month, and you're like, it was like insane contracts early on.
Didn't
Yeah.
Donkey have one of those contracts? Video game Donkey.
I think every early. I
He's
think
one of the
DSP
best
did. I
YouTubers
bet
there
Hutch
is.
did.
Hutch.
Oh my
Yeah.
God! Did you see that DSP made a video calling out Twitch and its CEO?
What a.
That's how. That's how. What a Chad.
Is part of your crusade? DSP joined?
I didn't even. He just knew it was the right thing to do internally. DSP got ahead of the crowd, and he came out with a video
What
about
did he
how
say about it?
he said it's not good, and he's not pleased, and he's going to do something about it.
That's the secret weapon.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the real.
You know you're
secret
fucked when DSP is coming for you. That's truly endgame.
Is he like known as like a very neutral like fence sitter, or why is
No, DSP is known as like
DSP
a
is,
fucking retard.
He's a reformed. He's a reformed lol cow. He used to be a lol cow, but he's made it out. He climbed out of the lol cow hole.
that's true.
Impressive.
Is that real?
I think
He's
so.
not. He's not giving the people that like follow him enough juice to be squeezed anymore. That's the problem, right?
Yes.
Dark Side Phil. That's right.
Yeah, like back in the day, that guy would do crazy shit and it would be really funny to like make fun of. But now he's old enough. It's like there's not as many moments.
One of my favorite Destiny videos is him talking about it's a buyer's market for cars.
Yeah.
You could tell he was like repeating every single thing that the car salesman had like just told him.
Like, no, you guys don't understand.
Guys, gap insurance. Oh my god.
That actually is a good question. Okay, you've been 14 years, 12 years. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, like let's just say, I mean, at least 2010 is like when I first reached out to him about sponsoring.
What's the best DGG verse? Like memory. What's like a core
Arc or
memory that comes up?
memory?
Arc memory, like.
I
yeah.
mean, there's so many things I barely remember that we did. Like we went to fucking CES like 100 years ago. Do you remember that? Met fucking Brozel.
Briefly. Brozel. Oh, I remember Brozel. How's Brozel doing?
I have no idea.
Some like consumer electronics show, I think, in Austin.
Vegas.
Vegas.
That one was. Fun. The funniest moments, the best moments. I think they were all like. I mean, we went to Hawaii. We had fun there. Like almost driving off a cliff. That was interesting. TwitchCon, like going to the politics dinner and seeing Mike from PA run at full speed away from
He
us.
ran away?
Yeah, I was there. That was great.
Yeah.
Wait, he actually ran away?
Full
Like,
speed.
physically full speed?
Full speed.
But why?
When Mike and Steven saw each other, they start arguing for like 10 minutes straight at that dinner.
Mike who?
You argued in person with Mike from PA?
Did I?
Yeah, as soon as you guys saw each other, you started screaming at each other,
Good.
like debating for 10 minutes.
Fuck him.
About what?
Just politics or whatever.
Probably something he's
How
being
long
retarded
ago was
about.
this?
This was 2019?
Were you when?
No shot.
2018? No, it's 2019. Yeah.
Were you a part of like the Mike from PA Hassan like Destiny friend group at the time?
We
or-
were all chill because of Bernie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
true.
This
He's
is
a
before
unifier.
Biden got the nomination. Then they all turned on us. Yeah.
You voted for Bernie.
Oh god, what a great.
What a great time. I remember my favorite part during, like, that was the debate era. People were doing all the roundtables on Twitch. I remember after Bernie dropped, I was like, how's it feel that he'll never, ever, 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 ever be president again? And they would lose their, like, as I was talking to people who are like pro rent control and shit like that, and they were fuming
I like
when you
Bernie.
said that.
I just want to say, I voted for Bernie in 2016. I voted for him in 2020 in the primary.
I think Bernie's a good dude.
Who did you vote for in the primary?
Where?
Ron Paul.
In the 2020 primary. What do you
I don't know
mean
if I
where?
voted in the primary.
You didn't vote?
For the primary? I don't think I did. I don't think I cared much.
As long as he voted in the general, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I was gonna support whoever. won.
That goes for the rest of you too.
Actually, if I did, if it would have been for Pete, I think Buttigieg.
Pete Buttigieg,
Probably.
who just had
2020.
an excellent performance after yours
On the Jubilee.
On the Jubilee.
That's crazy that they got him.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that was so risky for a
Yeah.
politician to do.
Does anyone know? By the way, I'm just kind of curious. This is off the DGG subject, but what happens to Biden if
what?
Kamala wins? Is like
He dies.
no, I mean, does he like get like does he become like transportation secretary or something, or is he just
No.
retiring?
He's done.
He's it. He's done.
He retires finally.
He's there until January 20th at 12 p.m.
With Jimmy Carter.
He goes to paint with George Bush.
Not even like a honorary VP or something.
There's a nice farm.
I suggested that to Pisco, and he was like, "You're insane." I was like, "Kamala should go in as president, and Joe Biden should be VP."
So crazy.
I don't think he legally can do it.
Why not?
Because you have to be like the ability to become
Didn't-
president again. I think.
Didn't he not even want to run in 2020 because he was just like,
Oh,
I'm
that's true.
tired,
That's
man.
true.
So he's gonna retire. He's gonna retire and go where all old presidents go.
Yeah.
On the funny
Will he?
farm.
Oh, and this is gonna fire you up. I don't know what you'll say. I
Oh
don't know what
God, he's
Steve
about
will
to say the most retarded shit in the world again. Oh my God, I know what he's gonna
Yeah,
say.
say it.
I know what he's on.
What?
He's about to do some. Do you think Biden should pardon Trump?
No.
Oh my God, he's on that train.
Hunter.
He'll be there.
Hunter.
Hey, can we just real quick? Can we agree?
Because this is
Oh my God.
yes.
You're a
We win.
spiller. How many times is that in the last
He'll
3
be there.
days?
He'll be there before the election, or not before the inauguration. He'll be there. She should pardon
I
Trump.
got excited.
Can we agree, just real quick? Just let's put this to bed. You do agree?
I spell yes. Sometimes.
No. Man, the jokes write themselves. You agree that nobody should pardon Donald Trump?
I agree. No one should pardon Donald Trump.
Okay, thank God.
But there were two questions. The
Yeah,
first
go ahead.
question was, this is an easy question. Anyone should. This should
It's not
answer
going to be easy. Josiah, we got each other.
All right.
You trade 100% certainty based on what you know now. Tomorrow, Kamala wins at 11 o'clock at night. But in exchange, monkey paw, Trump pardon.
No.
You don't trade?
Nope.
I trade.
I don't.
I think
I
you
make
got
that-
it. You
I make
need
that
to
deal.
make
I
the
don't.
trade. Isn't the whole point
You
of the
take a
monkey
40% chance, or whatever you think the percentage chances of Trump.
So number one, I'm not convinced he wouldn't run again in 2028. Number one. Number two, I think we fucked up 50 years ago when President Ford pardoned
Get him on the states.
President Nixon.
No, for everything.
You can't.
You all
No,
but
it's a makeup deal. And, you know, it's every
damn,
state.
Dan almost had me there. I was like, wait a minute, I changed my
No,
answer. Yeah.
it's everything.
Yeah.
It's you
What about
let
if
him
he
go.
breaks another law, which he will.
No,
He's
if he
stupid.
breaks another one, you can get him.
Oh, then sure, because
Then the answer is obviously yes, because he'll break another law within like 15 minutes.
Same answer. But never any justice for January 6th or the classified
No,
documents.
I can't. I think that
Even
we have
for
said
40% chance you get.
The definition of conservatism is no accountability and no responsibility. Why the fuck would you give that
So
to
you're
him
not
again?
gonna, you're not going to take that deal.
No,
No.
fuck it. We'll fight.
How do you
I got lots
course
of
correct
guns
the
upstairs.
Republicans if they don't have like some level of
I'm not co-signing that part.
You've
But
won.
yeah.
You've won, haven't you?
Defensively.
Yeah, but the issue is like
It
in the
sounds
next
then-
4 years, the issue is not only do you have Trump right now, but you also have a fallen, broken Republican Party. Like the Republican Party itself has to get course corrected.
It's not going to.
So but
it's
then
gonna
it sounds
get
like
course-corrected
is he
worse.
that much of a danger if you're willing to?
Way
if
worse.
you,
It's not
40%
At
chance.
some point, it's not about Trump. It's also about the standard it sets. That would have been the second corrupt Republican president who has walked away scot-free for committing crimes because Republicans, not Democrats, who are morally superior, have a uniquely criminal issue.
But that's
Wait,
only
you
because
mean
Kamala
Nixon?
has some chance of winning, and you think he's going to win.
Nixon was a Republican president, pardoned, and got to walk away. Yeah.
If
Do
Kamala
you
were
think he was maybe a
10%,
good guy, even though he did that? He seems like
Nixon seems
Yeah.
kind of like
Vietnam
sometimes
was
a
a
nice
mistake.
guy.
They
What a
called
game,
it.
but
I mean,
fuck you.
he created the EPA.
True.
Yeah.
But this is only because you think that Kamala's going to win tomorrow. You really do think that. And I can tell in your eyes you do. But if it were a 10% chance
No,
of
this is
Kamala
just
winning,
fatigue,
No,
buddy.
but
This isn't certainty.
If
This
he
is
already feels that Kamala is going to win, why would you risk a monkey poll? Which by definition means you get your wish, but it's fucked
did you
up.
even know what the monkey poll
No,
was?
you told me, but now you've told me. You get
She
your wish,
wasn't
but it's
listening,
fucked
Pisco.
up. So why
Oh
would you-
my God.
Yeah.
What?
I never knew what the monkey paw was, but that's what it means. That's why the forethought would always post the monkey paw meme in Reddit when something good but bad would
You
happen.
didn't know what the monkey paw was?
Now I know what the monkey paw is.
I have no idea what the monkey paw was.
It's like you wish for something and
And
like.
it comes
Isn't it
true,
Gothic
but in the
horror?
weirdest,
Like a
most
reference
fucked up
to
way
Gothic
possible.
horror?
I know it
it's not,
because
it's not
the
Poe,
Simpsons
but
had the treehouse. All right, this is the
Yeah.
second question. If Biden pardons Hunter, you're going to call it corrupt, aren't you?
That's a hard one.
that is a
Don't
hard
give it to him
one.
immediately.
So,
Think
yeah.
about it.
Yeah. So I was very proud of President Biden when he said he would not do that.
An inhuman level of.
Yes, yes. And if he chooses to pardon, what would he be pardoning for? The conviction?
Every federal related offense, including tax offenses.
He should pardon him. He gave up the nomination. He gets one.
He gets a freebie. Let me put you like this. Let me put you like this. I think.
He gets to be a good dad. He's got one kid left. Let him pardon his son.
He's got two. He's got
one
two.
son left.
Yeah, he's got one son.
Girls don't matter.
Yeah. Daughters don't count. Listen, I would say that by definition it is corrupt. I just wouldn't lose sleep over it. You would demand that I like pick it outside the White House.
Pissed.
Really?
Yes.
You would be pissed
if Joe Biden pardons his son.
You're more supportive of packing the court than you are of Joe Biden pardoning Hunter?
Yes.
What did Hunter even do?
Okay.
He
come
He
on.
took
Pisco,
photos?
he,
I know.
Oh, you didn't read the blurg report? Wow. Pretty bad for you, retard. Oh, sorry, the word bridges. Idiot.
He was convicted for tax-related offenses. The tax fraud.
Then every politician should be in jail.
No, I just want to stop him from thinking I don't know what these cases are. I know way more than you do about all these cases.
What was the amount again? Like $150,000 or something?
For his Burisma-related income streams in like 2016.
Then
2017.
Nancy Pelosi.
Whoa.
you're talking about
Burisma-related income streams. Wasn't it just on tax stuff?
I'm telling you the truth. He got income from Burisma. That's what he did not report.
Wait. When you're saying didn't report, do you mean like didn't report the income to
like
the IRS?
committed tax fraud. Yes. That's
Okay,
what I'm
when you
about.
say didn't report there, you make it sound like a FARA violation. Was he charged with
I'm not making it sound like a FARA violation.
Yes? You said he didn't
all.
report his income from a foreign entity. That's a fucking crime to the State Department. It's a FARA violation.
I started by saying tax.
I know, but you're saying didn't report it. I was just clarifying. So now we all know.
Why does that
And
politician
also for
keep
the gun
holding
stuff.
up his dick?
no, I just wanted to argue with you because he has since paid the taxes, he paid the fines, he apologized. I mean, he's the perfect candidate for a pardon.
I'm curious here. Don't they, federal judges, when they come to sentencing and they do the sentencing, don't they look at like all this thing, like how likely to reoffend, how serious was the crime, all that shit?
Yeah.
Isn't his shit going to be like a 1 on all of those scales, and he's
Yeah.
probably going to get like community
Well,
service?
he is facing up to like 20 years in prison.
I know that. No, but the judges have to. I mean, they don't have to, but there's the guidelines, and the guidelines for him are going to be like 1 year or less.
Well, here's the question: what would he? What is the point of a pardon?
It's because we have this thought process that there ought to be a release valve in certain extenuating circumstances, issues of guilt or innocence.
Extenuating circumstances like being investigated for 20,000 years by an entire Republican Congress?
So was Trump.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on. What did Bannon get pardoned?
People rise up in the
what were they? Was it Blackwater contractors in Iraq that had murdered civilians? They got pardoned, right? By Trump?
I can't remember.
They did.
They did?
Did Roger Stone, the guy who said he wouldn't rat on Trump,
he got
when he
pardoned,
was literally?
we're not
Bannon
Trump.
did get pardoned.
You're
Wait, did
trying
you
to-
say no
you're
to
trying
that?
to hold us to
I don't know if Bannon was, but I know.
I do know he
Stone
did.
and Navarro
He was.
were.
Bannon was pardoned.
Wasn't
Also,
Navarro and
yeah,
Stone? Yeah.
Was Flynn pardoned?
Yeah.
These are guys.
playing this
Hold on.
little
Wait.
thing.
No. I'm just having a conversation with my friend Jessiah. Were these guys repentant for what they did?
Not at all.
You
Not
don't really
even
think so? Do you think they'd be likely to reoffend? Do you really think that Roger Stone or Steve Bannon or any of these guys or Michael Flynn? Have you ever read their Twitters? Do you think they would really reoffend?
Steve Bannon has already gone on the record saying that Trump should declare victory no matter
you
what
guys
happens.
Oh my God.
You guys know this?
He'll do that.
It's a really famous movie.
Shut up.
I don't know if you heard of it. It's called Return of the Jedi. And in this movie,
it's almost as good as The Rise of Skywalker.
So you have someone, we'll call this guy Darth Bannon. He's sitting there, lying down there, hand is mechanical. And then Luke looks at his hand and is like, you don't turn into the thing you're trying to destroy.
Wait, what did his hand do?
You don't turn into the thing you're trying to destroy.
Okay, so
and you want to turn us into Blue Maga.
Listen, so a couple of things. So first off, Return of the Jedi is a movie. Number two, the reason that Luke had to spare Vader was because if he struck Vader down in anger, he would himself be corrupted by metaphysical energy.
Yes, and you want to take.
You know what? Actually,
the Force
I'm
isn't
so
real.
sorry.
Yeah.
I stood here earlier and I screamed that I just wanted to see one thing: a Republican do something.
Yeah.
What happened? Luke got mad. He tried to kill Vader. How was Luke finally able to defeat the Sith guy at the end?
Emperor.
The Emperor. What happened?
Because
Steve Bannon killed- I didn't really
Vader,
think
Because
Vader stood up.
Vader stood up
Yeah.
and fucking did something
Yeah.
for once in his fucking life.
Right.
Where's the Republican lawmaker? Where are
Right.
these guys? Where are our Vaders that are going to stand up and do the right fucking thing?
Yeah.
Liz
Because
Cheney.
if Vader doesn't stand up, what happens? Does
Exactly.
Luke beat the Emperor one-on-one?
No,
he
doesn't.
dies.
As a matter of fact, Pisco no doubt would be like much like Luke. The Democrats should throw away their lightsaber
Never.
and just say,
I'll never
"Go ahead
turn
and
to the
zap
dark
me
side.
to death."
You failed. No, listen. I think
moral thing to do.
there is one.
The moral thing to do is just to let the
There
Republicans
is one
do whatever
Republican.
they want. That's the
there is-
lesson of Return of the
There's
Jedi.
one Republican that I'm calling on tonight to go down in the history books
And step down, and that man is Dan Clancy.
No, this is serious. He's out there. I know he's listening. George W. Bush. The time is now. Do the right thing. Endorse Kamala Harris.
Wait, why would that matter? Hold on, wait. Trump people fucking hate Bush.
Dave Portnoy.
Don't give it
Please
to me.
endorse Kamala.
That's the slow
What,
slide.
the artist George W. Bush is going to change some minds? He's
Listen,
too busy
It's
painting.
important. It's important.
George W. Bob Ross has other things that he's doing. Okay? Just
You, you don't think George Bush sways anybody?
I think
George Bush might
not-
get voters
not-
for Trump.
Not people.
Don't we have an example of this with Cheney? Like, imagine you got Republicans. Oh, no new wars under Trump, and Kamala's like, hey, Dick Cheney is
but Kamala's
endorsing me.
running
Just
with
so you guys
Cheney.
know, Dick Cheney is endorsing me.
I think George
What the
W.
fuck?
Bush's silence says enough.
You know what you could do at this point? You need to get the most evil motherfuckers that there are. Like, if Epstein is still alive, you need to get him loudly endorsing
anyone
fucking
think
Trump.
that?
It literally doesn't matter. People like Andrew
Nobody
Tate
would
are
care.
like
Nobody
pro-Trump.
would
Yeah,
care.
they don't care.
That doesn't matter at all.
We need to go to jails and find actual pedophiles and serial killers. Be like, who would you
There
like to
are
win?
people that are like Epstein was like decently close with Trump. Like there's
Yes,
like
and
tons,
actually-
tons of shit. Those leaked.
We just
all
learned-
of that
Also, to be
shit
clear,
goes
if you
out.
know anything about either case, Tate is worse than Epstein.
Yes.
Tate has done some like insanely crazy fucking shit. Like he literally has
at least
like ran like a
He's
whole
at least
fucking
comparable. He's at least
allegedly. Sorry,
comparable.
allegedly. My bad.
Not
There hasn't been a
guilty
special
yet.
prosecutor appointed yet for him, but
I actually don't
Should
know
be
if there's a
Republican who does it,
Republican
by the
that
way.
stands up.
absolutely should be.
Bush is too
We should
old.
bring back George Santos.
I agree.
Bush is old. He's painting. He's
I almost-
dried up.
I almost think the Republicans who know better, people like Nikki Haley, Chris Sununu, Bill Barr, and who nonetheless support the former president Donald Trump, I think they're almost worse.
Well,
I think they're almost worse.
They're scared for
Worse
their
than who?
lives.
Worse than who?
Yeah.
You think that's honorable?
Well, I understand why they're doing it. They're scared of what
Weak
the monster
men
they created.
bring about bad
You don't think that
times.
they're trying to pick up the mantle and be an alternative? And be, you don't think Chris Sununu is thinking about being president?
So Romney has gone on the record, like he has explicitly stated that that's why he's not endorsing Vice President Harris, is because he says that somebody has to be here in the aftermath, like once the Republican Party is done with Trump. And I guess Romney
He's too
thinks he's
old.
going to be that guy.
He's
Yeah,
not
they're both
going
about
to.
the same age.
I always thought it sad because I thought he looked very presidential. He looked like he should be a president, but
Well,
he's done.
Mitt Romney said he pays $5,000 a day for security, and so he understands why people can't come out against Trump.
Yeah,
not
Liz
everybody
Cheney
can do that.
Also has to have a personal security detail too.
It'll be Vance v. Vivek once Trump is out.
Fuck.
In a
That's
way,
what it will be.
in a way, like, and I guess it's kind of true. Apostates always have it the worst. People who have turned away from, revealed truth or revealed wisdom. The act of Mike Pence, therefore, to say no in the face of everything on January 6th is even more praiseworthy because he destroyed himself, destroyed his political life to save the country. Wouldn't you give him a presidential medal of freedom, Jessiah?
for not cooing the government.
Yeah, wouldn't you give it with
no.
distinction?
Fuck you. No. Like, listen, I give Mike Pence credit for doing the bare minimum and not cooing the government. I give Liz Cheney credit for essentially tanking her political career. But I also don't lionize them. Like, here's my beef with Liz Cheney and Mike Pence. Donald Trump, to use a Star Wars metaphor, is not Emperor Palpatine. He was not anything he wasn't pretending to be yes, precisely. That is
you
a
were
much
gonna say
better.
that?
No, but she's right. He was never pretending to be something he wasn't. He was just always this malignantly narcissistic, ideologically inconsistent populist who was a doofus. And so they went along with it 4 years, and they, abandoned their principles to raise this man up. The fact that at the last minute they stopped, I give them credit there, but they're not. I don't think they're heroes per se. I think they're on the road to redemption. But no, I wouldn't give Mike Pence a Medal of Congressional Medal of Freedom. Wait, which one's the one that Trump said is actually inferior He said that one, like, he...
Don't make me
yeah.
defend Trump.
What?
What?
medal
His
does
statement
Ellen
there was
DeGeneres
fine.
have?
I know what he was trying to say. He said it like a retard, but you know what he was trying to say.
Don't defend... You can't defend it, because the fact that he said it so stupidly, I still think merits criticism.
For those who are listening, so Trump said some shit like this medal is better than the other one, and then people are like, no, the other medal is so great. But what Trump was saying was that like at least you don't have to die together. So he was trying to say a nice thing, but he's just he's an old man who's fucking retarded.
So you're gonna give
and
the
that's why-
benefit of the doubt on that? Do you give the benefit of the doubt on the?
Is he asking me if I'm giving a Republican the benefit of the doubt? He's doing that.
He seems happy about it.
There's a problem with the camera behind Dan.
What's wrong with it?
I think Dan's head is cutting off Pisco. I think it's just Dan's lean.
Oh.
Don't worry. Pisco can lean right like he has been in this conversation.
Oh my God. I think I'm standing for the American way. If I'm being honest with you.
I feel like there is an interesting question though, because in the war, I could be totally wrong. So somebody's gonna jump down my throat in chat. But when French and British were fighting each other, the French were like a lot more like fixated on like certain autistic principles and a lot less pragmatic.
On what principles?
So like specifically, they would always allow the nobles of the British to be ransomed, and therefore they like basically the British could just drain the French armory. Whereas my understanding, and again I could be wrong, is that basically the British didn't do the same. They weren't willing to pay ransoms. They kept all their money for military.
Which war between the British and the French?
I don't know. Probably all of them. The 100s of them. But my understanding is that, like, to some degree, there's like, and maybe it's just a meme, but this like, there's at least this archetype of somebody who's so autistically principled about something. I mean, there's tons of literature stories about this too, where they stick to their principles in a way that it costs the good of everyone, right? And that's like.
She's calling you unprincipled.
No. I'm saying, well, sort of. I am saying that there's a time and place where essentially, like, you have to look at something like the evil Trollocs coming to like kill you and be like, no, like, I'm sorry, there isn't like a certain line that we maintain here necessarily, and the like most important thing about the principle has to be the target has to be correct.
It sounds like, well.
It's the basis of all moral theory, isn't it?
Yeah.
Deontology versus utilitarian ethics, to some degree, yeah. Which ultimately is just virtue ethics is the only way.
Well, listen, I'm not going to name any specific crusades that are happening now, but I see some parallels that sometimes the tactics we use are just as important like as the targets. And I think that there's a line that I won't cross against Trump.
Are you talking to Dan?
Like what?
I am not talking about
Like enforcing the law in a timely manner.
Like Democrat special counsels. Like what is the line that you won't cross that you think that we
I won't
will?
break the Constitution to defend it.
Holy fuck.
Wait, what was Merrick Garland?
Oh, fuck. What does that even mean?
Do you think that they would break the Constitution to defend it?
And how?
They're getting close.
What if we even suggested that's even remotely close to breaking the Constitution?
Did you know that Democrat special counsels break the Constitution? Did you know that
only the
time-based
Democrats one, though. That's what Thomas said,
saying.
right?
Yeah, no,
Is that
100%,
his favorite judge, or is it Roberts? I forget what he
goes
was saying.
back and forth.
True. Okay.
Yeah.
It's infectious. Yeah.
But I guess like it is truly like that moral quandary of like when does like the monster that you're fighting, like when do you become the monster itself? And
It's
then,
not a
like,
quandary at all. It's very simple. You have to enforce mutually reciprocal moral standards. If they're not being respected, then you have no respect for them. That's so easy. That's the easiest thing in the
You're
world.
going to go after your political enemies when you're the president of the United States, Stephen?
If somebody is not playing by the
Yes
same
or
set of
no,
rules,
Stephen?
you're using a loaded, broad question. Political enemies? What do you mean? A political enemy can be Romney is my political enemy.
Super Chat's asking a good question, Seth Morton, which is essentially like, how do you determine, like, I feel like a lot of, especially our space and our DGG verse, criticized leftists for having bad tactics with the wrong targets. They were psycho canceling people over crazy shit, and we criticized them for this. And I would argue, rightly so.
No, we criticized them because they chose stupid targets.
That's what I'm saying. So how do you? The issue is, in my mind, is it has to be the right target, but that's like such a deeply subjective line.
No.
And it feels like the leftists would say we did pick the right target. You're wrong.
Those people are retarded. You can pick. The issue is that line can become blurred, but we're so fucking far beyond whatever a blurred line would be. So I don't actually even care to discuss what would the hyper specific nuanced thing be when we're so fucking over the line right now. Like, we're so over the line. 80% of Republicans still don't believe in the results of the last election, and the president himself isn't co-signing it. So wherever we're at is way beyond whatever line they're
I feel like I've radicalized you.
How? No, Trump has radicalized me.
Yeah, but when you're talking about that you have to fight them on their moral grounds. But then when we're talking about the going after Trump, you're just saying enforce the law. So that sounds like you're not breaking any kind of like.
Yeah,
moral...
there's
well,
nothing.
that's really radical though for Pisco. He's not a big fan of enforcing the law when it comes to Republicans.
No, but what did you mean when you said that though? What did you mean when you said that we have to like meet them at their moral standard? What were you referring to there? Because that's not just enforcing the law.
Because
It
that
sounded just
includes
like
breaking
me.
the Constitution.
It sounded like me taking the bait from Pisco. Actually, I'm not actually sure why I even said that. Well, have we haven't. No way. I said it, Josiah. We haven't talked about even doing that at all.
No, not at all.
In my opinion, the most nuclear thing. There's a semi-nuclear thing. We'll call it small tactical nuclear bombs, and then there's a mega nuclear thing. The small tactical nuclear thing would be probably. Not to offend you guys, I don't want to put you guys on the same team, but it'd be eliminating the filibuster.
Oh yeah, we're in favor of that.
I know you guys are. Okay, chill. And then the mega nuclear thing. Oh fuck, now you're really lying. Would be packing the court.
Yeah, we're agreed.
Yeah. So I'll just listen. Here's what I'll say about this. So the filibuster, and we talked about this on Live and Learn. The filibuster is a tool, and hammers are great when they are used against nails, but when they're used to crack a baby in the skull, they suck.
Whoa!
Right?
What
So-
the baby did to you?
So the Democrats use the
Oh, what? You guys are anti-abortion now? How do they abort them? Oh my God. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So the filibuster was used by Democrats and has been used by Democrats, I think, awesomely to prevent Trump from doing terrible things. It's a good tool. The problem is that, and both sides are
It's
guilty.
good when it's used against people you don't like.
I'm still willing
Same
to
thing with
abolish
your
it. Would you
prosecution
listen to
stuff,
me?
yeah.
I'm still willing to abolish it because, as a general proposition, I believe in majority rule. And the filibuster, there's nothing constitutional about it.
Agreed.
The filibuster has been weaponized by Republicans in a way that I think even Democrats simply do not. We saw under McConnell, particularly for the Obama administrations, unprecedented. Half of all filibuster usages occurred under the 2 terms in Obama compared to the 200
Agreed.
years of American history.
Absurd.
And packing the court, we've done it multiple times. The Founding Fathers, that's the other thing. The Founding Fathers changed the composition of the courts for even political reasons. President Adams shrank the size of the court to prevent Thomas Jefferson from filling vacancies, and then Jefferson was able to change it. So at the end of the day, these institutions are predicated on good faith. And if the good faith is not reciprocated, you by definition, you have bad faith.
True.
So, yeah.
But now
Great
you sound
line
like
there.
Stephen from 2023
Great line there.
when he was arguing against us and being like, "You guys want a fascist government when you get rid of the filibuster."
Who
How do
said
I sound
that?
like-
What,
wait,
who
what?
said that? When did I ever say that?
You said that you guys are in favor of like.
Okay.
We have another
I'm
guest.
just saying that's Stephen for 2023. You guys check the tape.
Just because I want to make sure we loop in everyone
sure,
in the
sure.
conversation, obviously, as well. I felt like
Oh,
IRI was
me?
about
Oh, I
jump
want to
in.
say, but okay, if you pack the court, you're going to lose the other half of the country. And if they don't have
Oh
faith.
no, not the other half that's
I'm
voting
just
for
saying-
Donald Trump again.
Well, no, right now, our half doesn't have faith in the Supreme Court, so it's not working. And
It's
then
not
what
just
happens when the other half doesn't have faith in it? We
Respectfully,
have to
it's
have
not
them
just-
on board as well.
There was
or it doesn't
IRI,
work.
do they not? I don't think they already have any faith in the Department of Justice. I don't think any ruling that went against
Well,
what they wanted.
Yeah, I was going to say, hold on, don't confuse. It's good that you said that, okay? Don't confuse Republicans having faith in the court right now just because they're getting favorable rulings. Because the second the court gives an unfavorable ruling, how many Republicans are like, I think Texas is it Pennsylvania? I think that was decided fairly. No, of course not. They're like, oh, standing, fuck that, that's bullshit. No, they don't have faith in the court right now.
Okay,
They
so
just like they're getting some favorable rulings.
How do we get Americans that all have faith in the court?
That's a good question.
I mean, I feel like there's a core question of like, how do you get Republicans to care about principles again? Because it feels like that's what's been lost on Republicans in a hard way. Is they fundamentally they don't care about their principles. They used to be about law and order. They have an actual rapist that is leading their party.
Well,
they don't.
civilly liable rapist.
They don't care about family dynamics or nuclear family or respecting the family. They have a guy who slept with porn stars, has multiple wives and multiple children from multiple wives, who also ran Miss America pageant, which is not very Christian, by the way. So it's like, which principles do they occupy anymore? And I don't know if there is anything. And so I guess like when I look at this, I don't know how you negotiate terms with individuals who. There's no principles that are guiding them. Their principles are I hate trans people and the woke mind virus.
How about we just start with abolishing the filibuster and packing? How about we just leave the camps out of it?
No,
Man,
let's
go from like 0 to 60.
More practical solution: term limits. Let's enact something like term limits,
Yes.
and that can bring the temperature down, and then we can approach it differently.
The court expansion is not the Supreme Court reform that I'm most interested in. I'm open to it, but I think the Supreme Court of the United States needs to be brought to heel. We are supposedly.
I think there's a huge problem in that the Democrats have used the Supreme Court to bypass the Congress for for decades, which has now over-politicized the court, which is why people now don't have trust in it, because all this outsider stuff that you're talking about, where Trump doesn't represent anything Republicans represent, he does represent an outsider who is against this elite that work the system, put it in all the smart lawyers, they argue the cases, it's not about the people and their representatives, they just sneak it in through the courts. So now people have lost trust in the court because it's being used by smart elites to bypass Congress.
Did you say Democrats or Republicans?
Democrats put everything through the court instead of working to get the grassroots support and push it through Congress.
What do you think about that?
Roe.
Do I think that there was?
Well,
do I think that there was?
Roe
Do
was
I think that there was
7-2.
judicial activism in the
Roe,
Supreme
Casey.
Court that benefited the Democrats? Absolutely.
Brown v. Board.
Sure.
Roe. what?
But Roe was 7-2.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm just saying, my whole point is that you guys are going to break it in the other direction, and it's not going to fix it. It's going to feel better.
What is-
Okay, you're going
what
to
is-
restore faith for your side, our side, but that's
what's
going to lose the other
alternative?
side.
They think. Wait a minute. They think term limits is breaking the court. They think
No,
that. They
I
think
don't think
ethics-
so. Most
Wait a
people
minute.
in America support term limits.
Most people also support court expansion. Marquette just did a law school poll. It was like 90% support robust Supreme Court reforms, term limits, Supreme Court ethics, and I think even still a majority support court expansion. But again, I'll grant you that. Let's keep court expansion down the road. There are people who still argue that doing anything to modify or change the court is breaking it, is imposing your will on a coordinate branch of government.
They're a minority, though.
So where do we disagree? I'm just saying.
What I'm saying, you're going to break it in the other direction. So let's
I'm saying
fix the actual
there are
problem.
principles that have to be maintained, and you guys are talking in a way that, like, the issue is that, and I hear what they're saying to some degree, which is like when I hear this type of talk, there's part of me that really agrees, because like when bad things are occurring, you can't go at it with just like a soft stick and principles necessarily. But at the same time, we're like using the exact same line of logic that gets used by evil people to justify increasingly stretching who is a valid target, right? And it's like it truly is. It truly is kind of like the Me Too movement started in a really awesome way. It started with targeting Harvey Weinstein, who couldn't be, there was no way to tear him down. There was no out for the women that he had targeted. And Me Too movement was the means by doing that. But it's evolved now to this degree where unironically, young girls think that going to social media about sexual assault is a safer and better option than like going through like more legitimate forms of court, which is a terrible outcome of the Me Too. And you have all these individuals that are targeted by it that are probably not the right target. And I feel like any type of like justice aimed movement, which it feels like the culture is burning for justice on both sides, there has to be clearly outlined lines of like where we don't go past from the beginning, or it becomes its own monster.
Yeah, so I take your point that it's a slippery slope and it's dangerous, but again, all the things that have been proposed are, number one, constitutional, and number two, like with the court expansion, which is again the one reform I support, but I support the least. It's been done before, but again, they would say doing anything to the court is breaking it, and this is where I won't speak for Stephen, but I assume he agrees with me, which is that you have to have reciprocal good faith. By definition, if we're having a conversation and you act in good faith and I act in bad faith, by definition, we had a bad faith conversation because it must be reciprocated. And right now, the institutions in this country have been abused by Republicans. And the alternative is to do what? Just let them continue to abuse it?
Yeah, but and I agree with you on expansion, but you're advocating a little bit more than just expansion. You want to overturn Marbury versus Madison. You kind of want to make Congress do these sneaky things like stripping jurisdiction and.
So is that
true?
No. So what he's talking.
so he just lied.
So wait a minute.
No,
wait a
I'm
minute.
not lying.
Wait a minute. Marbury versus, if by Marbury versus Madison you mean judicial supremacy, which I think is bad faith
Judicial review. That's Marbury versus Madison.
So judicial supremacy is what I oppose. This idea that the Supreme Court.
Do you want to overturn Marbury versus Madison?
No, I think that the Supreme Court should be able to engage in judicial review. My question is, what are the other checks? Do you think that the other two branches should be able to check the Supreme Court,
of course,
including the president, Pisco, or is the Supreme Court the president's boss?
No, I don't agree that the Supreme Court should be able, like, above reproach. They absolutely have checks.
So what can the president do against the Supreme Court, and what should they be able to do?
The president has the authority to with Congress, and act.
Fuck that. That's not a check. That's the two branches.
You want
getting up on the one.
non-acquiescence. You want the president to, at times that you deem okay, to ignore the courts.
I want a system of checks and balances against which the court is also susceptible. I'm asking you what the alternative is.
Do you agree that you sometimes want the president to disobey the Supreme Court?
Of course.
Well, here's wait. Here's a question. Legitimate.
Wait a minute. I'm going to ask you what the alternative is, and you're going to say, well, the president and Congress. So I'm going to ask you, minus Congress, what can the president do, and what should the president be able to do? And you're not going to have an answer. In which case, you agree that the Supreme Court should be supreme over the president. You think it should be Congress, Supreme Court, then the president. Actually, you believe the Supreme Court, Congress, and then the president.
I think that the president can implement new rules. As Biden
What rules? What rules?
Biden has tried to, for example, the student loan stuff. He's found other statutory bases. It takes a while for the court to be able to review all these.
Is he really bringing up something that the Supreme Court
The
unilaterally
executive,
shot
by
down
nature of
without
the
Biden being
executive
able to
power,
do it?
can act faster. And the president has the bully pulpit. He has the command. And
the bully pulpit. So when the Supreme Court justices run for re-election, they're going to get completely fucked.
No,
right?
but the president's job is also to work with Congress. You're trying to remove and take out of its context and say, suppose Congress is also in on it. Well, if Congress is in on it, it sounds like I don't want the president to go against the will of the people in the legislative branch, which is supposed to be the strongest, and the judicial department, which is supposed to be the most neutral. And you want the president to be the king. And that's why I say you're like blue MAGA sometimes.
He's neutral MAGA, by the way. We need to use that term more. Neutral MAGA.
Who's the president right now?
Joseph Robinette Biden.
Why, if I
Jr.
want the president to be king, why, Pisco, would I oppose just as aggressively as you do the Trump v. United States decision?
Because
fuck you.
Because you believe in the character of Joe Biden and you don't think he's going to abuse it.
True, because if he would abuse it, that would be fucking awesome.
But part of it was, but I heard Dan one time, it was actually hilarious. It was a nice exchange. Dan was like, do you think that he should use this special power? And Dan was like, yeah, we should get him to do some crazy shit. And I thought I heard you like partially agreeing with that. Or was I mishearing what you were saying?
You want a constitutional amendment? A constitutional amendment to get rid of the immunity ruling would be Biden ordering Navy SEALs to just shoot through the window of like every Republican constitution. Just like if you guys were really passionate about getting rid of the Electoral College, all you need is one popular vote win from a Republican president with an EC loss, and it would be gone the next day.
Precisely. So
just so you know, you open this can of worms, okay? We were on the DGG verse, and now we've been talking about Biden and Trump this whole time.
Yeah.
How much longer is this going for?
We can change it up.
We got a lot of stuff to do still.
Yeah,
a lot of testing and whatnot. So I'm just trying to, get a.
We should be done before midnight.
Yeah.
Jessiah, who is the person? Who's the person that's supposed to? Because I'm not siding with Pisco. He's crazy, okay? But I'm talking to you man to man, okay?
Yeah.
Brother to brother, okay?
Right.
Binary star systems, okay?
Sure.
Why? Who decides what's constitutional without judicial review?
So there's this idea that's proposed by Michael Stokes-Paulson, who co-authored that.
I'm aware of who Paulson is, yeah,
So
because I read that whole paper, unlike another person at this table. Go
So
ahead.
he believes that the three coordinate branches each have their own power and right to interpret the Constitution. So what he says is that the Supreme Court of the United States has the power of judicial review, but what they don't have the power to do is to compel obedience from the president, because by definition that would make the president subordinate to the Supreme
but I guess,
Court.
well, wait, here's a question. When a preacher tells me, I go to a preacher and I say, can I go murder someone because I really hate them, and then ask for forgiveness immediately, and then is that okay? And when the preacher says, no, that would be breaking the rules of like, obviously in the Bible, is the preacher like putting himself above that by giving you that interpretation? Or
well, no, because you're free to ignore it. I mean, you'd be breaking the law to do so. But
I guess my issue is that like if the constitutional interpretation was up to every branch individually without a final say over it, then basically
That's
the president
what Trump was saying in January 6th.
The president or Congress could literally say anything, and now there's no check on any of it. So I feel like the Constitution becomes irrelevant at that point.
Stokes-Paulson would argue no, because again, constitutional interpretation under his paradigm would also belong to Congress and the president as well.
Yeah, for them to interpret as they see fit, right?
Right, but the Supreme Court was also intended to be the weakest of the branches, the least influential, the least powerful.
And it probably is.
And it is.
It
depends on how you define power, right? So if I can tell you what to do, if I can give you an order, because remember, the Supreme Court will issue, when we refer to the relationship between the president and the Supreme Court, what we ask is, will the president obey the Supreme Court? Obey. It is a subordinate relationship. This is why when you refer to non-acquiescence, so President Lincoln...
When you say obey, that's harsh. I feel like it's more, will he accept the interpretation from? Because really, what he's really technically obeying is the Constitution. But you're saying we're trusting the Supreme Court to give guidance on what the Constitution says, right?
I don't disagree with you that that's how the paradigm is interpreted now. I'm just saying that by definition, so there's a British clergyman whose name escapes me, but he's like, he who is the final interpreter of the law is truly the lawgiver, not the person who wrote it, right? They have the final say. And by definition, that makes that person supreme. And so what I'm saying is, this is the paradigm that's been accepted. So a lot of people find it eminently rational. But that's judicial supremacy, where the Supreme Court of the United States can issue orders through court rulings to the president and to Congress, and they're obligated to obey. My question is, what is the check in the opposite direction? So this is my concern. The Supreme Court of the United States are 9 unelected philosopher kings. There are no checks. There are no checks against them under the current paradigm.
I take issue kind of with unelected, but okay.
No, it's true, right? So like
appointed by the president.
Are they subject? But they're not subject to term limits. They're not subject to ethics requirements.
Hey, if you guys are enjoying this, make sure you subscribe. Also, Seth Morton had a question for you guys. Without a political project, is this just numbering angles on a head? Does that make any sense?
Is that a sentence?
I have no idea.
Project.
Is this just numbering?
Without a concrete political project, is this merely numbering angels on the head of a pin?
It's the phrase, yeah.
I tried to write it really fast.
And what language?
I don't know. You don't understand that? I don't. How many angels dance on the head of a pin?
You haven't read it, so Pisco can explain it to you.
It's in the her. It's in the her.
Oh, is it in the her report?
It is. It's in the her.
My bad.
Yeah.
Listen, I think it's kind of self-flagellation a little bit. Like what?
Yeah. No, I understand.
This is all fine, whatever. What's the point?
Yeah.
Why does this conversation matter?
I don't even know how we got here. The bottom line is that I want reforms to the United States Supreme Court. I want to rein them in. Yeah.
In Australia, all of our please Australian lawyers, I don't know 100%, so don't. But I believe our High Court justices are elected by lawyers, by a council of law.
Same thing in Canada, I believe, or at least in Great
Look how
Britain.
they're doing.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be better if it wasn't a political decision and if it wasn't
Here's the thing.
industry professionals?
I don't mind the president making the nomination and the Senate confirming it. My issue is once they're in, there are no practical checks against Supreme Court justices the way they are against any other. Again, Sheldon Whitehouse, when I interviewed him, also pointed out, he's like, there are fact-finding operations against the President of the United States. The President was intended to be the most powerful individual in our government by far.
Oh,
that
you want an
fact-finding.
FDR, you want a king president.
Well, I mean, technically, to be fair, the Supreme Court is not a court of first review. They do not do fact-finding.
No. What I'm saying, they're not subject to it. So for what I mean is like when we have tried to investigate Supreme Court justices, the Supreme Court has no apparatus within the judicial branch to like investigate wrongdoing by the Supreme Court. That's why President Biden.
I think there's okay. Sorry, I'll join you on like everything. I think you kind of have to have judicial review because it's very weird if every branch is running with its own interpretation of the Constitution.
The three of us need to sit down and go through this. It's called The Most Dangerous Branch by Michael Stokes Paulson because again, and I could be a dude just doing a very poor job of articulating it. He says judicial review still exists under his paradigm. It's just not backed by the supremacy of the court.
Yeah, but that's not judicial review. That's everybody reviewing things for themselves.
Right, but he would argue what you're proposing is judicial supremacy, and that's what I'm saying.
Well, they have the final say on what the Constitution says.
But given that the Constitution is the highest law of the land, and it's the one that
they're not writing it; they're just interpreting it.
But
I have a tough question for you, Jessiah.
But wait a minute. But again, it goes back to what has greater power?
Yeah, I will.
The people who write the law or the people who have the final interpretation?
I mean, you can get. I mean, it depends on the law, right? If I write a law and I say that every single gay person in the United States needs to get killed, I mean, that's a pretty hard law to interpret differently, right?
I mean, yes.
And then also, like, who's stronger? Like, the Supreme Court tells the president, you're not allowed to do that. And the president's like, okay, well, here comes the National Guard.
Wait. But that's my point. Do you believe that the president has the constitutional right to disregard an order from the Supreme Court?
He doesn't need the constitutional right. He just needs more guns. Technically, right? Isn't that why the legitimacy of the court is so threatened at every point in time, right? So the court can't really enforce.
So what I would argue, and I think Stokes Paulson makes the argument much more eloquently than me, is that the president, he interprets the Federalist Papers and constitutional debates that the Founding Fathers intended for the executive to have their own ability to interpret the Constitution. So the Supreme Court, wait a minute, your president.
First of all, there's the Federalist Papers that literally written by Hamilton that talk explicitly about judicial review. So I don't know which papers he's read.
Right, but not judicial supremacy, and that the executive
judicial review as per the Supreme Court. But go ahead. Sorry, finish. Go ahead.
That the executive has the right to refuse a Supreme Court order that he believes is unconstitutional. Anything to the contrary just by definition makes the Supreme Court dominant over the executive. Because if you agree that the Supreme Court, that the president could just say, fuck you, that's not an acquiescence. That is a right that the president has. If they engage in it and you don't think they have the right to do it, the president is breaking the law.
Do you in Australia, so our courts are kind of fucked in a lot of ways. The Canadian Supreme Court is kind of like known as like the
Hold on. When you say "our," please clarify.
Canada.
Thank you.
Canada.
Okay.
Sorry.
Because our courts are amazing. Sorry, go ahead.
Great, good job. I'm
you.
Canadian. Hi.
For the last.
Hi, I'm Canadian. So they have term limits, obviously, and they're appointed by the Prime Minister in Canada. I'm not sure if it's identical in
We
Australia.
have an age limit. I believe you have to.
We do have an age limit as
Yeah.
well, so they can time out for age. I think they have term limits, and they're typically assigned by the Prime Minister, or they may be voted in. I could be wrong about the process there, but one of the biggest issues that the Canadian court has is that they're notoriously cucked to basically culture. So like the Canadian court will never, ever typically have a decision that goes against the like broad general vibe of the Canadian will. And it doesn't, because we don't have like this founding important constitution or document. And so it's led to like a lot of really weird reforms within the Supreme Court and a lot of really, really problematic stuff where it's like our Supreme Court's like, I literally never think about them as a Canadian at all. Because the Prime Minister has like basically all of the power. And I'm curious, does Australia have the same issue? I don't know anything about the Australian.
Well, we've got a parliament as well, but Mabo, yeah, we've had some really important legal things come out of our High Court. But we also have someone called the Honourable Justice Kirby, who was known as the Great Dissenter. So he often went, even though he didn't like have the rule, he would often write these scorching dissenting opinions because he believed in judicial activism and making decisions. He said you should rule for the future, not for
the case.
Instead of looking at the case and how it applies today and in the past and looking at precedent, you should be like, where are people going to be in 20, 30 years? How will this affect them? So we've had some really big cases go through our High Court, but I still wouldn't say it's as important as our like party politics.
Okay.
Both stuff is, we don't do litigious.
Can I ask Stephen a quick question? Because I asked Jessiah.
You're not getting away from my question, by
I
the
asked
way, and it's
Pisco
gonna
this.
put you on the
Well, hang
spot.
on. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
I asked Pisco this, but I'm curious. Under how
you.
you conceive the Constitution, what is a constitutional and lawful check the president has on the court? I can't come up with one.
That the president has on the court.
Right. Well, you think about it. 'Cause
Let me think about that.
Yeah, our understanding of like, you agree that our notion of checks and balances is that each of the three has checks against the other two. So, for example, the president can veto legislation from Congress. That's a check. The president can
The president
unilaterally.
nominates justices. The president nominates judges.
How's that a check against the court?
You're putting in
He
people that
he thinks the function is the check. What an
Right.
idiot. Wow.
Yeah.
That's actually so cringe.
Stop. Shut up.
Dude, you know it's such an awesome check when you actually give them the job, then you can't fucking do anything when you disagree
You're
with them.
complaining because the results aren't what you like, and here's the.
Oh,
I'm
and
asking
into the
you-
straw man.
you
That's
can-
the Hassan tactic.
Right.
Misrepresent.
It's okay.
Hide from your opponent's original
Right.
argument, and then whatever the A is.
That's
and
okay.
What he's doing.
Because-
Be an asshole.
Because
be an Adrian.
Pisco will never be able to answer
I'm just
that
kidding.
question. He will never be able to answer it. There is no check that the president has that you consider lawful.
So,
Wait. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to tie
Yeah.
in. Then, what's your solution to kind of like the Canadian-Australian problem with the court? And I am, just so it's clear, I am literally pulling right from chat with S. Winniger's super chat. That's why I asked it in large part. But how do you balance that of like term limits and all these things kind of making the court so weakened that they're not really operating in the way, like we have a charter. It's not like our court doesn't have a charter of rights or anything like that to follow. So like, what's your solution to offset?
My
the Canadian
solution
problem?
is I would be much more palatable to the idea of the notion of judicial review that I think you guys support if there were other checks on the court. So let me put it to you like this. I would be more comfortable with the president having to obey orders from a Supreme Court if there were checks against that court. Relentless, ruthless ethics. Like if you misfile your fucking taxes, you go straight to Guantanamo. The highest level of ethical standards, term limits, potentially court expansion.
Listen, some of these-
and
some of these I agree with.
wait. And fact finding, like there are other things too. So like recusal requirements. So if you choose not to recuse, you have to give a fucking 40-page essay about why you chose not to recuse.
Jesus.
Like just there need to be checks against it. I am not comfortable with the current system, with the power and unaccountability they have, and also that the nation's chief executive is obligated to obey them like a serf. That doesn't work for me.
Okay.
If you want the power, the accountability has to go with it.
It sounds like you have some common cause with Brett Kavanaugh because I don't understand why you, for example.
Just the reaction.
Is that a news?
Given the scandal surrounding Brett Kavanaugh, can you please clarify? Can you please clarify what common ground we have?
Friends, right?
I mean,
Yeah,
why
drinking
are these,
buddies. Yeah.
Trump is able to argue accurately. that he was stymied in a lot of what he wanted to do during his first administration by inside executive actors. Call that the acting attorney generals, call that his own defense secretaries,
Call that the
people,
elite.
the people who didn't want to get him to do what he wanted to do. And he's argued for a unitary executive theory. I don't understand why you're okay with any kind of model of the presidency that allows for an internal check on the presidency. Why do you like have this disdain for Brett Kavanaugh's vision of the presidency and like talk shit about the unitary executive theory then?
Well, there are two versions of unitary executive.
That's not my
theory.
hard question, by the way.
Well, no, there are two versions of unitary executive theory. There's weak and strong. This idea that the president is the apex of the executive branch, but that he doesn't that he is not entitled to literal control over all of its functions. I don't know where I fall on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's my hard question.
Sure.
Donald Trump wins.
Sure.
He wins a big, beautiful victory. 306, 303, whatever it is, electoral votes. You are a senator or representative in Congress.
Sure.
A freshman.
Okay.
Are you voting to certify his election for president?
Yes.
Why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Why?
Because unless I had evidence that truly the election was stolen, no, we're a democracy.
But
We
you
have to
believe he's
abide-
ineligible under the 14th Amendment.
Yeah, but the Supreme Court disagreed.
The Supreme Court only said that they weren't the ones that Congress had to enforce
Well, you have to
it.
have enacting
You are
legislation.
Congress.
Now, if I have the option to, pass enacting legislation, like enforcement legislation, I would try to do that.
So let's say you're in the interim. Let's say that you're not a freshman anymore. You're a re-elected. If you had the opportunity, would you sponsor legislation to enforce Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, pass it?
Absolutely.
And even though you just had the vote for Donald Trump, make it so that he's not seated for president?
Absolutely, because by then, by the law, he would be ineligible. Yeah.
I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
There you go.
Some agreement.
But it's
I should
but
also
it's tough to say.
To me, the question about unitary executive theory to me is the harder one because technically the Constitution confers all executive power to the president. And
Doesn't the Constitution? Fuck, I don't want to agree with him. Never mind. Keep going. Preach, brother.
Well, no, they say. I mean, what's the exact quote that the executive power shall be enforced or shall be invested in?
Shall be vested.
Yeah, in the
I think
President of the United
Congress has the authority to create offices and then task those offices appropriately with responsibilities, right, under the president.
States. Yeah,
So-
no, I agree. But those are so-called like.
I don't think Dan's coming back.
Yeah.
Wow.
That scares me
Get
away.
here. Just that way you guys are a little bit less squished.
Yeah.
We can spread out a little bit. Keep going.
No, so Congress, so my understanding is there's nothing about Section 2 which permits the president to unilaterally create offices, but to the extent that they are fully executive.
Wait, I don't think he can.
That's what I'm saying. They can't.
Yeah.
Right. So to me, you're citing a different power, which is Congress is the one with the power of the purse and the power to create the structure. They do that with the judiciary too. But those independent agencies that you're talking about, those are. How do you count like the FCC? Is the FCC technically an executive branch agency?
It's an independent agency.
An independent, right? So it's not under the
I
executive.
believe it is.
No, every agency is under the executive branch.
It's under the executive branch, yeah.
Like the Federal Reserve, like I know the Federal Reserve, the chairman, like they're appointed by the president, but like they
Don't do
can't.
that. That's a hard one. That's complicated. Fuck
Yeah,
that.
that's what I'm saying.
But like the EPA, the SEC, all of the SEC, all of that should be under the.
Yeah, but those aren't independent. The EPA isn't
So
independent.
they're not separate branches of government, if that's what
Right.
the question is. So.
Yeah, so I think so some of these agencies, like the military is a good example. So the military is technically operationally under the commander in chief, but there's overlap with Congress. Congress is the one that passes the military code of conduct and the Uniform Military Code of Conduct, and they're the ones that funds it. So some of these things are a gray area. But yeah, I think a unitary executive theory is actually the harder question that you asked because we don't know. We have not drawn that line to what extent the president should have operational control over all the constituent components.
If I'm speaking to real people in real terms, I'm more scared about a president gone amok than the 9 Supreme
I understand.
Court justices.
And I want to be clear about this. I think that the Supreme Court is the looming threat down the road. I don't think that they have the immediate power of the president. I totally take your point there. But I just don't. I think
The
that.
Supreme Court Donald Trump's literal plan under Project 2025 and from Elon Musk and everyone is to ignore the Supreme Court. And he doesn't even have to do that under the Trump v. United States. He could arguably not even have to listen to them because he has immunity.
Right.
The court wants to enforce something, them and what army?
Right, no, precisely. And then the question becomes, does the president, is he obligated to obey the court or does he have the right?
No, if he just
you
says,
want to
I
give him a
disagree.
theoretical foundation to be, correct about that.
Yes, I am fully aware that
You want to see
I am fully
president.
aware. I am fully aware
You
that
want
what
a
I am proposing.
dictator.
I am
Are you
fully
funded
aware.
by Peter Thiel?
I am
You
fully
funded by-
I am fully aware that, and Stokes-Paulson talks about this in his papers, that the executive that he believes is more constitutionally sound is extremely dangerous. But again, I don't think you make that concession about the court at all. That's my issue with
How do you?
Pisco.
It's not about what you do. It's about the person who gets into that strong unitary power position.
No,
What they will do.
I understand that, but all of this, what goes back to what we said before. All of this is predicated on good faith actors.
Then don't do it in politics. Because people who get into politics are not good faith.
I understand.
That's not true. Most people, you have to be.
Not at the presidential level.
You have to be. Yeah, of course.
You think Republicans? Name 2 Republicans in Congress right now who are good faith.
I think that it depends on how you qualify. Nixon, to some extent,
Right now,
thought that Nixon. Wait, hold on.
Currently.
Nixon thought, for instance,
Richard
that what he did was a crime, and that's why he accepted the pardon. If it was Donald Trump, he would have said, "Why are you pardoning me?"
Richard Nixon has a good faith Republican.
I'm just saying that they're acting as though there are some standards, right?
You are right in that Richard Nixon, when he stepped down from office, actually was very respectable in terms
No,
of...
hold on. I'm sorry. Wait. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying respectable, nice, but I'm just saying that. Here's what I'm saying. There's a difference between somebody who steals something on camera versus steals something in secret.
Nixon
right?
stole the election by going behind the back in Vietnam.
I'm aware of that. I'm just saying that I'm not
faith
saying
actor if he even got into office because he fucked with the Viet Cong.
I'm just saying that there are some standards that for a long time people have.
Foreign enemies and messing with them to get elected is a standard of a good faith politician.
And the Cold War for the United States of America, probably, yeah. Yeah.
But I'm
to
confused.
be fair, yes.
What's the issue here? I'm confused. Do you disagree that good faith is necessary for the system, or that the system can function in the absence of it?
I'm saying you cannot make a permanent change to a political system that relies on good faith, especially in an industry.
They all do. With respect, they all do.
To varying levels, to be fair. But to varying levels, they do.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
My understanding is to some degree that the two-party system specifically is kind of assumed that like everyone who's a politician is kind of a selfish piece of shit who's going to grift to basically only their voter basis, and their own self-interest is what will like help them elevate and respect the people's will. Like, doesn't that to some degree fundamentally, maybe you would say they're selfish pieces of shit who still are good faith, and by good faith you guys mean follow the Constitution, I am assuming, right? Or willing to play by some of the same rules.
I don't know. Certainly not in the Republican Party now.
No, what do you mean when you say good faith?
Yeah.
So in that there is that this idea that they follow constitutional principles, that things are. I'd have to give you examples. So, like for example, the Constitution enables the president to appoint Supreme Court nominees, just keeping the Supreme Court. The Republicans under Mitch McConnell didn't even grant Merrick Garland a hearing, right? That was a bad faith interpretation of the Senate's ability to just deny the president their choice. Like they had the right to vote against Merrick Garland. They weren't obligated to automatically confirm him. They didn't even have a nomination.
Doesn't the greater
hearing.
include the lesser? I'm actually gonna. I don't agree with this, but I'm just gonna give Joanna's argument. What I thought was, whoa.
Women. No,
So-
please give Joanna.
Yeah. So she said, "What about Bork?"
Oh yeah. I just
Robert Bork. Yeah.
Doesn't the greater include the lesser? If you have the ability to deny, don't you have the ability not to give a hearing? And isn't the premise of our saying
Can
that
I
they should
can I
expand
ask
the
you
court?
something?
Yeah.
I think that's a great question. You're right. No, I disagree, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Okay. So wait, are you you're playing the devil's advocate and
Yeah,
saying that
yeah.
simply the ability to deny a confirmation also must include the
Deny
power
a
to
nominee.
deny
includes
a hearing.
Yeah. Why not?
Then what would make the president's ability to nominate a justice any different from mine? I can also nominate
Suggest
a Supreme
it
Court.
publicly, yeah, why the
I
fuck
can
not?
also from DGG right now.
the
I
Senate-
nominate.
The
Yeah.
Senate couldn't take it up. They can't take up your nomination.
So
that is a distinction, and I just
so
don't
that
do
the
it.
fact that they are outlawed from doing so.
They literally.
But what's the practical difference?
I don't know how to answer that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Well, here's a
ever-
question.
yeah.
Here's a question. In 2016,
2016.
did you Did you get to nominate any Supreme Court justices?
didn't.
Okay. Did Obama?
Yeah.
Oh no, he didn't.
Well,
Not
really?
really.
He nominated. He just didn't have the
Sure,
hearing.
yeah.
He
So
just
you
didn't
guys
even have
both
the
got 0
hearing.
hearings. So
Right,
there
exactly.
you go. Yeah, there you go.
What's the practical
Same
difference?
shit.
What's the
What?
practical
No,
difference?
I'm just saying that there is
Yeah.
no. You cannot foolproof a system against bad faith actors. This is literally impossible.
You can't have guardrails.
Yeah, you can have guardrails, of course, but like the guardrails are only like they've been we push beyond the guardrails at this point.
Right, the guardrails are not divinely crafted nor enforced. You have to have people comprise them and maintain them. The guardrails for Donald Trump's first term, for example, weren't just the courts, but also the people in the executive branch.
You know what a really good example of? I will shut the fuck up so fast, and I will be the number one Pisco worshiper, okay? If you can find me some powerful Republicans, not the ones on the way out whose careers have been destroyed, okay? Give me the equivalent of a Gore concession.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Al Gore
denied his recount. Give me give me something even remotely equivalent. My God! Remember, these disgusting fucks were arguing for a January 16th vote certification date, and Gore was trying to remain within the December 14th elector certification. Like it's
Why are you yelling at me? Al Gore did something very noble, and I'm
just saying that those are examples of where the system that is an unbelievable amount of good faith.
That's
because he could have fought that so much harder. Yeah. And the Republicans even said it. Eastman and all them even said it. It's like, yeah, this fucking retard thought that December 14th was the cutoff.
Is it even good faith, or is that point like is Al Gore kind of retarded for not actually?
No. That's an example of. That's an example. That's an example.
Young lad who should have pushed harder.
No. That's an example
Was he within
of
his legal rights to push harder? Though?
Yeah, but no. It's the laws, whatever. The point is that that's an example of like I really disagree with this fucking outcome, and it's super fucked. But I cherish and I value the system and our rules and regulations and norms so much that I'm going to go ahead and
You think George
bite
Bush
the
would
bullet
have
on
done the
that.
same thing?
Would George Bush have done the same thing?
You guys don't care.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean? Do the same thing? Like
would he have honored in the way that?
I just want to soften my claim and say maybe there are some good faith people, but not enough that you can have a strong unitary president.
Yeah, listen, there's no doubt that would be incredibly dangerous. The reason that I am articulating the position is I think it's actually just more constitutionally sound. I want to be very clear. In many ways, it would be more dangerous than a powerful Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court wouldn't command the army or the military. But this system, I just keep going back to, it's predicated on good faith. And when you have unaccountable bad faith actors, that's a problem. That's my issue with the Supreme Court. I would much more agree with your notion of judicial review if you would co-sign other checks against the Supreme
The last
Court.
thing I'll say, I have a lot of, and then we can move on to it because I know we've been beating this dead horse, is as much as I criticize the Supreme Court, when Trump was trying to overturn the election in 2020, they were a guardrail. They rejected his efforts.
Have they surprised you at times by not being a guardrail? You didn't expect the Trump immunity decision.
I expected them to come to where Amy Coney Barrett's opinion was. I didn't expect what we got. That was bad. Not going to disagree with you there.
Right.
But when we needed them in 2020 and the chips were down, they showed up. The federal courts too.
And just because you get your people on there, Jessiah, doesn't mean it's going to work out the way you want. Ketanji Brown Jackson sided with the conservatives to dismiss the obstruction charge on the January 6th guy.
Yeah.
So, you could. I just say my whole point with all this is like these fixes you're proposing. I don't think it gets to the core of the problem because.
Well, this is why I think it's important. So, two things. One, I think term limits are a no-brainer. I've never heard a good argument against a term limit in my entire life. And it's not, the important part isn't the term limit. The important part is just ensuring that every president gets one pick.
Yeah.
Because this fucking crazy lottery of it is not impossible right now. We're looking at like a 15% worlds where Donald Trump has six Supreme Court justices. Yeah. That's ridiculous. Okay.
No,
3 is ridiculous.
Right.
3 is ridiculous.
Right.
2 is a lot. 3 is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So term limits are okay.
Yeah. Again.
But I don't know if anybody, now that I think about it, does anybody have a check or balance on anybody? That's not just the function of the government? Like, what check does the president have on the legislature?
Veto. Yeah, no, I mean.
Well,
it's-
but I mean,
yeah.
like,
but it's
they can just overvote him, right?
Right, but right. Well, that's because we actually don't have three co-equal branches. We're supposed to have congressional supremacy. This idea of three co-equal branches, it's actually nowhere to be found in the Constitution. Congress is always supposed to be the final hand on top against all the other branches. You veto me, yeah, but in theory, I can override your veto, and you can't override my.
But that's not the world we live
veto.
in, right? Right now,
Right.
you would trade both houses of Congress to have Kamala Harris be the president.
Right, because there's more concentrated authority and more concentrated
You
agility.
would trade both houses, complete control of Congress.
Okay,
Yes,
I'm going to
it-
wrap this in
yeah.
like 1 minute because I
Yeah,
want to make sure
Jesus.
there's 3 people at the table
Yeah.
that have not gotten
Yeah.
a chance to speak very much, and I want to
Yeah.
pull them into the conversation.
For sure.
True.
But anyway, that was a fascinating conversation. I feel like, Josiah, we disagree on a lot that people don't see because like we're both kind of center left, and we have this podcast where we just talk about.
I don't know.
No, Josiah is center left. Pisco's become neutral MAGA. He's been talking to too many far righters.
But
Something's going on over there.
It is nice for us to get animated sometimes on things that we disagree with, so I appreciate the opportunity.
Look at that.
There we go.
So sweet.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. My finger got stuck.
Irrelevant. How's Darius?
And
okay.
what are Darius's thoughts on the Supreme Court?
I actually had some input, but you guys had good energy. But the input that I had was, it does feel like, particularly you two, have like a lot of energy that sounds like you're pushing back against like MAGA abuse of, well, primarily Donald Trump's abuse of like everything that he can get his hands on. And you kept implying that like we got to play dirty, and it sounded like you said that we got to play dirty. So from an outside perspective, you ain't no shit about this.
I think the issue is
right?
like coming back to your England-France analogy with one that people can actually understand. Like, it's like Batman, okay? It's like it sounds like
This is why
you
people
guys
think
want
we hate each
Batman to fucking kill someone, and
No.
Pisco's like, no, you shouldn't break the rule. But I don't understand what fucking rule you think that the Batman's
Superheroes
breaking.
are
Well, the
always
problem is their
ontological, villains are
language
always
sounds like
Their
utilitarian.
language sounds
Their
like they
language
sound
sounds like they're gonna
they
throw
sound like
9
Batman
people
wanting to
off
kill
a
someone.
bridge.
Okay, Pisco said something incredibly intelligent, okay? Not Pisco, I'm sorry, Josiah did. You definitely haven't said anything. Josiah said something incredibly intelligent, okay? And he doesn't even realize how intelligent he is. Josiah said that the Star Wars films are movies, okay? Which means that the end is written. The end is exactly as the author wants it to be. The future of our planet is not written. There is, I don't know if I was talking to Kyla or if it was somebody else in the studio, and I asked him a question about if they'd ever seen like fucking Rurouni Kenshin. You ever heard of that anime? Any? Fuck all of you young fucking children or whatever, okay?
Keep it in Return of the Jedi. No.
But basically, there's a frustration that I have with some anime, and maybe you could even actually throw this over to Batman, to where you'll have this protagonist, and the protagonist never kills, okay? But luckily, the protagonist's antagonists always somehow manage to kill themselves or get permanently locked away, like in Arkham, whatever, Asylum
In
forever.
Batman, isn't Joker always getting back out? Isn't
Yeah,
that like
yeah.
part of the
Yeah.
Purpose,
lore?
because if Batman kills the Joker, then he's the same as the Joker.
Which is so stupid. Yes, but that's
Yeah, but
No. It's not him being the.
no. Yes, welcome to fiction. Yeah. But like, let's say that you're somebody who has like 20 million family members who are killed by the Joker, and you're like, well, at least Batman didn't kill the Joker. Thank God.
No, yeah, it's not satisfying, but
Well, wait a minute.
It's not that it's no. It's not that it's not satisfying. It's that it's morally bankrupt. Would it have been noble for us to sit out of World War II?
wait. So you're saying, just sorry, Riley, and then I will let you. You're saying that if somebody kills your family, you should just do terrorism. You should just kill people.
I'm saying that when somebody comes up to kill you and you kill them, you guys aren't doing the same action, and you're pretending you are.
So you're
No,
saying
it's not. It's not. You're just as bad as him. It's that Batman is supposed. He's not like the law, right? It's not his job to actually make judgments
so he
over.
just beat the shit out of
It's
you
not
and
his
black you
fucking
up?
job to make. Yeah. Well, but the idea is that he's trying to say that we don't want to live in a world where vigilantes, like people like Batman, can just go and kill someone because they think they're going to do more damage in the future. So he's trying to set like a He's trying to set like a rule. And if you
But
break the
that's
rule once, you'll break it again and again and again. And what if you get it wrong and you kill the wrong person? That's the lesson they're trying to say.
Wait a minute. Whose side are you on? I'm so confused here.
on my side. Wait a
I
second.
still can't fucking. I still can't figure out what's the equivalent of what these guys are asking for to you, Pisco. That is Batman killing someone.
I don't know. Listen, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Right. Fucking job.
So obviously
I
that's
would bring up
not
the
because
Star
you're
Wars
saying
thing
that's
as a
within
joke.
the rules, right? And obviously, I think putting in term limits. How do you even do that? Would that be like a congressional
Well,
act?
you'd
or
arguably you'd need an amendment for that one.
an amendment.
Yeah.
So you need you're
Now-
2/3 and then
I wanna
3/4.
hear from
Okay.
Will
that's
about
not-
how unhinged you guys are.
Just to be clear, you wouldn't need an amendment. You could just adopt informal rules in the Congress where you just impeach them every term limit, right, or whatever. Yeah, there you go.
Wait, Relly, why were they unhinged to you?
Well, just from an outside observer standpoint, even with the analogy that you drew, even in your engagement with the Batman stuff, it sounds like you're saying we're going to fight fire with fire. That's what it sounds like.
Okay.
I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. Every single person who
let me find one that'll hit harder for you. As a longtime Finkelstein fan, let me talk about the Nat Turner slave rebellion. Okay, how did you feel about those guys that killed all the slave owners? They killed their families too. It was pretty bad.
I don't think killing people is inherently bad. Nobody thinks killing people is inherently bad. That's a dumb. Yeah.
No, but the issue is that here's the problem: is you have a reciprocated set of rules, and it only works. And the goodness is only derived from the fact that you are upholding this system of rules. And as soon as somebody is outside of that system, they're incompatible with society. They are to be eliminated. We literally have built all of criminal law around this.
Yeah,
the government can take away your rights if you do bad things that we've decided are bad. And we don't have anything.
Neutralize.
Well, we have the death penalty in some states if you break the law bad enough, right? Yeah. So we already made that decision for some things, but we haven't for like these core constitutional whatever amendments. But I'm just saying there's no virtue in being a pacifist when an army is coming to murder your entire neighborhood. It doesn't. There's no virtue in that.
But Pisco isn't asking you to be a pacifist.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Well, even still, if we agree with everything you just said, what is your solution? What to do about that? Make that analogy.
At the very least, don't bend over backwards.
Well, I'm not talking about the least. I'm talking about what.
Well, that's what he wants. He wants us to bend over backwards.
Well, to be perfectly fair, the thing that it hurt from these two was
killing Joker. Nobody's talked about that at all.
Yeah, the problem is,
but you're making it sound like that. But what you're saying is actually we're doing the opposite by not enforcing the law in Trump, because you'd think in a fucking democracy, you would think in a democracy or a democratic republic that if you try to fucking coup the results of an election, you shouldn't be allowed to run for office again. You'd think a functioning system.
You weren't allowed to run. Oh no, wait, I'm sorry. That part of the amendment doesn't apply anymore. My bad, because the court got rid of it. My bad. Wow, and what does that mean? What does that count for? Who the fuck cares? No offense. But who are you? Who are any of us to disagree? That doesn't matter what your opinion is.
People disagreed for decades on Roe v. Wade. People disagreed. I think you actually even disagreed for decades that Roe v. Wade was the right thing to do.
It might have been not the best legal decision, but it was a legal decision when you stand by it.
That decision by itself generated such animus and energy on the Republican side because they said this is judicial lawmaking at its worst. That was their argument.
Bull! Oh my God! Hold on. I'm sorry. Do you think he believes what he just said? Do you think that the judicial lawmaking? Do you think that that's what Republicans actually cared about, or do you think they're just mad as fuck about abortion? What do you think, Jessiah?
I think it's probably the outcome, not the process.
True.
You I mean, really?
Yeah.
You think that there were? So you don't think?
Wait a minute. By definition, it must be the outcome, because if it was the process, then we wouldn't have Trump v. United States, where they engage in their own activism.
What did they say about Roe? Kind of looks like legislation. They've got whole different categories of things, like core power. Wait. What article section was core powers? Where did that come from?
It would be article doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. Wait. Who else had absolute immunity in the United States from criminal prosecution ever?
But it was the law of the land. It was the law of the land, and you guys who want to be consistent, you're the ones here on behalf of that right. You're saying vote for Kamala Harris, but if you're going to be like, I don't know if you're taking a position that you're against Roe v. Wade legally or something. Is everything okay? Okay, cool.
Not you.
Me? All right. If you like Stephen believe that Roe v. Wade was wrongly decided, why are you sitting here being upset that it was overturned?
Because there's a concept called stare decisis that has to do with maintaining, especially watershed rulings that other rulings are based out of, and that there are going to be plenty of judges that will look at prior rulings and they will revisit those rulings and they'll decide if they feel like they were decided fairly, and generally if they've stood the test of time, then you rely on the, as Gorsuch so eloquently put it, the flow of time and the judicial wisdom that goes down, because I like him as a writer.
You're a Gorsuch guy?
Yeah, I think his writing was good on stare decisis. Yeah.
Well, I'm just...
Well, you could also be voting for Kamala too because you believe that legislatively Roe should be codified.
Yeah, you could just believe in the thing.
I feel like what hasn't been engaged with is LonerBox's question, which is essentially, Pisco, you have to tell them what is killing Joker, and they have to make it clear how they're not.
Okay, let me make this as simple as possible. This is what Jessiah and me want. Okay, this is what Jessiah and me want. Me and Jessiah, want to not to be raped. Okay, and here's the issue.
Indeed.
How many people need to consent to sex for it to be considered not rape?
2.
What if one person just consents over and over again?
No,
then it's just rape.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the issue that we're having right now. We don't have a democracy or a functioning system when the Democrats are the ones that are coming over and over again saying, please, we'll play by the rules this time. Well, Kamala Harris is going to put a Republican in her cabinet, so we'll be so nice to you. We'll have our own special counsel to go and fuck over our own president, and we'll wait so long for Donald Trump. Give me a fucking break.
Show them the way.
They've seen the way.
Let IRI go.
What good does it do for us to take their position and just abuse the other side?
Well, for one, maybe Donald Trump would have seen an actual fucking federal courtroom. Number one, maybe that'd be okay.
That's what it is.
Yeah, to stand trial for crimes you've been charged with. He says that's where it is. When like he's making a big point about how I want to enforce like the rules on the books.
Just to simplify what's basically happening is that Pisco is saying that fucking putting Trump and going after Trump before the election is killing the Joker, but Steven's saying no, that's actually within the system.
If the basis of you being upset with the Justice Department is they didn't get a trial before the election, it sounds like what's motivating you isn't justice, it's politics.
Do you think if this was like a fucking drug lord or something, would the DOJ have gone after Trump? Would Trump be in a courtroom now before the election?
He would be. First of all, he's been in a courtroom. He was convicted on his New York crimes.
Oh wait, that is at the very least, Pisco's right there.
Alvin Bragg.
Wait. Did he get sentenced for that yet?
No, because the presiding judge believes that Trump v. United States implicates.
Oh shit! There's not even a sentence. Wait, really? That's crazy. Okay, sorry, my bad. I was just checking. Go ahead.
It does implicate, number one. It does possibly implicate some of the.
Then why did you bring it up?
No, because he did see a trial. He saw a trial and he was convicted, wasn't he?
Who cares?
He's not satisfied.
He hasn't been sentenced with anything yet.
So now the point is
is to follow. Wait, hold on. Just listen to what you just said, okay, Mr. Rising 4L on your whole new world of fucking law right now, okay? Right? You're like, there's a fucking convicted murderer, okay, who's murdered 50 million more people, and I'm like, bro, why the fuck isn't this guy in jail yet? You're like, he was convicted of the crime. Isn't that enough?
But you know that he's gonna get tons of appeals. He knows this is gonna be an appeals.
Yeah, let him appeal from prison, okay? Like every other high risk flight risk.
This is Trump derangement syndrome.
Oh my god.
This is Trump.
Neutral MAGA. Oh, I got it.
All right, MAGA chat, I need you to rise up. I need you to rise up for me.
Would you please answer his question? He's been asking for 20
the question
minutes.
is, what is the equivalent of killing the Joker in this game that we're playing? Is using political influence to guide your justice, Department of Justice decisions. You should not let the influence of politics be guiding like how fast or how slow you're bringing a case.
In your neutral legal opinion, do you think Trump committed an insurrection or
yes?
Okay. Do you think people who do that should be allowed to run for president?
If they're a previous oath taker under the Constitution, I think that they're not allowed. You're asking me my policy preference. I think that the Constitution strikes a good balance that you be a previous oath taker, and so I'm okay with that balance. So no, I think that they shouldn't be able to run for office if they're a previous oath taker, and Trump was.
So is there something wrong with the system that we haven't achieved that result, that we've had 4 years and he's able to run for office?
Yeah, I think there is something wrong with that system when the Supreme Court interprets some parts of the 14th Amendment to be self-executing and, randomly article or section 3 is not self-executing. I think that that's a problem. And it shows that the court is, I think, a little bit politically biased. But that's not a reason to burn down the court.
So, but an attorney general just going after him within those 4 years before the election, isn't that, so that would be achieving like what you say is your neutral, legal opinion, right?
I support Jack Smith's indictments. I think IRI does too. We support the actions by the Department of Justice. We think that they've been fair and balanced. I think that they've actually been. The one critique is I don't think that Jack Smith charged insurrection. I think he should have charged insurrection. That's the one critique I have. But that's not based on
charging it. That would have been another 8 years to Merrick Garland's investigation.
And the idea is you should probably be able to do something like this within 4 years because you've got 4 years before the next election that they can run for.
They tried. I mean, they tried to take. What do you mean? They tried.
It was a sprawling investigation. Do you know how many rooms Mar-a-Lago is? It took them a long time to go through every single.
Now we're talking about Jan 6. So who's playing fast and loose?
Whoa. Wait. Wow. But you laugh that it's taking too long.
Hold on. Jack Smith's indictments, one of those was Mar-a-Lago. Thank you.
Yeah, but we were talking about the insurrection.
We don't know what the DOJ's been up to. They may have prevented 20 terrorist attacks.
He's losing his mind.
No, they may have. Who knows?
What do you mean? We know they've got Hunter Biden. they did her report that he loves. It's his favorite book. He reads it every night. The DOJ's been up to all sorts of fun things, okay?
Well, in all fairness, the Hunter Biden thing was going on for like 5+ years.
The proof is in the pudding, and I have to say, I don't criticize Stephen a lot. Actually, I do.
Yeah.
But
fake news.
You know what? They were so busy hitting Hunter Biden for the federal with the felonies for the $150,000 in taxes, they didn't even have time to charge Roger Stone, who committed $2 million. $2 million of tax penalties, and he lied that he hid another. They didn't have time for this. No, they didn't charge him with a crime. They made a deal with him for him to pay it back.
That's for the tax stuff, but they charged him for lying to the.
The stuff that Donald Trump pardoned.
Here's the proof in the pudding. Sorry, the proof is in the pudding. Stephen has no interest in the Her report. Stephen has no interest in the facts surrounding Joe Biden's mishandling of classified information. He doesn't care. If this were Donald Trump, he'd be all over it. But the truth is, sometimes you have some blinders on, and I think that even me, I am as pro Biden as they come. I think Biden is the best president in our lifetime. And when I'm giving you a signal and saying, "Hey, you guys are going 2 steps too far, maybe even 1 step too far," I'm not willing to go with you on getting the president to just ignore the Supreme Court all the time.
What's the appropriate number of steps? Can we? That's the.
I'm going to be here to rein you back in because because it really does sound sometimes.
Oh my God! Do you know what he is? He's the Adam to our Sitch.
You're comparing me to Adam. You're comparing me to Adam.
Talk about MMT.
Adam friended.
Listen, I want to know what's the.
By the way, I hope this.
I just want to follow up on what I was asking earlier. So it sounds like if the DOJ went after Trump for January 6th like too quickly before the last. Within 4 years.
Yeah.
You think that would be like an overstep because it's them acting too politically?
No, I don't think that necessarily would be. I think there's a reasonable bound of when they could have done it, and I think the decision fell within that bound. I don't think that it would necessarily would have been political to bring it that early, but there could have been some drawbacks to not having your ducks in a row. If you charge too quickly, maybe you don't get on board Cassidy Hutchinson. Maybe you don't get on board all these other people who were integral to some of the theories of the conspiracy. There are 3 different
in a sense,
conspiracies.
It almost has that, because the problem is though is that you can say that you're not like pushing a boundary by taking your time or not being so political, but then we're already pushing a boundary because now we have an insurrectionist running for president.
Okay, but now the problem is. Your problem is that that he's running for president, and it's a political problem. It's you don't want him running for president.
It's a political problem now because it's no longer a legal problem because they got rid of the part of the amendment that made it a legal problem.
I don't agree with that.
It's my neutral legal opinion that I think, which I think you agree with, isn't it? That insurrectionists shouldn't be allowed to run for president.
Yes, but just because I believe that doesn't mean that I think that I have the power that it should be guiding the prosecution, which is separate, I think, from the.
But isn't the system already broken?
That was just like facts, though.
Isn't the system already broken? Essentially, isn't the system already not playing ball, as they're saying? And there needs to be a strong course correction because an insurrectionist is running for president.
Or put another way, do you believe anything that results in tangible action?
He has been charged. He has faced.
I'll fly over that fucking table right now.
Listen to me. This is an unprecedented indictment of a former president. They have fought tooth and nail to the Supreme Court. How many hours? How many briefs? How many interviews? How many pieces of evidence? Look at the filing they just had, and you're acting like they're doing diddly squat. They're trying to get him. They're trying to.
You know what would have been interesting? You know what might have been? If we could have seen the same action that with the same aggression, you know who the special prosecutor should have been against Trump? It should have been fucking Comey. Because when that motherfucker found emails and shit for Hillary, this dude was doing a press conference at 2 a.m. By the way, reopening the investigation. We don't know the fuck about. I want to see some shit like that for Donald Trump. Not 3 years fucking later where it's like, we're gonna.
Comey didn't charge.
No, he didn't, but we still got all sorts of crazy. What?
Jacob Keaton, thank you for the $50. Did you guys see that Trump was just endorsed by Joe Rogan?
Yeah, that was like 2 hours ago. It was the least surprising thing ever. Yeah.
Unbelievable. It was the whales.
Kyla, I actually saw an endorsement that asked Pisco and Destiny to kiss. I just want to know if
I don't kiss fascists.
Oh my God! Say it's a joke.
Pisco would take
more of a social fascist, right?
Pisco leaning in would take forever. It'd be the Merrick Garland approach, where it's just like,
you guys are if you talk to any Republican, do you have any Republicans? You do have Republicans in your life, so you know. You have a family that's MAGA. Yeah. What would they think if they saw you right now talking about ignoring the courts?
They'd be like, see you at Thanksgiving, because this is what's going to happen right here. All this shit, this is...
I think that...
You remind me, actually, of my MAGA uncle so much.
I love it that Pisco's defending
this
the
is dress rehearsal.
Even though we disagree, but at the end of the day, you're both going in the cabinet at the same time.
Wait, whose cabinet?
He said
No, the camp.
The camp. Listen,
It's a joke about appeasing fascists.
We're fighting against Trump. We're doing so hard, and like no one's been more against Trump than I am. I'm just saying I don't want my Department of Justice to be sort of motivated by political.
Isn't it like that? That's a classic moderate line. Nobody's more for Biden than I am. Nobody's against Trump more than I am.
Like, I think that there, like, we should be in favor. If we followed your approach, I don't know who would be, like, I don't know, would it be some talking head on MSNBC would be our like Attorney General, and
I think that's exactly what Jessiah said.
That's
Anderson
like
Cooper, or who was the one lady? Yeah,
Rachel Maddow.
Yeah. Like, what more would you have wanted? You would have wanted.
How many times did we say
an
just Merrick
indictment?
Garland to?
Yeah.
How many months?
I want
How many
somebody.
years?
I want somebody with a prosecutorial temperament who was.
What
not,
does that mean? I don't even know what the hell that means.
Don't
Was
you
it 13 months? How many months was it between the? Was it the documents? What's it called? The documents and
the National
people,
Archives?
yeah, the National
NARA,
National Archive, yeah. How many months was it? 13 months before their request between that and the FBI indictment?
It's probably a bit too brisk for Pisco.
So you guys don't even know the timeline. You guys don't even know the timeline.
I'm sorry, was it 12 months? Oh, do you want me to look it up?
It was less than a year since the referral to the FBI, and the FBI, it took some time to get the subpoena. Once they had the subpoena, they needed to get evidence that he was obstructing the subpoena. And I think that before you have the subpoena, you probably don't have good enough evidence on willfulness. I'm just being honest.
Okay.
And so from the subpoena until when you have the actual indictment, it takes time to gather evidence, time to get people, time to get recordings. I mean, they have recordings now from, you've heard the tape.
I've answered every question you've asked.
Yeah,
and I'm going to ask you both again. Okay, you all critique my position. Fair enough. I want to know what your position is. I want to know what you say. Okay, if we enact Supreme Court reforms, it's going to break it in the opposite direction. What's the alternative?
The alternative is what Biden proposed, and you proposed as well.
Yeah.
Code of ethics, which can be done through Congress, and term limits.
And overturning with an amendment.
What's the value of getting rid of the filibuster and packing the court? And then somebody, let's say the
Okay, but I agree with all that.
Well, but what's
Wait,
the
you want to
value?
pack the court?
Yeah.
But why? Because let's say 3 of them drop dead that we put on there, and then all of a sudden some conservative president gets to put.
I agree with some of what they're saying in terms of tit for tat, because I think that the failure to give a hearing to Merrick Garland served as a kind of court packing.
I got one for you. Okay.
Wait, before you say that, can I just clarify? Term limits would need 2/3 of Congress and 3/4 of states, right?
So
There's a sneaky way to do it.
Yeah.
So by not amending the
Oh,
Constitution.
that's removing the jurisdiction. Yeah.
Well, no, it's sneaky. But I don't know if I want to tell you guys, because then you guys will be into it.
Well, I think Sheldon Whitehouse talked about this, where the idea that they technically remain on the court, they just like they're repositioned.
You pass a law
Yeah.
to get rid of the seat that they're in.
Yeah.
They don't have. They're still a justice, but they don't have a seat on the Supreme Court.
So is that a simple majority in Congress?
Yeah,
In theory, yeah.
Okay.
And then
No
you
shot.
and then
Would
you
that work?
and then you pass a law to re-add a seat, and you need to seat someone in the new seat. And
Well,
yeah.
and
Wait, that would
is
fail
that-
because I would probably wind up before the Supreme Court. No.
Well,
technically they can
who's
review
ruling
any- yeah.
on if they passed a law to get rid of your seat. Why do you have a seat? Why can
Well,
you?
but
Oh, is
The
there a little
Supreme
is there a
Court
little
would rule it,
asterisk?
right?
Is there a little asterisk next to judicial review? Can judicial
Well,
review
I'm
not,
just
not
these
cover
are the
that?
kind of questions that you want I guess, some percentage of the Supreme Court to deal with. I mean,
Well,
these
again,
are the constitutional crises that you want to
Sheldon
give us.
Whitehouse has discussed that you don't even need to take the seat away, that you would just basically, I can't even remember, Supreme Court emerita or whatever, they're shuffled to a different court. They still technically get their salary, they're still a Supreme Court justice, but they would no longer be presiding over cases
Now, is
of
that good
constitutional
faith,
review.
Stephen? Is undoing a seat by congressional statute and then re-adding it the next minute and putting your own people in the position, what do you think would happen there?
I don't think Jessiah is seriously suggesting that, right?
No, that's Supreme. Well, no.
Would you agree with
there
that?
is.
Well, wait a minute.
suggesting
You
that.
proposed something
Yeah.
that Sheldon Whitehouse has never talked about. I don't even know if that would be. How would that be legit?
How not? You agree that Congress can add seats and they can take them away, can't they?
Can they take away from
Historically,
from-
Congress has made the number of Supreme Court seats lower and greater.
I thought that they just shrank the vacancies. Did they remove sitting Supreme Court
The
justices?
Midnight Judges Act under the so-called Midnight Judges Act under John Adams, as you mentioned, Jefferson by statute.
I thought that shrank vacancies, not kicked sitting justices out.
I believe it kicked sitting
Maybe
judges
you're
out.
right.
He said,
Yeah.
I believe. That means he doesn't know.
I'm
Push
not
it,
100%
He
sure.
doesn't know, yeah. Push
No,
it.
but maybe you're right.
I think the
Yeah.
case is called Stewart versus Laird. I think that's the case that
Yeah.
decides
He
on
doesn't
the
know how
on
Stewart's
the
spelled.
on the repeal on the repeal of the Midnight Judges Act. But
So can I ask my question, which
Yeah.
was, let's say we have a Republican president and a Democratic Senate. and a Supreme Court vacancy occurs.
Oh,
Okay. Would you allow a Republican president, after what McConnell has done,
No.
to fill a...
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Easily,
You would?
yes. Why? Because the Senate should review. Well, we have to lead by example.
Okay, that's a bridge too far for me.
Wow. Look, if these were all good faith people that were involved in this current system, would you support it?
Yeah, I would be fine with the system if it was actually like the good faith was reciprocated. Sure.
Okay, so I
But it's
think
not.
And you know what? You know what I would even go? I don't know if Jessiah would follow me here, but you know what I would even go as far as to say is, I would say, if at least the cocksucking fucking pieces of shit that came out publicly,
homophobic,
people like
Just like a son.
yes, like Lindsey Graham, the people who were like, well, if this ever wound up in front of us and it was Trump's final year, we would never. If at least those motherfuckers had abstained or voted no, then maybe I would go along with it. Maybe.
That's why I'm saying where it comes back down to this tension is, it seems to us
This
that
is dark.
People,
I feel like we're doing some evil shit.
Here's the frustration. No.
evil is when you don't give a Republican a Supreme Court
I don't know,
justice.
I see you. The problem is that they don't think anything evil is happening. They think right now it's kind of like really kind of weird and that we want to do evil shit, but they don't acknowledge the evil that's all around us. That's the problem. We're surrounded by demons.
To be
Pisco
clear,
is
the
becoming
reason
one of
why
them.
Anybody thinks you guys are doing evil shit? You guys are using some of the most loaded language, especially you. You are using some insane. It sounds like you're just like, yo, when Kamala gets in, we're gonna do Trump but blue. That's literally what it
Like,
sounds
meanwhile,
like.
what did
That's
McConnell say? What did
sounds
McConnell say about Obama? I'm gonna make him a
one-term president.
Wow, and what did McConnell do? How much roadblocking between everything? No Supreme Court
Unprecedented.
justice.
Yep.
Holy shit! Yeah, but it's like, well, but you guys said this thing, and that sounds like so much fucking worse.
Yeah, I just don't know how we ever dig out. I just don't know how we ever dig out of this hole unless we are prepared to get more, and it doesn't require unlawful action, but just more ruthless.
We're gonna get bad.
How about just a little naughty?
We gotta get
How about just a
naughty.
What if there's a world? Follow me here.
Yeah.
What if there's a world where the Supreme Court justices, okay, where the Republicans get a nomination, we don't fill it, and they're like, wow, this felt really bad. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe this isn't the way to go because this actually stung, right? Maybe.
Kind of like with your like
because
college
the only
example.
thing that you can say in a counter to me, okay, because your counter argument is
What
that
I would say was WWJD.
Okay.
What would Jimmy do?
what would Jesus do?
What would Jimmy do? Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter?
He's looking down. Well, he's alive.
Chill.
No, he's
looking
basically
up.
looking down at you.
What would Jimmy do?
First of all, my mom called him turn the other cheek, Carter. Okay, so you know where I came from. Okay, so no. So okay, the issue is your counter to that is going to be if you do this to the Republicans, they're just going to strike back, and then we're going to say the Republicans are already there. They've been there.
They hit us first.
They've been there. They've been there.
Hasn't the
No,
strike
I-
back been going back and forth for like ever?
No, there is no fourth. Sorry,
There's fourth.
there is no fourth. Just back and back and back. Just.
But wait.
What?
But you want this to stop, right? You want this.
Yes, but right now, here's the issue. If you were a Republican, you would be a fucking idiot to play by the rules.
Of course.
If the Democrats are going to roll over and get fucked every time you walk into a room with a heart on, why wouldn't you keep fucking them? Okay, that's the issue.
But Republicans continue to push, and they're starting to pay a price. Why?
What? Sorry, where? Pay the price where?
Electorally.
Where?
Yes.
Electorally.
They could be out of
Barely.
power. What if they told you that what they're doing now is going to get them out of power for 20 years?
We'll see.
Okay, but there was a
We'll
period in
see.
time where the Democrats controlled the House for like 40 years.
But what am I supposed to? For how long ago?
When they were racist.
No, this is up
They're
up until the 90s. It was up until the 90s with Newt Gingrich when he came back. So I'm just saying, sometimes they can push things so far that it leads us to be into power and then implement a bunch of good stuff. Otherwise, it's kind of like a standstill where nothing happens.
I'm going to make a clip of this, okay? And when I'm being executed by the new Trump government after he wins, I'm going to be playing this over and over again on my phone before they shoot me, okay?
Do you have any last words? Do you have any last words? And he just plays IRI's clip in front of
You
the
think
mic.
we lost 300,000? Sorry.
I'm just saying, listen, fuck these guys. Why should we let them make us do bad things?
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Because they're destroying our country.
Well,
Wait, hold on. Off of that, what bad things are you suggesting we do?
Yeah, true. Actually,
I
you're right.
have not heard
Irrelevant
from
is
either one
finally,
of you.
yes, that
It has
is
been
Thank you,
so
Irrelevant.
constant.
This is the issue.
Pisco
What
does
bad
this.
things?
He's using Nora debate tactics.
This is the issue, right? Is like when you guys talk, it literally sounds like you guys are being like,
Yep.
we have to kill Joker.
Yes.
But then we go, how are you killing Joker? You're like,
I'll give you
you guys are like,
really
wait. You guys are like term limits for the Supreme
No, we
Justice,
agree
and
with
you're
that.
like, that's not killing. But you
he
haven't
said-
answered.
okay,
you
I'll
haven't
answer.
answered what's killing Joker, other than they should have sped up the Merrick Garland bullshit or whatever.
That's a really good question. Where do you get that one from?
So I don't know if you.
That's why everyone thinks we hate each other, by the way.
Okay, sorry if this wasn't clear.
Good.
You might have missed it when Josiah said the president just tell the Supreme Court to fuck off whenever he wants. I mean, you must have missed that when that was part of the conversation. He said non-acquiescence. That's his way of saying the president just tells the Supreme Court to fuck off.
I'm telling you to fuck off. Answer the question.
Do you think that that's like?
Why are you filibustering? I'm abolishing your filibuster. Answer the goddamn
Wait, what was your question?
Wait, to be clear, Josiah was suggesting that under like a whole other theory of
No, he
organization of
wasn't.
government.
Yes.
Yes, you would not. Yes.
Yes. So I'm talking about the Michael Stokes Paulson, the Michael Stokes Paulson paper.
Paradigm.
Yes.
The paradigm.
That
What does
he
that mean?
argues that it's more.
What do you argue?
It's tough.
Yeah, because you won.
Wait.
Oh, he's hitting you with a citation.
I cannot believe
Wait
you
a minute.
just said that.
He just Goodwill Hunting
wait a
you.
minute.
Are you
He's
giving any
literally
original thoughts?
So wait a minute. You're asking me to choose if I'm happy.
Choose
If
me.
I'm happy, I'm not choosing you. As a matter of fact, speaking of choosing Pisco, there's still time. Okay, there is still time to revisit. So you're asking me to choose between a Supreme Court
Or a Supreme President
or
for
a
life.
renegade president. I think both options suck, and I'm trying to figure out which one is more constitutionally sound. Which is why we can sidestep this whole thing. If you want a paradigm in which the Supreme Court issues rulings and the president and Congress obey, I told you I'm fine
Ethics.
with that. Term limits.
But that's Biden's proposal. Wait, so then
relentless term limits. Higher term limits.
So that's Biden's proposal.
Like
I don't
4
think you're going to
years
find
or
much
like-
disagreement. We don't think that
What do you mean
Biden's a
relentless?
radical.
When you
Then
say
what are we even
relentless,
arguing again?
really.
I'm literally, I'm gonna. Okay.
It sounds like you guys
Yeah,
agree. You're just really.
It's just another
Here's
6-hour
the issue.
Pisco argument.
Okay, it feels like you guys are saying these two are fucking soft as fuck. How are they soft?
They say that we're fucking crazy.
How are they soft?
They're
How are
soft.
these two soft?
They're soft
Well, wait a
because
minute.
over the past 25 years, Democrats have made amazing and insane concessions to Republicans, while Republicans are fucking them over.
I am losing
Time
my
and
mind.
What?
Name
So what
one
should Democrats do
thing.
differently?
Name one thing.
Sure. Okay.
that they're soft on.
Sure. Look at the difference between the treatment of Mueller versus the Ken Starr investigation. I'm naming it right now. I can't even finish.
Okay, please go.
Ken Starr went on a 4-year fishing expedition to find something wrong with Bill Clinton, and finally found the Monica Lewinsky thing, and all the Democrats applauded and they said it was fine and that's okay. Mueller uncovers credible shit relating to Trump. Trump literally stymies and attacks that investigation at every single step of the way, and nothing happens to him.
Okay, hold on.
That's a difference.
He's saying that the DOJ should be more fucking aggressive in pursuing Trump.
Okay,
Wait, nothing happens to him.
Is that it?
He's about to
I'm saying that when the Department of Justice, in Pisco's world, when the Department of Justice is prosecuting a Republican, they go, well, we need to be very sensitive so that we're not doing anything politically crazy. And when a Republican establishment is going after Democrats, it's like, how do we fuck these guys up as hard as we possibly fucking can?
And you want the Democrats to do the same thing?
Within the bounds of the law? Fuck yes.
Yeah, and what did the Ken Starr investigation get the Republicans?
They disgraced Bill's record, I guess, and they got him impeached or whatever, and that was like a big deal and all that bullshit or whatever. Maybe.
Yeah, but he continued to be president and still well.
Yeah, but wasn't that he was in his last? Yeah.
So just to be clear, they're soft because the DOJ is slow.
No, it's not
they're
slow.
They're willing to
it's
allow them to be
selectively slow.
It's selectively
slow.
And that's why they're soft.
Selectively slow.
That's the only major.
Here's the difference: is that Trump's DOJ. Okay, Trump pardoned every single fucking crook around him that was supporting his bullshit, and Biden's DOJ convicted his own fucking son of some crazy crimes. That's the difference. In Donald Trump's world, his DOJ is never doing that, and Pisco's like, "That's so fucking great, Daddy Trump. I'm so glad." And then when the Democrats are doing it, they're like, "Why don't you charge his other son with some fucking crimes too? I'm sure he did something. We got to be better than them."
So wait, what's the solution to that? To not pardon?
The solution is when Republicans fuck up, throw the fucking book at them. Be a harsh judge. Go after them. Be a good prosecutor. Do your fucking job. Do your job. Do your job. That's it. Do your fucking job.
You do it faster?
No, you do it.
What is do it?
What do you
As in,
do?
you don't wait. You don't wait.
Faster.
As in. As in, when NARA sends you a request for documents, when they say, hey, we think you got a bunch of like classified shit, can you send that back? You don't wait 9 or 10 months before you're like.
So it sounds like a speed issue. It sounds like a speed issue.
It's not just a speed issue.
Okay.
It's a speed issue that's allowing him to run for president without ever having seen the inside of a federal court.
Okay, so
that's the issue. It is a speed issue. Yes.
Well, you can say, well, that was the point of contention I kind of wanted to get to, because I know you said something earlier where it's like, hey, we're allowing this person who is doing something.
When it was about Hillary Clinton.
That's
hold on.
crazy.
Wait,
I'm going to finish though.
Okay.
So,
Go ahead.
You're allowing a president to be able, or somebody run for president who you guys all agree is doing something, unlawful, right? Yeah. So should the DOJ go, hey, this is a person that might not be eligible for being the president, we should expedite our investigation, potentially fuck it up in order to be able to get you.
So
you would
what
say
you just said, hold on, I just want you to know what you just said. Pisco, acknowledge this. What he just said is exactly what happened with Hillary Clinton and Comey. That's exactly what happened.
It was wrong.
No, say it. Say it was exactly what happened.
It's not quite, but
this guy.
It's not quite.
He's trolling. He came here to troll us.
It's not.
It is exact. What did they say? What did Charlie Kirk say that was retweeted? The same shit Trump said on debate stage. You should. Why are you going to vote for somebody who's under FBI investigation? Why do we even know that? Because they expedited the investigation as quickly as they fucking could. They announced everything publicly. They announced they were reopening it. They announced when they closed it. They announced when they didn't have anything to announce. Comey was out. Comey came out and he was like, just so you know, Comey came out. The same thing they did kind of with the fucking Her report. Comey came out and he's like, hey, just so you know, we're not going to recommend any charges, but let's tell you like all that kind of the weird shit that we found anyway, just to like, cause fuck Hillary and fuck the Dems.
The only difference is the last part where there's no evidence that they expedited the investigation, the initial one. It's the second one. It's the one where they announced it like days before the election, and which we all acknowledge was a big fuck up.
Well, I was going to say, so is your...
That arguably cost her the election.
You acknowledge it's a fuck up.
For an expedition of the investigation in order to...
I'm advocating...
He just put himself in a trap.
No, I didn't. I'm about to get out of the trap. Ready? I'm about to get out of the trap. Ready?
And he knows I'm about to do it.
What I'm saying is I'm saying that it just needs to be the same rules. That's it. So if they're going to do it, then you're going to be as aggressive with the law.
We're against Comey, and so we should be consistent.
Wait, what does that matter?
Wait, hold on.
It doesn't matter that you're against Comey. Hillary still lost the election. Comey still made the announcement. And they're going to do it again if they have the opportunity to.
So the idea is if you're against it, right, you have a reason to be against it because...
Yeah, the reason is so they don't do it to us. But if you're going to do it to us anyway, then fuck it. If we agree to have a fucking fight outside, okay, and we say no weapons...
The reason why no weapons is because I don't want to fucking kill you, bro.
And you don't want to get killed! And you don't want to get killed!
Well, yeah, and I don't want to kill you.
But if you find out that I'm going to bring a knife, are you going to not bring a knife so that I don't bring a knife?
I'm just not showing up.
No, wait.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not showing up.
But that's the problem. But kidding aside, that's not an option. It's tit for tat. It's game theory. At the end of the day, if Republicans believe that they can act with impunity and that they can behave asymmetrically, and Democrats give them no reason to believe that we will match their energy or at least step in that direction, they will continue to do so.
Yeah, so here's the trap. So then it's exactly where we started, where it's like you guys are blue MAGA. You're like, okay, they're doing crazy shit, so we're going to do crazy shit. We're going to do crazy shit. That's literally what you just said. Tit for tat, we got to play, we got to fight back. That's what it is. I'm not even like super educated on this shit. All I'm saying is
there's a way off the blue MAGA train, which is that you have to set really clear lines about who gets to be targeted for very, very specific things. So if you drew the line at being like, I would not be okay with this in any other instance, but with an insurrectionist who won't get named as an insurrectionist, then that might be off of the blue MAGA train, because a big part of the blue MAGA train is it doesn't seem like there is a clear ending point. It's ascending and collecting as much power to Trump for as long as possible. Yep. Whereas in this difference, not that I'm trying to make your guys' argument for you or anything, but in this case, I think I could be wrong, but it seems like you guys have one target and one target alone, which is Donald Trump, the insurrection.
Well, no, that's
arrangement syndrome.
Whoa. Yeah.
Listen, maybe if somebody makes half the country crazy, regardless of which side is crazy, maybe that's a problem, and we should think about that.
Just to bring it back, I'm not saying that, to use the analogy, killing, right? I'm not saying killing is wrong, killing being using crazy tactics. I'm not saying killing is always wrong, right? You can defend yourself, and I'm assuming that's the position that you two have in this context. It is self-defense is what is happening.
Yes.
Here,
Do you
right?
think that we should ever nuke somebody?
Yeah, of course we can. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you were supposed to say no. Generally, we don't want to nuke someone, right?
No, we can. We absolutely can. Yes.
First use. First
We
use.
probably shouldn't nuke
Okay,
people,
generally,
right?
you
Yes.
said can.
Okay,
Yes,
but
we
should
can.
we nuke somebody?
No, probably not.
Should we disarm all of our nukes?
Everyone
No.
should.
Yes!
Nuclear defense.
No! Everyone should.
Yeah.
Should we unilaterally do it?
Destiny.
Sorry.
Spikes of space.
Should we unilaterally do it? No. But right now, he wants us to unilaterally disarm.
You're not. He needs something to hold in his hand.
Yeah, it's gonna be Pisco's neck.
Have something to hold.
I have a question. You keep on. So we were talking about the Democrats not being aggressive enough. Do you worry that the only kind of Democrats who would be aggressive enough would be the kind of people who would be more extreme on other things that you would be
Absolutely.
uncomfortable with?
100% they are. Yes. That is
He's upset.
objective.
What's
for you.
wrong?
Like
Dustin.
What's wrong?
we're advocating for center left Dems to be extreme right now.
Oh,
Okay.
the centrists are going to be.
There is a world. There is a world. Ha ha ha! You laugh as the centrists were destroyed, and that's where the Nazis came from. By the way, was literally the destruction of the fucking Social Democrat Party. Okay, but the reality is, okay, the reality is right now. Okay, even if they went too far and fucked up a little bit, it's still better than when you have a guy who literally had to get the Constitution rewritten to run for president again because he's a fucking insurrectionist.
You just
okay?
said the last time centrists went hard, it created Nazis, and that's also what you want?
No, I'm saying that them not going hard
Them
and
not
saying
going
like,
hard
yeah,
to
and
the
allowing
Nazis.
all the crazy shit for the other
What we're
people to go.
saying is
Yes.
there's a world where central libs have a backbone and aren't fucking pussies about everything, which is what they are right now, which is why, first of all, leftists are popular with anyone who has a backbone, particularly young people.
Leftists don't have the majority of the party, though.
They don't have the majority of the party because most people grow up, have kids, and then lose their backbone because they'd rather keep financial security for themselves than like fight for things that
Leftists
matter.
don't care about this stuff, though. Leftists think that we have Trump-Deranged syndrome.
Sure, but the issue is that at least they're agitated and willing to fight.
Yeah, but I feel like that we care about what Trump did. And a lot of leftists, and I have to say, Stephen for a little bit thought that January 6th was no
The
big
issue
deal.
is, can't you have center left people with good balanced principles also take from like the populace or whatever group you want to label them as and be a little feisty, because you shouldn't just be the example.
I'm in favor of being a little feisty.
What do you think serves justice better? Okay.
Yeah.
If Donald Trump's case was moved along a little bit faster, or if Donald Trump wins the election and dismisses the case?
As between those two options,
Yeah.
moving the case faster.
Would better serve justice?
Yeah.
Okay, so isn't that kind of like the two options that we're potentially looking at?
What
But
if
once you start down that road, if you consider it, where does it end?
Which road? So do we go down the road where we allow them to dictate everything, or do
now
we
you're
go down
saying
the road to where we have more
the
agency?
Justice Department should be looking at Trump's character, his statements, and be like, oh, because we have the knowledge essentially that he'll shut us down, we need to move faster to prevent that.
Do you think that the Justice Department, do you think that they would give 10 months to anybody else for classified material?
I think for the president, yeah, I think they would give.
He's not the.
He
For
was
the
a former president.
No, given the statutory requirements of willfulness, I think that it's not unreasonable the amount of time. I think it's unreasonable what Trump did, but given the high level of proof that you would need to show willfulness of a former president, it's going to be a high standard. And the fact that you
What do you
waited
mean
that
for
long.
I'm curious, just because
So
I'm not a
going
lawyer.
to say
When you say former
as
president.
quickly as possible. So the former presidents and former vice presidents, like Biden, like Trump was, are immune to classification rules. That means they have a plausible basis to say. And NDI. This applies to NDI.
You know what's? You know what I just realized? Wait.
NDI too.
You know what I just realized? The investigation into Biden finished before fucking Trump's investigation, and he did it fucking first. What the fuck? And we got a full ass fucking
If you wanna
report
blame
about
someone for
it.
that, blame
We got a
Eileen.
full ass fucking report. What the fuck?
Blame Eileen Cannon. I'm telling you truth right now, which is former presidents and former vice presidents, while they're in office, they are immune to the rules related to NDI and to classified information. They just are. Read the Her report. Read the.
Wait. Former vice presidents are immune
No,
to.
sorry. Currents are immune. Currents are immune.
Was Trump the president?
No,
when
he
they,
wasn't. No,
Then what does that have to do with anything we're talking about?
Asshole. Let me get it out. So, as a former, he has a plausible case to say, I thought that I was allowed to do this, because the prosecution needs to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, not just that you knowingly withheld it. You knowingly withheld it, and you knew it.
Sure,
was against
but
the
maybe
law.
instead of waiting 10 months to refer to the FBI, maybe they could refer to the FBI in like 1 month.
They referred to the FBI as soon as they got the documents.
Which took them like 9 months.
Okay, but it took a while for NARA to get the documents. At that time, there's not a basis for an investigation
Why
just
did
yet.
it take 9 months?
Because Donald Trump
is
and them were busy hiding his shit around all over Mar-a-Lago and figuring out what he wanted to keep and what he didn't want to keep. Well, he was telling his employee to hide it from his other employees.
How is that possible? How is
Because
it
Merrick Garland is a spineless hack. Fuck.
How is it?
At that time, Nara
I want
doesn't
you
know.
to answer though.
Yeah.
How is it possible that the DOJ couldn't just basically tell Trump, being like, "Hey, fuck you, turn in the documents, like turn it in"?
Because at this point, it's just a dispute between Nara and a former president about which documents are presidential records and which are personal. That is normal.
This happens a
Oh,
lot.
no, that is not
It
normal.
does.
You're dead wrong.
No, he's
You're
right.
both wrong.
He's
It is
right.
normal that there's a negotiation afterwards where stuff, because a lot of stuff will get retroactively classified. You might, whatever.
No, we're not talking
There
about
was stuff-
classification. We're just talking
Taking
about
home stuff.
presidential
Yeah, no,
records.
yes, that happens.
Yeah.
It's not normal
Wait,
to
no,
wait
no.
10 months for a response and to tell your employees to hide shit
I'm
around
willing
one
to
of your
bet-
15 massive
I'm
mansions.
willing to bet this happens all the time where they reach out and they go, hey, I think you got some stuff. It's like, oh, look through the boxes. It's like, okay. And they just go through the motions.
And they wait for almost a
Why
year
would
to
they
give anything
assume-
back.
Why would they
Assume it's
assume that he's
classified.
hiding stuff and he has all
I don't
these
think
secrets?
you would. I don't think you would assume that after 1 month. Maybe after 2 months.
feel like if
after
all-
3 months, 4, 5, 6. I don't know. I think at some
What?
point you're like, it's kind of fucking weird.
But Nara followed up on it, and they pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed until they finally got a bunch of boxes. And, and at that moment, when they saw the classified documents, instantly they referred it to the Department of Justice.
It feels like so insanely long.
Instantly, after 10 months, instantly.
It feels insane.
But you're accusing the DOJ of being slow, right? Like, look at this. You're accusing the DOJ of being slow. Until they get the referral from Nara, how can they be acting slow?
How long after? Well, Nara should have reverted faster
Wait,
then.
But also, the DOJ's not thinking something nefarious is going on. I know it seems like it,
They
but
should be.
They received a box. It's got some stuff mixed in it, classified documents.
That
I
was
was
like
like,
nine or 10 months later.
Okay, but
Nara
they're-
does. Nara
Right.
gets the box. They're like, whoa.
How long? Once it was for the FBI, how long was it for an indictment?
They had it. Well, first they got a subpoena because you need to prove that they know it's illegal and unlawful to retain it.
Well,
the NDI.
And they gave him 2 months, I think, to comply with the subpoena.
Yeah, and so they talked out, and then he purported
2 months?
he purported to comply with the subpoena. Subpoena might take a while to comply with you. They're asking for every single marked classified document.
I feel it feels
So
like
they
a,
asked him to turn it over voluntarily.
Wait. It feels like a high priority. If
Why are you
somebody's
making us defend Trump?
like, I don't know.
Why are you so eager?
It can take weeks to do a document
I
review.
could be
It can
wrong.
ju-
Do
it-
therapists get like weeks and months to like
Guys.
subpoena their case notes, or do they have to turn them over instantly? And aren't they
It
required
takes a
to?
while to do a document collection and document review and to produce the documents.
And
It
also,
does.
they're not thinking he's
How long?
doing
Wait,
something
wait,
nefarious.
How long was it after Biden's reporting his own document to NARA, whatever? How long did it take for a special counsel to be appointed?
He was appointed.
Was that in a
the
matter of
same
weeks?
day
Same day.
As
Oh!
I think
Did he
it was
just say the same day?
It was very close in time to the Trump one.
Was all of this after January 6th? Just,
Yeah, it's all
just so
after
I
January
understand.
6th.
So in what world would they give him any level of like best faith interpretation, like at 3 months and 4 months?
He wasn't
and, like,
he wasn't
shouldn't Nara
indicted
have
yet.
Shouldn't he have been pushed way harder for? Like
Why?
Because isn't it a little bit sussy that the guy who did
Insurrection
J6
guy?
isn't turning over the?
You have to follow rules of procedure. I
It's
just,
Nara though, isn't
Hold
it?
on. To be clear, there's
You can't
nothing.
be like,
They
I
could
don't
just
like
indict
Trump.
him. They could just indict him. What do you mean
Okay,
rules of procedure?
For what? For what? For what?
It's fucking probable cause.
For what?
For stealing the documents. It's probable cause. You don't need 99%. You're not doing the criminal case
You're
yet.
gonna indict the former president.
The guy who just did the insurrection? Yeah.
for
Yes.
just
Yeah.
stealing documents.
The guy who just did the insurrection? Yeah.
for like petty theft.
The guy who just did the insurrection? Petty theft is stealing classified. No, that wouldn't even be the indictment before.
At the time that he's like not giving it everything to Nara, at that time, what's the basis for indictment?
Yeah.
Because he's a fucking asshole.
Yeah,
He's
that's
orange.
exactly. There we go.
You would follow up on the documents faster than 10 months. Faster than 10 months.
No, but after the referral, they issued a subpoena. I mean, I don't know within like weeks.
I'm curious. I am
believe
curious
it's,
here.
you know,
So
weeks or
the way you said indict him for petty theft. Again,
Yeah.
you're the lawyer here. Here's where I'm confused. Are former presidents obligated to follow every single law I am?
Yes and no.
He doesn't want to walk into your trap, so he's not going to answer that.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
former president, there are carve-outs for different stuff. I'm not going to pretend to speak to everything, but in general, they're private citizens and they're subject to all the laws. Yes.
Cool. So why should there be any consideration, to any indictment ever, that they are former presidents?
Because I'm trying to explain to you, the classified document, the Espionage Act statutes for which he would be eligible for indictment require a standard of willfulness. And because they were president at the time the documents were absconded with, there can be a reasonable argument that he thought what he was doing was authorized.
Let me rephrase the question. Okay, so it sounds like you don't think that necessarily they could have charged him
I think the obstruction stuff, once he obstructs, that's proof that he knows it's illegal.
Right,
and that's what's necessary for the willful retention.
but I'm hung up on petty theft because you made it sound ridiculous that we would.
That's a reference to the time period in which he was not complying with NARA, and Steven seemed to say, "Why don't the DOJ should indict him?"
No, I understand.
Like, what should he indict him for?
Would you be okay with former presidents being indicted for petty theft?
Yes, of a certain value.
They could just indict him for the documents.
No, for a certain value. But at that time, there could be a genuine argument of presidential record versus personal.
No. I'm just saying as a matter of principle. Like, I want to make sure that you are not so deferential to the person being a former president that you think that.
Of course not. No, I'm in favor of these investigations. I'm in favor of the one against Biden.
That the standard should just be automatically higher for former presidents.
No, I'm not arguing that. Although in the real world, you don't want to look like a jackass, and so maybe you.
So you do want to make political considerations.
I'm just saying it's an added gloss that if you're going after the former president, you're probably going to want your top guy on it. It's an added gloss. It's marginal. She obviously should be subject to the same rules and procedures of normal citizens. It's an added little gloss. But the way in which it's substantive, Josiah, to answer your point, is if it relates to an element of the underlying charge, which being a former president, I'm sorry to say, is relevant both under the immunity doctrines that we've just been expounded and also the willfulness mens rea.
He was indicted before the immunity.
I understand that, but there are other issues related to immunity.
So then wait, why aren't you wholly opposed to the appointment of the special counsel? Why would you assume any wrongdoing? He was literally the president.
That's a conflict of interest issue. That has to do with the perception of bias.
So that's a political thing then.
Wait, which special counsel? Are you talking about Trump's special counsel or her for
Biden's document? Because he was president when he had that. Why wouldn't you just assume that, like, oh, those must have been his documents? Of course, he's the president.
Because I think that when you're the top of the DOJ, which the president is the head of the executive branch, I think that there's almost like an inherent conflict of interest. It's almost like, you guys ever, let's say that you assigned like Dan to do the due diligence or to do the investigation.
Wait. Why is there a conflict of interest? Wait. There's not even a crime. What are we talking about? Wait. Are you telling me there's a conflict of interest for petty theft?
No.
Wait, because there's no crime yet, right? Because you got to prove the willfulness, right?
No. Are you talking about the Joe Biden investigation?
Joe Biden's investigation on documents. When he gave it back, why did there need to be a special counsel for petty theft investigation?
Because he presides over the Department of Justice.
Yeah, so for a petty theft investigation, there needs to be a special counsel.
Yes, of himself.
Okay, all right, there you go, petty theft.
Wait a second. So Destiny.
Here's what I'm saying. If Biden leaves Walmart and the guy, the greeter, asks for the receipt for the bubble gum and he doesn't have it, he's like special counsel next day.
Yeah, Republican or Democrat
DOJ?
special counsel. Republican or Democrat.
You don't look to political.
Why have they all been Republican?
Isn't that weird?
What do you want me to say?
Why does it work that way?
I don't know. I think it's setting a good example that you pick someone from the other side. For our ideal America that we're all building towards.
The one that's getting further and further every day from us.
So you just abandon it? You know, what if everybody's raping?
You fight for it.
If everybody's raping people around you, are you going to start raping people too?
Kamala didn't do any petty theft.
Can we just talk about how much better it will be under Kamala, and she'll appoint good people?
Hopefully not Republicans.
But listen, if Republicans, but in Pisco's world, if Republicans don't want her to, then she should just like roll over and just
Everyone of my mutuals and my followers, they think that you guys look insane because I am the most Dem-pilled, Kamala-pilled person that there is.
Venn diagram of his audience and Rob Norris, by the way, okay? So just so you know who we're talking about, okay?
You mean a circle?
You acting like I'm a Republican or Republican light.
Let me ask you,
that's
Jessiah, if Republicans president had a special counsel, would you want it to be a Democrat?
Only because I would like to see that scale tip back because
no, I don't want it to. I would rather have it be a Republican. Because if it was a Democrat, they'd probably be even fucking worse. They'd probably be even meaner because they'd have to show you how. It's like, you know what? You know who the Dems are? The Dems are the parent in school who's the teacher. and then they have a kid, and they're like, I don't want people to think that I'm being nice to my kid. So they're the so they're the hardest on that. They're whiplash to their kid. Okay, they're Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood to all the other students, and they're whiplash to their kid.
The boogie tune.
And Pisco's like, isn't that better for them though? Isn't it making a better drummer?
Yeah.
I think Pisco and I believe in the system, and we just think there's some bad actors in it right now. So we shouldn't break the whole thing.
By bad actors,
but it
you
can
mean
go for
half
decades.
of the parties that are involved in our system
Yes,
right now.
it can. And listen, times of polarization lead to constitutional amendments and lead to good outcomes. So I think it's a short period of time in our history that it's a rough patch.
We have the hardest.
We're beating the horse. I don't know what we're doing.
We have the hardest constitution to amend in the world. 27,000.
Guys, the election is tomorrow. Can we get some positivity?
Yes.
And stop
Okay.
fighting about
Yeah.
this?
You're right. You're right. Here. Yes. So
I feel like you hate me. You're like super angry at me.
Boo, tomato,
you
tomato,
don't,
tomato,
you don't
tomato.
feel that after every episode of Live and
True.
Learn. We end up screaming.
I just
at
want
each
to
other.
say, given how fucked up, and chaotic it all is now, it's just the fact is that this is also the American system kind of just reflecting what the population wants. Half of the eligible voters want this, right? They want Trump and they want Republicans and they want all these crazy fucks. And you guys are just like, rather than dealing with that, you guys are just like, how do we deal with the consequences of what half the country believes?
Yes, you're gonna piss off the other half. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. How is these solutions going to do anything to make those Republicans become less radical?
I think that's a great question. You want to know the answer is? You want
They're not going to become less radical?
No, they will become. They will become less radical.
Okay.
I think every Democrat should resign from Congress. I think President Biden and Vice President Harris should resign right now.
Dude.
And because Speaker Mike Johnson is next in line of succession,
Dude, keep
so he
talking
becomes
shit.
president. Here's my point: if the whole calculus is what's going to make Republicans happy, then we just
That's
might as
a
well
great
toss
Kermit
them.
voice.
We might as well toss them the fucking keys.
That's true.
It is true. I'm
We
sorry.
have to
There's a
live with these
line.
people. We
There's
have
a
to-
line, asshole.
These
There's
are
a
Americans.
line.
We have to live with them. We can't just break all the rules.
Yeah, and my
But
motive.
you cannot meet in the middle with people who have abandoned their principles, but at the same time, we in the process cannot fully abandon all of our principles, which is why I said there has to be specific targets and specific principles about who
Yes,
gets to be
there is
the
a specific target, a Republican. So the issue is, okay.
No, not that.
In Pisco's world, Pisco's like, I don't think Kamala Harris should certify the election if she wins. Okay, that's what Pisco wants. Okay,
as a gesture of unity to make the other half
Yes.
happy.
I'm gonna do what Vice President Pence didn't. Okay,
Right.
I'm gonna fuck this election up.
I'm brave.
Okay, I'm gonna pivot the conversation
please
for
do.
the last little. We're actually gonna pivot the conversation this time.
Yes.
Okay,
We're gonna
we're
fake
doing
pivot.
it. We're not gonna fake pivot. Okay.
We're done. We're done with this.
We
Okay.
already did this. No more. That's gonna restart it somehow. I don't know how it works, but it magically recharges the conversation. It's incredible. Okay, DGG verse. What is your favorite notable villain arc?
I love Vegan Gaines. I don't know if he's a villain.
Is it villain? Is Vegan Gaines
I
a
know
villain?
it.
What do you mean?
I don't know if he's a villain.
What do you mean?
Yeah, can you define that? Sorry.
Yeah, what do you mean by villain arc?
I
Is it
wasn't
like what
expecting
Pisco-
to have
is
to
it-
define terms here.
Is it like what Pisco's doing right now?
Toronto's so bad.
No, wait, hold on. Wait, you
Girl,
asked for
Anna.
epic moments earlier. I don't think this moment will ever be top on stream. Okay, honestly, and I'm so proud of it. I thought it was the fake Jordan Peterson talk into the Kevil's Manifesto.
Oh,
I like that. That was amazing. What did it? Thank you. I think it was Cyber Vegan or somebody else that like cooked that like whole music video up in like fucking.
I told you not to do it.
12 hours. Really?
Yeah.
You know what's great?
You told him not to do the Peterson swap. Oh, I thought it was
So
an epic
I
idea.
remember that so vividly because I had planned. There was some sort of like some friends and I were going out to a brewery, and I lied to my friends. If you guys are watching, you may recall this. And I said I wasn't feeling well just so I could stay home and watch that conversation. And then and then then he said something about Keffel, and I had no idea who that was. I'm like, is this? And I sat there for about 15 more minutes.
Being like, where's Pete?
Yeah, you fucking lied and betrayed me.
And then your Peterson conversation wasn't even that good.
I liked who was that guy, Jack something, where you were talking about, and he was Big Mad. Who was Big Mad?
Yes, I do remember that. That's the one piece of drama I remember too, where he kept breathing heavy and making comments. And you said he breathes heavier than Matt Bellamy. that was pretty funny.
I like Big Mad. He's a funny guy.
Yeah. All right.
I liked the recent one where that guy came in and you and Turkey Tom were in there. and he convinced you that he was friends with the girl that had written that. He was like, I was the one who told her to put freshly in there. Freshly.
To be clear, I was in on that as well. Turkey Tom was not in on that. I was also in on that joke. I was also in on that joke. I was also in on that joke.
Were you actually?
No, he's lying.
Why would I lie about that?
He's lying.
completely lying.
Okay, and then my favorite villain arcs.
Yeah.
Or do you not want this?
Yeah, no.
Boogie. The recent Boogie one was.
The Boogie was great, but he wasn't a villain.
All I principally care about is that
In a way, he was a villain.
Okay.
And funny moments on it, and the villains' arcs are always the.
You talked about how I quit streaming. I was really upset that I quit before Lav came in because I really do feel like I could have fixed her. I always felt that every time I watched it, I was like, she's like, the thinking is like almost there, but it's like
she's not stupid.
I was like, she's just wrong, but she's not.
She's
she
not
could
dumb.
be right.
She's not completely wrong.
So I was really upset to not be streaming at that time.
How would you fix her character, her moral character?
Give her more berets.
Because I don't think that she's dumb. I don't think her problem is that she's dumb. I think that she's like kind of fundamentally a bad person right now.
Oh.
Like just has bad morals.
Oh.
Probably, but I mean,
or maybe like morals are like fast and loose to like whatever serves you in the moment. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know how I could fix that.
Oh.
But I could fix her brain. And I actually, and I mean this in total solidarity, I love the Anna arc, and I'm solidarity with Anna.
You love the what? Arc?
Anna.
Arc.
I had a happy ending.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm friends.
Eventually, yeah.
It took 4 years.
We got there.
Yeah. I don't know, K911, is that applicable?
Sure. Yeah,
I just think watching Hassan get so
You guys are so into
over
him,
that
huh?
is so funny to me.
You guys love him.
No,
They
but
love,
it was,
they love to
They
hate
love
him.
talking about him. He occupies your headspace 24/7.
but it was the whole community coming together to do something.
Yeah, the
That
art,
was-
the
that
pixel
was
art
nice.
stuff.
Yeah.
I was actually pretty
Art
impressed by
slash
the.
place is super
Mm-hmm.
cute.
Yeah.
It's super cute to watch like the DGG community like get together and like time it
Yeah.
and like just take it so artistically seriously
And-
to like make little pictures and art. I think it's so cute.
And watching you learn different systems and seeing what works to get them
I
to
didn't
fire
learn
and all
those.
that.
Those came from EVE Online. My days commanding police there.
Okay. Your spaceships, yeah, cool.
Really?
I don't have like a I
Favorite
guess a
arc, favorite arc, favorite
Okay,
moment, funny
arc
moment.
genuinely
Anything, yeah.
might be what's happening right now with Twitch and
the Dan Clancy.
stuff.
Oh,
That might be.
Hassan lost his Bernie Sanders interview.
Oh no.
But we don't know for sure, do we? Is that 100% gone?
That's Dan's villain arc, though.
Yeah,
That
well,
is-
yeah, but it's Dan in the community, and
It's Dan's Batman arc.
Yeah, this has been by far the most like engaging, interesting, thought-provoking. Like I love that it's actually there's change that is happening.
It's actually
it feels incredible.
It's really interesting to see DGG mobilize in such a like specific way because I feel like very few communities online get mobilized, and like obviously I've been working with DGG all year doing like the canvassing event, so I'm like very aware of how they kind of can mobilize politically and stuff.
Yeah.
Even with like no offense, but pretty lackluster like hoorah go canvas. And it's very interesting to watch like the Dan Clancy stuff because obviously everyone's really passionate
Yeah.
about it and excited. It's like you've got Congress on it.
Yep.
I don't know what all Dan has said publicly, so I won't go into the list of things that are happening. But it's like it's pretty fucking insane what the community can do.
Yeah.
Is there like
Well, and I think
another
it's-
thing that should be done?
Well, I think it's activism once again.
Yeah,
you
it
know,
is.
like
It's
you
literally-
had the canvassing, that's activism, and this is people saying, "Holy shit! If I contact my congressman," I mean, there's people who probably called their Congress a member for the first time ever and emailed them.
Yeah.
Maybe they got a response, maybe they didn't, but they did it, and so maybe people don't agree with the reasons to do it, or maybe they do. You got people to do that.
Yeah,
so.
that's what I was gonna say. Made it very accessible to be able to a lot of people for the first time to be able to engage politically locally,
Yes.
and then also with like the canvassing stuff. So those are like my arcs is like the political activation that I think is really interesting and fun. But especially with this Twitch one because there's a lot of people who are more plugged in or feel more connected to this type of thing, and it is a really big issue. So I really like that. But if we're talking like fun like meme stuff that's like kind of engaging was I liked the like Lab Mr. Gold shit. I thought that shit was nutty, bro. That shit was crazy, dude.
150,000 words.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was like, oh, there ain't no way, bro. But yeah, I mean, it was very fun engaging with like those ideas, no matter how like crazy they were. It was super interesting getting like ABBA to come in and be like,
with
this kid-
Annalisa. Remember what was fuck? What was the Lav said to somebody like excuse me, like please let me do this. I know so much about like black women's issues.
Yeah, dude, it's
gosh, what a legend.
So many memes and everybody had their input and their takes and stuff. It was a lot of fun. I liked it.
I like infrared.
Oh, when he yelled at you and he wasn't even on camera. Do you remember that very first conversation he had with you? Probably not. He was standing.
With like
So his face was cut off. He's like, I want to fight you, Destiny.
Oh Jesus.
He's funny.
Was that the guy you called
AK-447?
He's the one that obsessed about how you have a long torso, right?
Something like that.
Because he was sitting next to him.
Sit for my
He was
sage.
taller than him, so he's like, he's just got a long torso, man.
It was when he kept on getting cut off on the mic in that debate.
Oh, that was Raleigh.
With Dylan. No, it was Haz and Dylan. It was Haz and Hinkle.
You do. It's gonna over.
No, it was Haz and Hinkle against Stephen and Dylan.
Oh, that was
And the moderator kept on cutting him off, but because it was a fucking StreamYard or
And
something,
he kept, like,
Haz
clicking,
could unmute
yeah.
himself. You just hear this constant cut off, like, is it true that you're skinny fat? You got a body like Sid from Ice Age.
When Haz
Cock,
said that he
fuck.
liked Wagner.
Oh yes, I was about to say
Wagner,
yeah.
and when Haz
said he
said he
liked
was like, I
Wagner.
love Wagner, and you were like, which piece? And then,
Kanye.
and then he's like, Kanye's from where I'm from.
Lake Michigan, where I'm
Kanye's from Lake
from.
Michigan.
And
Famous Chicago.
Fuentes was on that call, and he's from Chicago. He got mad. And the other one, we like that he has a sword.
I love the sword. I think if you're gonna go hard.
He has a sword?
I think one of my favorite clips of all time. I have two favorite clips. I'm so sorry. They're both from very bad people. But one is from when Zerka is on stream talking about how he wound up Haz before the fucking debate.
No, I don't know.
No, I don't.
Oh
I don't
my
think I've seen it.
God.
Could you find it?
If somebody in chat can link it and somebody can click it, just give them like 20 seconds to link it. That one is fucking nice. I also really like. It's not good, but I think the Dark Knight clip where Nick Fuentes is the Joker and he's like,
say
I
the
really like
N-word.
slurs or whatever. Or yeah, I say the N-word or some shit, and then Batman, and then it's my voice like, you're really gonna like me. Yeah, that's a good one. I butchered the fuck out of me, but those are my two favorite
Blow
clips.
it up. Come on, guys. Give
Someone
me
will
a
find
link.
it.
They won't find it.
Linkers.
That's DGG. What do you mean they won't find it?
They have 20 seconds.
You just said they're good at mobilizing.
They're good at mobilizing.
Right now,
They'll do it. They'll do
They're
it.
canvassing. They're
I
too
believe
busy
in you guys.
canvassing, getting out the vote. Keep knocking.
There
Okay.
it is. Click that first one. If it's wrong, then permaban him.
I'm not doing that.
Oh fuck, that's the Fuentes one.
It's like going up to somebody and I'm like, you say the N-word. I like that. And Destiny's like, you're gonna love me.
That's a good
That's a good one.
I need the Zerka one though. Now we're gonna watch that video. The Zerka one is so funny. This was after. So Zerka and Haz were friends. Now these are fine.
Guys.
Zerka and Haz were friends.
Zerka clip.
And Zerka was talking about how he had basically wound up Haz like before the debate. Fuck, is it really that hard to find? Try that one. Who did it? Wait. All right, no more links.
No way he's level 5 or whatever.
That's
You can't
okay.
do it.
Ban it for a day.
No way.
Ban for election day?
No,
Tier 5.
don't do that.
Guys,
No.
Jader, just so you know, I have
He
all the
knows better.
power. I have all the power, and I'm forgiving you. Despite
He gets one.
True.
Jader, your next
Despite your
invoice is at a
streamer.
20% discount. You better reply it at the end or I'm not PayPaling you. Thank you. It's one of my two website maintainers.
So close, so close.
Nope. That's the Joker one.
somebody give me the Zerka one. Come on.
I can't believe he got away with
Mobilizers, by the way. That, by the way.
Try that one.
They made their choice.
Horse crotch snake. Do we trust him?
It's a white name.
I'm just
How
curious.
am I
John,
supposed
Oh, that's him screaming at.
John,
I
that's
just
good,
did
though.
TOS
No,
because you won't
dude.
let me defend
That's the
myself.
softest
You're
shit in the
literally
world.
still
That's
talking over me,
dude, you will
and
go
won't
down
let
as
me
the biggest
fucking defend
pussy
myself.
on this
All
platform
you
in the
did is
history
talk
of
over me.
mankind.
All you fucking
You
did is
are
talk
gonna
over
go
me.
down as
All
the
you
biggest
fucking
pussy
did
in
is
the
talk
history
over
of
me.
this fucking platform.
All right. Is it?
No, you gotta give out. Sorry.
All you
Yeah,
fucking
fuck
did is
off, you
talk over
baby
me.
fuck. All right,
All you
keep fucking
fucking
quiet.
did
Dude,
is talk
mission
over me.
fucking
All
completed.
you
dude.
fucking did is talk over me.
God, dude.
It's talk over me. All you fucking did is talk over over me. All you fucking did is talk over me.
Reel in your man, John.
Holy
fucking
all you
shit.
fucking
Reel in your
did
fucking
is
man, John.
talk over me.
You gotta
Not
reel this guy
fucking
in.
twice.
That's
Okay, I don't know if we're getting the Zerka clip.
I don't know if we have it. I don't know. I don't know what.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Someone put it in the Reddit later if you find it.
All right.
Yeah, we'll find it.
Let's try the next one, I guess.
Instagram? No.
No. Damn, we really don't have the Zerka clip, guys.
My dad is convinced that Haas is like a secret Syrian.
Your dad knows who Haas is?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Darius, Destiny.
It's already been clicked, so it's not it.
Has it already been clicked too? Is that what it means? When
That's
it's
the problem,
purple?
yeah.
Guys, you can do this. Purple.
Nope. All right, fuck them.
Fuck you guys. No Zerka.
People are saying Zerka Haas at the bottom of chat. Click more messages below. Oh, wait. Oh, fuck. That was it. Wait.
Livestream Fizz?
No, maybe, yeah. That might be it.
Haley, what's your schedule
And
looking
then
like?
chat is.
For what?
No.
I mean, like, when do you usually
This
wake
is
up?
not it.
Can you make it for late night shows?
Oh yeah, 100%.
That is
I mean,
funny,
to be
but
honest,
no, close it, close it. You
like
gotta
I
close it.
said before-
Not good.
Wait, no, they don't have it. You guys are retarded. Okay.
Dude, how do you not play League of Legends at all anymore?
Fuck that.
Wow.
Oh, what's the LSF one?
That's
the
one
one
we
you
just
should click.
clicked.
It's not a. These guys are retarded.
They're saying they linked it.
They're linking the wrong clip.
I will rope if it's not right. Oh, he said he'd rope.
Okay.
All right, Mr.
Yo,
Backshots.
Chet, you want to hear how ungrateful this guy is?
Oh my god, you.
He said that, yo, I've literally beaten the shit out of people who have spoken like this, but I love you too much to ever fucking do anything. He's said to me straight up offline.
Just close it. It's not there.
Yeah, I just.
You know, what I learned is
Please
that
don't rope
you
yourself.
have such shit taste, nobody can find what the fuck you're looking for.
No, it's a
That's
good
what
ass.
that is.
It's a
Nobody
good.
no,
No,
it's
it's a
dog
good. It's a
shit.
good clip. They're just retarded. my
Nobody can find it because
No, that's not it.
Well, you're just talking like a Mongoloid.
I don't give a f. I am a Mongoloid. In my heart, I'm a Mongoloid. That is what I am. We are a ward. That is what we are. Yes, we are that. We are 100% that.
That's not something to be proud of.
It is something to be proud of. The ones who created civilization.
God, you're such
And you
a good
created
villain.
nothing but barbarism. You're the fucking barbarians. You destroyed the treasures of mankind. The Mongols only united it. The fuck do you know about civilization? What the fuck do you know about pride? What the fuck do you have to be proud of except looting, genociding, and destroying the cultures and peoples and wealth of this world? What the fuck do you know, canned cuck?
Well, you're the one here chipping out, so.
I am chipping out, bitch, because I'm a fucking human being, and you're a little soy boy cuck little bitch. You don't know who the fuck I am.
No, I see you. I think you're a Mongoloid. That's what
You're right. It is what I am, and I'm proud of being that.
Well, it's an anthropological term. It doesn't actually mean Mongol.
Oh, so what's your fucking point? You ugly, disgusting, fucking ugly,
The editing on this is
disgusting,
amazing.
barbarian, smelly piece of shit.
Oh, what's the one where he's like,
racism?
you haven't
I
demonstrated?
could be way more racist than you, Angloid.
There's a Haas
What fucking
debate.
civilizations did Angloids ever
He's
fucking
debating
have?
someone who
It needed the
keeps on
Rolling
saying you
Stones.
haven't demonstrated,
Oh,
and Haas just keeps saying it.
I think he
back
talked to
him.
Steven once. He's like some fedora guy. He's like,
Some stupid shit.
what's his name? You guys know his name.
Fuck you. Wobbles, if I could ban you.
He's
I would.
Alacrity guy. Is it the Alacrity guy? You guys know what I'm talking about?
Saying you haven't demonstrated.
The Alacrity guy?
I give up. We're not getting
Wait,
the
you
Zerka
know
clip.
No, we're not. Are you talking about the logo stateless guy or whatever?
Oh, logo.
Or logo? That guy's crazy.
Yeah.
Dispatch with alacrity. Why do I remember that name or something? Do I...
Yeah, I think that was the guy who said you haven't demonstrated.
Wait, okay, try one more link from the X-Tune Killer guy. Fucker.
Okay.
There's the last one.
This one?
Oh, you know so much about my personal life. We're claimed in a.
Because I started to consider you a big enemy of mine recently.
Oh, wait, pause it, Max. Okay, God, I think this is it. Yeah, full screen it.
All right. All right, we're starting from the beginning.
Oh my
God. Are you ready, boys?
You know so much about my personal life. We're claimed in a.
Because I started to consider you a big enemy of mine recently.
Oh yeah, I wonder where you got that idea. I wonder why Oz is so fired up. It's almost like Zerka convinced him on a 2-hour phone call to go ape shit. I said he doesn't respect you like he does Jackson and me, because you're soft on him, and you went fucking nuclear. I spill for all my pain. I can't believe this
Destiny, every
When
time
people are DMing me, I'm like, I don't want to watch. Sounds a little
Oh.
What the hell? So that whole time? Because Haas afterwards blamed Infrared for bad prep for why I lost his Twitter, and then Haas blamed Zerka. Infrared blamed Zerka, and then Zerka came out later, and Zerka was just like, yeah, Destiny and Dylan, they don't respect you, so you gotta go fucking crazy. Oh my god.
That's so funny.
Anyway, wow. Okay, who else? Sorry, we gotta wrap this the
All right.
fuck up. Who else?
If
Did
you
we
guys
get
are
everybody?
enjoying this, make sure you subscribe.
Subscribe to Bridges
Yeah,
podcast.
based. True.
Wow.
Elections tomorrow.
Yeah.
Whew. Any other villains?
Do we have a final prediction from Steven?
Fanatic.
Oh, villain.
I'm gonna make a big prediction.
Fanatic.
I'm gonna make a big prediction. Landslide for Kamala in the Electoral College.
What does a landslide mean?
Every swing state?
Three.
All seven? All
no,
seven?
no.
Minus Arizona.
6 out of 7.
Whoa.
6 out of 7.
Which one did she
Is he gonna
lose?
get Penn?
Either is Nevada a swing state right now?
Yes.
Arizona or Nevada? One of those stupid fucking.
But I think I saw a poll just saying that Nevada looked good.
Yeah.
That's why I said 6. That's why I said 6
Not Penn.
out
You
of
think
7.
she's gonna get Penn?
Of course,
Yeah.
easy. Do you know how many Puerto Ricans are in Pennsylvania? 400,000. A lot of them. Yeah.
Aggregate polling has Trump up by 1% in Nevada.
I'm sorry. Is this Vadim's stream yet? Is this Vadim's stream? It's not.
No, don't
so,
be mean to Vadim.
Yeah, don't be mean to me. You're not even paying him.
Wait, first of all, we are paying him because.
Okay.
Vadim, I'm sorry. Are you getting paid? Have I already paid you half?
You should be as nice to Vadim.
Exactly.
As Kyle
I
is.
hired Vadim, not Dan. So Vadim is getting paid. Okay. Thank you. Okay. I do pay my staff.
I've been lied to.
It was such a pleasure to come on the show, Steven.
Fuck you. Where's my money? Why ain't I getting paid? Give me
Look,
money.
they covered your accommodations for like 7 extra
supposed
days.
to tell them that.
Yeah. You got paid in exposure.
Fucking whiner over
I
here.
don't understand.
Relly said, "Can I stay an extra 7 days?" And they said, "Sure."
Oh, also minor shout out for anybody that didn't follow to the villain that kicked us out of the one the Yitzhak guy.
What?
When we tried to
Yitzhar,
get-
the settlement,
We
yeah.
tried to get into Nablus, and there's like a crazy settlement outside called, is it Yitzhak or Yitzhar?
Yitzhar.
Yitzhar. And then some crazy fucking ghetto-y Jewish terrorist guy came out, and he was like, get the fuck out of here, kids. And that motherfucker got arrested for being a terrorist fuck. So
You got
fuck
sanctioned.
that
You
guy.
didn't get terrorist.
Close enough. Fuck you.
He's never getting arrested.
This is like your
He got
opinion
sanctioned by the US
on
government.
the red pill coach, red pill guy. You want bad
That's a
things to
little bit
happen to
mean.
people.
That's meaner. I mean, he maybe deserved it, though.
The guy who was like, I'm super wealthy.
Yeah, he is dead.
Rest in
He
peace.
is dead.
He didn't
He's
Still on
deserve
blacklist,
that.
though. That's not
He's
changing.
never getting out of this pickle.
No.
What the fuck?
We have a surprise for you at some point. Not now.
Do you bring his ashes?
Is it treats?
Oh.
Sorry.
No.
That would be really funny to have in the background just
No.
saying of my stream. Like, these are my like worst debate opponents.
What is wrong with you? But it's also a surprise for Chad at some point, but we'll talk about it
I
later.
mean, it's coming tomorrow.
Maybe.
Tomorrow's not the day.
I'm not going to be here.
Wait,
9
there's a
months from now.
surprise, but it's not tomorrow.
That's
No.
a difference.
Yeah. Is it 9 months from now?
No.
What do you think? This is a Merrick Garland investigation?
Got him. So the surprise, there is a surprise, but we're not getting it tomorrow. You're
No.
just teasing it,
I'm just teasing that there's.
and it's gonna come months
I
later.
like to tease. I like to tease.
It's gonna be.
You'll know when you see it. Yeah. But anyway,
I'm not pregnant. Thank you, Kyla. Thank you so much.
You've been glowing tonight in a way that's
You
just
are
hard to put
glowing.
a finger on. Yeah.
Incredible. I'm not pregnant. Your
Chat.
skin.
It's just the Merrick
glowing,
Garland reference
dewy.
had me like at 9 months, just shoves it right
can
back
you
in.
get
So
over
right
it?
now,
He's gonna be gone. He's gonna leave.
Yeah.
one silver line.
Yeah, who are you gonna beat up on when Merrick Garland's gone?
It's
Huh?
gonna
Who
be
are you
the
gonna
next
blame for
person.
all your problems?
That's gonna be the one cabinet holdover. It's gonna be Garland. He's gonna see like, look, they're playing by the
I hope
rules.
she does keep him now.
I hope she does.
I hope she keeps him.
I
now.
hope she does.
No, he's gonna be Trump's holdover because Trump's gonna be like, I like this guy. You're the guy that Jeff Sessions never was for me. Thank you, Mr.
She's
Garland.
gonna be like, you know what? As a consolation prize, we're gonna invite Bill Barr
You're-
back for another.
You're comparing him to Sessions. That shows you're unhinged.
Well,
I compared him to
Sessions.
Bill Barr.
Sessions
You're comparing
credit.
Garland to Bill Barr.
He almost immediately not accused, recused himself.
All right, we're done with this topic.
Okay, thanks guys for tuning into Bridges. That was
Thank you so
awesome.
much.
Cool.
That was awesome. Really appreciate it. Any last shout
Donald Trump tweeting at Sessions. He was so fucking mad. Patreon. If you want to support the channel,
Bridges Studio.
patreon.com/Bridges Studio.
Yep.
And
Ground
then
News.
subscribe to this channel,
Yeah.
Bridges Podcast. Bridges Productions.
They can just hit subscribe.
Hit
I don't
subscribe
think
on
I need
whatever
to search
fucking YouTube
anything
video you're
to
watching.
subscribe.
Yeah,
Like
and we'll see you
comment.
guys tomorrow for Kamala's
We also
amazing sweep, her
Coronation
huge victory.
landslide.
We don't know that.
Oh, we do know
It's a
that.
close election.
How much are you
Make sure
betting?
you vote.
on it being Nevada.
And everyone's
being
wearing
the
a
one
full suit
red.
except for
I'm
Ahrelevant,
not
who's wearing
wearing
a
it.
chain and a turtleneck.
Yes. You're going to be wearing a suit, yeah? You just said everybody.
Absolutely
Yeah,
not. That's
Chat,
funny though.
would you guys like to see Steven in a suit?
Type one
one
if
in
you want to
chat.
see Steven in a suit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come mag it up. Not in like a real mag way, in like a Fox News
I just
way.
really want to make more pregnancy jokes, but
Jesus Christ.
All right, thank you guys.
Can I do one last shout? I hate doing shout outs.
Go.
But I got fucked on roommates, okay? So I need 2 roommates. I live in the Pflugerville
One
area of
of
Austin,
ones.
okay? 2 of my roommates literally just drove away and left and abandoned me, okay? So I need 2 roommates. Rent is pretty cheap, roughly $750 after everything, okay? I'm a great roommate,
Really?
please.
The stream ended 30 seconds ago.
I'll fight somebody. I'll fight somebody if that's what it takes. Okay?
Destiny's been dead for 2 years.
Oh my god. Oh man. Please. I'm not joking. Please help.
check out his channel and everyone else. And, woo, yay!
Please.
Bye, guys.